Meet Yan. She's a certified girl boss, a stunningly cute CEO living her best life. But one day, her perfect world gets yeeted into a chaotic magical vortex, and she crash lands in a literal fantasy world. Talk about a rough commute. Where the heck am I, she wonders, probably. In this new life, she has an extremely sick mother who desperately needs care, and they live in a rundown shack that's seen better days. To make matters worse, she has a cousin who's the family's genius prodigy. This cousin holds the life-saving medicine for her mother hostage. And her price? Our girl has to kneel and take a dozen lashes from a whip. What an absolute psycho. But our heroine isn't about to roll over and die. She snaps, vowing to return the pain 10 times over. Just then, a miracle happens. The strange vine on her wrist begins to glow with an insane power. Turns out, this little accessory isn't just for show. It's a legendary god vine. She uses its power to absorb the poison from her mother's body. But whoops! In her haste, she absorbs way too much and gets poisoned herself. Luckily, our girl knows of a secret lake that can cleanse any poison. But when she gets there, she finds an ice sculpture of a ridiculously handsome man. Okay, weird. Something about this frozen hottie feels different. So how did our powerful modern-day CEO end up in this chaotic mess? Let's rewind. Back in her world, whispers filled the city about the Murong Company's CEO. Yan just spent a cool $5 billion on a single vine. And here she comes, the youngest CEO on the Forbes list, stepping out like she owns the world. That's our girl, always looking flawless. The moment she enters, the press goes absolutely wild. They swarm her, demanding to know why she spent a fortune on a plant. She handles the chaotic mob with an icy calm. One reporter starts asking personal questions, trying to get a scoop on her age. But our girl shuts her down with a dangerously sweet smile. Flustered, the reporter pivots back to the main question. Why the $5 billion vine? Yan reveals the treasure in its case. This wasn't just any old root. It's an ancient vine, discovered in a remote cave. It was found near the remains of those who likely tried to claim it. Legend says it was guarded by a mythical beast, and it pulsed with a mystical, otherworldly energy. She explains that despite being eons old, it's still brimming with life. With a confident wink, she declares that $5 billion is a bargain for its medical potential. The entire room swoons. A true business queen, she has the entire press corps eating out of the palm of her hand. But later that night, the victory feels hollow. 2 months of research and she still can't figure out the vine's secrets. She finally snaps, smashing the case in a fit of adorable rage. The vine's thorns prick her hand, drawing blood. Ouch! That actually looked pretty painful. But then her eyes widen in shock. Her blood activates the vine, unleashing a blinding, powerful light. An unstoppable force starts pulling her in. She can't fight it. Just then, her butler arrives with a late-night snack, only to find the room completely empty. Our lady has vanished. She's pulled through time and space, tumbling through a strange dimension, and crash lands right next to a terrifying river of lava. Our poor heroine opens her eyes, bruised and confused, to her new brutal reality. Our girl wakes up completely disoriented, with no idea where she is. She looks down and finds herself standing on a tiny piece of rock, surrounded by a literal sea of fire and brimstone. She barely has time to process the hellscape she's in before she starts freaking out. Her eyes widen in terror at the endless lava. But the real shock comes when she looks at her own hands. They've become tiny and delicate. And what's this? A mysterious ancient vine is wrapped around her arm like a bracelet. Suddenly, flashes of another life flood her mind. She gets a massive info dump about the world she's landed in. In the city of Yanhui, there are 3 great houses. And she's now in the body of Yan, a young miss of the Yi family. Turns out, poor Yan was an outcast. With no known father and a bedridden mother, she was already starting on hard mode. She lived with her mother's family, but they were anything but welcoming. The universe was just not on her side. This is a world of cultivators, where the strong are worshipped, and can literally burn mountains and boil oceans with their power. It's a world where might makes right. But our poor heroine, Yan, was born without the ability to cultivate, earning her the title of loser. She was constantly mocked and bullied by her peers. Just a single tear falls, representing a life of misery. The only person who ever showed her kindness was her grandfather, but he went into seclusion 3 months ago, leaving her defenseless. To make matters worse, a handsome boy named Yi Qingyun actually liked her, but this only fueled the jealousy of others. Enter the main villainess, her cousin Yi Linglong, who had a massive crush on Qingyun and was absolutely furious. So the green-eyed monster cooked up a devious plan, telling Yan that a special flower on Fire Spirit Cliff could cure her sick mother. Of course, our sweet naive Yan believed her cousin's lies and rushed straight into the trap. She arrived at the cliff, only to find it wasn't a flower waiting for her, but a group of vicious bandits. She was completely surrounded with nowhere to run. Knowing she couldn't escape, she made a final desperate choice. With a savage battle cry, she grabbed the nearest bandit and jumped straight off the cliff, taking him down with her. And that's how the original Yeon died. Our girl from the 21st century realizes with a jolt. She's been isekai'd. She can't believe how utterly miserable the original owner's life was. But a fire ignites in her eyes. Ye Linglong, she vows. And everyone else who bullied you, I will make them pay 10 times over. A new queen has arrived. From now on I am Yan, She's ready to start her revenge plot, but then she remembers she's still stranded in the middle of a volcano. The badass CEO persona melts away instantly. She goes into a full chibi panic, crying that even an undefeated beauty from the 21st century can't handle this level of chaos. But then she feels a strange pull. The vine on her arm is glowing, seemingly trying to lead her somewhere. She cautiously gets up to follow it. The only problem is, it's leading her straight into the lava. She hesitantly reaches out, and to her shock, the vine begins to absorb the fire energy right out of the lava. This thing is a cheat item. She stares in disbelief, as the vine creates a solid path for her to walk on, but the path vanishes right behind her, leaving no room for retreat. After absorbing a ton of energy, the little vine lets out a satisfied burp. Suddenly, our girl feels a surge of power coursing through her veins. Her blood feels like it's boiling. The vine has converted all that raw fire energy into her own personal power supply. It's time for a little test drive. She gathers the newfound energy into her palm, a determined glint in her eye. With a powerful shout, she unleashes it. The blast is so strong it parts the lava like the Red Sea. She's stunned. This level of power is equivalent to a third-level warrior. In a single night, she went from a talentless nobody to a powerful cultivator. Nobody's power increases this fast. A smirk plays on her lips. She's not useless, she's a super genius. And she can't wait to see the look on her genius cousin Linglong's face when she finds out. Out at the festival, the lanterns float peacefully into the night sky. But the mood is anything but peaceful down below. The two-faced snake Linglong tries to get cozy with her brother King Yoon, suggesting they go out and have some fun. She wants to see the flower lanterns and guess riddles, acting all sweet and innocent. But King Yoon has a bad feeling, his gut telling him something is seriously wrong. He asks where Yan is, since they had plans to go shopping together, and he knows our girl never breaks a promise. Linglong tries to play it off, cattily suggesting Yeyan is just too ashamed to hang out with them because she's a loser who can't cultivate, but Qing Yun isn't buying her garbage for a second. His eyes narrow. He knows something is wrong. He completely ditches Linglong, telling her to go play by herself while he goes to find Yeyan. Oh, the look on her face is priceless. She is absolutely seething. Left alone in the crowd, her sweet facade melts away into pure fury. She slips into a dark corner, where a shady masked figure is waiting for her. He reports that everything is arranged, and Linglong smirks, thinking it's too late for anyone to save our heroine. Her true colors finally show as she declares that Yan is already dead. This girl is pure evil, monologuing that Yan deserves it for being a loser who somehow got all of Grandpa's and Qingyun's attentions, but surprise which, our girl is very much alive, currently surrounded by a literal pit of fire and lava. It's a bit of a pickle, but she's got a plan. Luckily for her, she learned rock climbing in her past life, traveling through Europe. With a determined look, she remembers she's even climbed the Alps, so this little volcano is nothing. She begins her ascent, hand over hand, finally pulling herself over the edge, huffing and puffing. This new body clearly lacks exercise. But she made it. She lets out a triumphant laugh, feeling like the super invincible, pretty young lady CEO she once was. But the universe immediately decides to humble her with a massive bolt of lightning. She's just chilling on a tree branch when the sky goes dark, and her face is a perfect picture of oh crap. She panics, thinking she's about to get zapped just for being a little too cocky. There's no way to dodge it. She can't believe she just transmigrated only to get split in half by lightning. God, you're way too kind, she screams sarcastically as the lightning hits. But then, she feels no pain. She cautiously opens her eyes, still crackling with energy, and realizes she's completely unharmed. In fact, the energy inside her body feels even stronger than before. It was the ancient vine on her wrist. She figures out that the vine must have absorbed the lightning for her, just like it absorbed the lava before. She wonders what else this incredible cheat item can do. Our girl has literally struck gold. She cackles, realizing she never has to worry about getting struck by lightning again. With her newfound power-up, she decides it's time to head back to the Yi family and give Linglong a little surprise. She gracefully leaps off the cliff, knowing that if she doesn't get back soon, people might actually think she's dead. Back at the Yi house, things are chaotic. The family head is grilling Linglong, knowing she was the last person to see our girl. He furiously demands to know where Yan is. This is Ye Zentian, the head of the family, and he looks terrifyingly angry. A flashback reveals he's been in seclusion for 3 months trying to level up his cultivation. But yesterday, he suddenly sensed Yan was in mortal danger and had to forcefully stop his training, causing a massive backlash that made him cough up blood. He suffered major injuries and his cultivation level dropped, all because he rushed to save her. The moment he stabilized himself, he stormed out, demanding to know where his favorite granddaughter was. Back in the present, the servants are shocked, and Linglong starts her crocodile tears routine. She claims she just went to visit Yan and did nothing to her, crying about why he won't believe her. Grandpa is having none of it. Believe you? He scoffs coldly. He tells her the only reason she's still alive is because they share the same blood, otherwise he'd have killed her on the spot. He asks one last time, where is Yan? The maids gossip in the background, shocked that the family head would get so angry at his own blood-related granddaughter for that trash Yan. Hearing this, Linglong finally loses it, screaming about how unfair it is that everyone cares about that useless trash. Her ugly outburst is too much for the injured old man, and he coughs up more blood. That's it. He's done. He roars for someone to come and beat her. A servant brings out the family's disciplinary whip, and Linglong's eyes go wide with terror. She can't believe her own grandfather would punish her for an outsider, but just as the whip is about to strike, a man bursts in shouting for them to stop. It's Linglong's father, and he has news about Yan. The family head immediately whirls around, his voice desperate as he demands, "The fate of our girl hangs in the balance." Back at the residence, the mood is grim. A servant reports they only found a single jade pendant by the fire spirit cliff, along with signs that someone fell. The news hits the family head like a ton of bricks. He trembles, unable to believe his precious Yan is gone. The shock is too much, and the old man collapses. But while everyone grieves, one person is secretly celebrating. The wicked cousin Ye Linglong smirks, thinking that with the useless trash finally dead, she can snatch away everything that belonged to her. The next morning at the Yu residence, a new face appears. It's our girl Yan, reborn and looking fabulous. A servant peeks through the door and nearly has a heart attack. He thinks he's seeing a ghost, since everyone heard Lady Cousin fell off a cliff and died. Our girl just rolls her eyes at the cowardly display, completely ignoring his panicked little face. She takes a moment to admire the beautiful courtyard, a small moment of peace before the chaos she's about to unleash. Suddenly, she remembers she needs to check on her grandfather. She peeks around a corner and sees him looking frail and sickly, coughing his lungs out. His attendants are begging him not to go out in his condition. Our poor heroine's heart aches. She never had a family in her previous life, and she never imagined she'd find a loving grandfather in this one. Taking a deep breath, she steps out and calls to him, "Grandpa, I'm back." The old man freezes, his eyes wide with disbelief and overwhelming relief. He rushes to her side, pulling her into a hug and promising to find out who dared to harm his precious granddaughter. Meanwhile, a frantic maid bursts into Linglong's room. The news is devastating. Cousin Ye Miss did not die. Linglong slams her brush down, her face contorting with rage. "What did you say?" She's absolutely livid, even striking the poor maid and seething that the bitch somehow survived. Back in the main courtyard, our girl is sitting with her grandfather. He sternly asks her to tell him what happened at the cliff. She knows perfectly well that Linglong tricked the original Ye Yan, but she can't prove it yet. Time to activate her acting skills. She puts on a pitiful face and claims she just went for a walk, even defending her wicked cousin. But Grandpa isn't buying it for a second. He knows Linglong was the last one to see her. "Foolish child, why do you want to protect her?" he asks, just as the devil herself storms in, screaming about Ye Yan tattling on her. Grandpa has had enough of this nonsense. He slams the table and roars, "You kneel down." He furiously tells Linglong that not only did Yan not complain, she was actively defending her. He lays down the law for attacking a family member. She will face the family punishment. Linglong is forced to her knees, looking completely stunned. She gets a brutal slap across the face, screaming that it's unfair, and that Yan is just an outsider. Grandpa hits her again, his voice like thunder. "Remember, Yan is my granddaughter, the second miss of this family." After 3 painful slaps, he sentences her to kneel for 3 hours to reflect on her crimes. As he leaves, Linglong glares daggers at our girl's back, vowing revenge, but Yan is completely unbothered. She leans down with a smirk and whispers a chilling warning, "Do not find trouble with me again, or you will regret it." Linglong is left kneeling in humiliation, wondering how this trash suddenly became so terrifying. Our girl knows this is just the beginning. To truly deal with her enemies, she needs to get stronger and shed this weak body once and for all. A glimmer of power surrounds our girl, as she recalls a crucial memory. The original owner once went to a dangerous cliff just to find medicine for her mother. A pang of worry hits her. She needs to check on her mom immediately. With a new sense of purpose, she heads off in what she hopes is the right direction. But her journey is cut short by a familiar, grating voice screaming her name. She turns to see none other than Yu Qingshan, the #1 simp for her trash sister, Ye Linglong. Ugh, just looking at him fawning over that green tea witch is enough to make anyone sick. Our girl remembers how this walking red flag would beat up the original owner anytime his precious Linglong was even slightly upset. Then, the snake herself would swoop in to save her, manipulating our poor heroine into thinking she was a good person. The rage boils in our girl's veins as she recalls how they ganged up on her past self. And right on cue, the simp starts screaming, blaming her for Linglong's punishment and calling her evil. He declares that he, the CEO of getting others called trash, is going to teach her a lesson. But our girl isn't the same weakling she used to be. She decides to fight with her brain and hits him with a savage smirk. "You call me trash," she begins. "I remember you're 16, yet you only have a level 5 quenching body." She twists the knife, calling him out for just being Linglong's little puppy dog. Then comes the final blow. She compares him to another 16-year-old in the family, who's already at level 8. The burn is absolutely nuclear. The crowd is stunned by her sudden eloquence and savagery. Qingshan is completely triggered, powering up with pure rage and vowing to kill her. He launches a fiery punch straight at her face. Our girl calmly assesses the attack, noting the huge difference in their power levels. With an elegant grace, she dodges the attack completely, letting it slam into the stone behind her with a massive bang. She smirks, knowing she could only avoid it because he completely underestimated her. Qingshan is in utter disbelief, unable to process how he could have possibly missed. The onlookers are just as baffled. Enraged, he screams at her to stand still and take his next hit. but she hits him with a verbal counterattack instead, asking if he even likes. He's stunned into silence. She explains that Linglong was whipped and forced to kneel for 6 hours just because she almost got hurt. She lays out the cold hard facts. If he actually injures her, Linglong's punishment will be 10 times worse. The simp starts sweating bullets as he realizes she's right. Our girl has him completely trapped, and she flashes a devilish little grin. He tries to make a graceful exit, claiming he'll let her off this time, but she stops him dead in his tracks. "Not so fast," she says. "I remember you slapped me last year. I'd like to return the favor now." He flips out, calling her crazy, but she just threatens to tattle to the grandfather that he attacked her for Linglong's sake. He sputters that he didn't even land a hit, but she just smiles sweetly. "You still tried to kill me though. What would grandfather think about that?" The poor boy is reduced to a stuttering, chibi mess of frustration. A dark look crosses his face as he contemplates just killing her and burying the body, but our girl is one step ahead, pointing to his goons. "You'd have to silence the witnesses first," she says casually. His little lackeys immediately take a huge step back, wanting no part in this murder plot. Our girl then puts on a theatrical performance, yelling for them to run for their lives before he silences them forever. They don't need to be told twice, scattering like roaches. Left alone and utterly defeated, King Shing quickly tries to laugh it off as a joke. He makes a hasty excuse about not wanting to bother the family head, and then books it out of there as fast as his legs can carry him. Our girl delivers a stunning slap, declaring this is for a smack he gave her 2 years ago. With a smirk, she tells him she's just returning the favor, and the fool can only stammer his agreement. But before he can even recover, she smacks him again. He demands to know why, and our girl casually mentions that she just remembered him pushing her down a couple months back. "So there's no problem if I slap you, right?" she asks, her voice dripping with ice. He chokes on his rage, forced to agree while she gives him a savage little wink. "Slap. This one's for falsely accusing her of stealing last year. Slap. And this one's for that time he kicked her." The onlookers can't believe their eyes, whispering about how weak King Shan is. His own underlings are already ditching him. They walk away, deciding to follow someone stronger, while our girl lands yet another satisfying smack. The beatdown is absolutely relentless. She's not holding back at all. She finally stops, flexing her fingers and complaining that her hand is tired from slapping him so much. But don't worry, she promises to slap him again next time, leaving him trembling on the ground. Just as she's about to leave, she turns back with one final piece of advice. "Don't bully girls, 'cause no one stays on top forever." And she lets out a cute little giggle, pleased with her work. She sighs, thinking how the original owner of this body was just too naive, letting herself get bullied even with her powerful grandpa protecting her. But now, putting this trash in his place feels absolutely amazing. King Shan sees this, vowing that her grandpa can't protect her forever. He snarls that if she ever leaves the residence, he'll show her what true cruelty is. But little do they know, a mysterious silver-haired man has been watching the whole chaotic show from the trees, and he finds it very interesting. In fact, he's absolutely fascinated. His subordinate is stunned, remarking on how terrifyingly smart and eloquent our girl is. The master just smiles, amused by the whole "don't bully a poor girl" situation. And he admits to himself, this woman is unexpectedly to his liking. He quickly ducks out of sight when he sees her looking his way. Our girl scans the empty space, wondering if she just imagined someone was there. Shaking it off, she opens the doors to a quiet courtyard. This is Yao Yard, and she remembers the stories of Yao Yao, her mother. At only 16, she was a genius of the family, a master of the predestined realm, whose talent was unmatched. But there's always a but. She vanished for a year and returned, pregnant and unmarried, a huge scandal that brought shame to the family. From then on, her health failed and her skills never improved. Even her daughter, the body our heroine now inhabits, was considered a talentless nobody. She walks through the now deserted yard, a sad shadow of its former glory. Taking a deep breath, she opens the door to her mother's room. The overwhelming smell of medicine hits her. Her poor mother has been sick for years. She sees her mother, the former genius, lying weak and frail in bed, and her heart aches at the injustice of it all. Recalling the original owner's memories, she knows one thing for sure. This woman gave her nothing but love and warmth. And now she is our girl's mother too. She makes a silent, fierce promise. From this day on, no one will ever bully her mother again. She sits by the bedside, her resolve hardening. But suddenly, she feels a strange jolt inside her. "What happened?" she cries out. Her eyes widen as she realizes her spiritual sea just vibrated. A disembodied voice suddenly echoes in her mind, realizing the poison afflicting her mother is unbelievably potent. Our girl whips around, demanding to know who's there. The voice just laughs, taunting that it has entered her spiritual sea through the chaos vine, and that her mother doesn't have much time left. Desperate for any hope, she asks if this intruder has a solution. The voice smugly replies that of course it has a solution. Our girl isn't playing games, calling the voice out for trying to negotiate while still hiding like a coward. "Don't be so anxious," it teases. And then, out of thin air, a tiny chibi-looking old man appears on a cloud, looking far too proud of himself. Our girl completely short-circuits. A geezer hiding in an object? Is she in a fantasy novel? But she quickly shoves her existential crisis aside, asking why on earth she should trust him. She gets straight to the point. What does he want inside her spiritual sea? The old man gets incredibly offended, yelling that he's the last owner of the Chaos Vine, and he's been stuck for ages, only able to enter her spiritual sea because she's a non-physical person. He claims the rules of heaven prevent him from explaining more, but he'll tell her everything if she becomes his apprentice and passes his challenge. He dangles the bait, reminding her that only he knows how to truly use the Chaos Vine. The challenge is extremely difficult and time is running out, but if she succeeds, she can save her mother and become the strongest in the world. Our girl has never been one to back down. She declares she's never been afraid of a challenge in her life and accepts. She vows to save her mother in this life, no matter the cost. The old geezer just scoffs, calling her young and arrogant. He warns her not to come crying to him when she fails, but she savagely tells him to stop talking rubbish and get on with it. In an instant, the world shifts, and they're standing in a quiet bamboo forest. He presents her with a book, explaining the different levels of martial arts. The challenge is to learn a high-grade martial art called Swift Step and teleport 3 meters, all in one night. Her eyes narrow with unshakable resolve. The old man tells her that to protect her people, she has to become stronger, and so, her chaotic training begins. She starts by chanting the incantation, pouring all of her energy into the words. After an hour, she yells teleport, but instead of a graceful warp, she eats dirt falling flat on her face. That had to hurt, but the old man just watches, completely unbothered. But thinking of her mother, she pushes herself back up. She grits her teeth against the scrapes and bruises, telling herself this pain is nothing. She practices relentlessly, again and again, late into the night. And then, she does it! She finally teleports a short distance. A wave of hope rushes through her. If she can master this by morning, she can save her mother. She continues to push herself to the brink of exhaustion, while her new master takes a cozy nap on his cloud. As dawn breaks, the trial is nearly over. She looks like an absolute wreck with massive dark circles, but she's smirking. The old man wakes up. He sleepily asks if she's managed to do it. With a confident command, she vanishes in a flash of light. Not just a few feet, she perfectly cleared the 3-meter mark. She lands with a triumphant grin. The old man is completely stunned. He's so shocked he can barely speak, stuttering that she actually perfected the technique overnight. The cranky geezer suddenly breaks down into a flood of tears, wailing about how he's finally met a talented person after so many years. He quickly pulls himself together, trying to act cool. "Yes, not bad," he says with a sparkle in his eye. "Those who look down on you will regret it." The old spirit pops up, officially declaring that our girl has passed his test with flying colors. The promise he made will be fulfilled. But first, it's time for a history lesson. He whips out a tiny chalkboard, ready to explain why her trash physique is actually super special. See, in this world, practitioners have to cultivate spiritual powers that match their own attributes. If they try to absorb a different kind, things get messy. That's why people without any attributes are considered useless trash, who can't cultivate at all. But our girl is different. She's the owner of the legendary Ancient Vine. This means she's basically a spiritual power Kirby and can absorb all types of energy. With his guidance, she'll become OP in no time, since even people with 2 attributes are considered powerful enough to found their own sects, and those with 5, they're practically myths. But our girl is about to rewrite the history books, and this time, no one will dare call her trash. He tells her to make good use of this once-in-a-millennia opportunity. But our heroine is no fool. She immediately pokes a hole in his story, asking about the previous owner of the Ancient Vine. He just laughs it off, saying 1,000 years is nothing but a flash. She's not buying a single word, calling him a smelly old goat under her breath. I mean, can you blame her for being suspicious? This guy claims he's thousands of years old, but he looks like a grumpy gnome. The old man is deeply offended by the smelly old goat comment. He huffs that from now on, she must call him teacher instead. And his name? The Evil One. Our girl's brain practically blue screens. Isn't that the title of the main character from the story she read? Realizing this is her ticket to becoming incredibly powerful, she decides it's not a bad deal. So, with the most dramatic sigh ever, she reluctantly accepts him as her teacher. He absolutely loses it. Reluctantly, he fumes about how many people beg to be his student before remembering they have to go save her mother. He's going to teach her a legendary skill that will let her absorb the toxins right out of her mom's body. He explains that this technique is so difficult it was lost to time, but he'll transfer it to her telepathically. He warns her to concentrate and not get distracted for a single second. The ancient formula floods directly into her mind. The transfer is complete. Now her success depends entirely on her own talent. He reminds her that her mother's life is on the line. Our girl steals her resolve. A little difficulty is nothing to her. A few hours fly by as she enters a deep state of meditation. The old man is shocked by her progress. He can't believe a beginner is this stable and fluid, but his pride quickly turns to panic. He sees our girl start to choke violently. She coughs up blood but refuses to stop, driven by the desperate need to save her mother. Wiping her mouth, she gives her new teacher a determined smirk, telling him not to worry because she's about to have a breakthrough. The old man is utterly speechless. The spiritual energy inside her rages like a storm, ready to break through its limits. Her power is so immense that the bamboo forest around them begins to wilt as she absorbs its life force. Her eyes flash open, radiating pure power. She did it. She broke through. Now my mother is saved. Her teacher is completely freaking out, demanding to know how she mastered the legendary technique so quickly. She just smirks, adding that she also broke through to the 4th level of body quenching at the same time, like it was nothing. How can you take this so easily? He yells. He explains that what she just did in a few hours takes normal people years. Our girl just gives him a savage look. Is this president an ordinary person? She's had enough chit-chat and is ready to go save her mom, telling the nagging old spirit to get a move on. Finally, she can fulfill her wish. The little spirit guide gives her simple instructions. Just place a hand on her mother, and the spell will be enough. Our girl watches her mother sleep, remembering her lonely past life where she never got to experience this kind of warm affection. But now she has a second chance with a loving mother, and she's not about to waste it. With a deep swallow of determination, she begins to channel her power. A brilliant magical light surrounds her mother as our girl attempts to turn back the hands of fate. But something goes terribly wrong. The poison is far too powerful, and even her ancient vine is struggling to absorb it. This is nothing like the fire cave. This is pure, searing agony. Her body screams at her to stop, but thinking of her mother's suffering, she pushes through the pain, declaring she's not afraid of this wretched poison. The spirit is stunned by her recklessness. She realizes she can't absorb it all. The poison just keeps coming. Suddenly, the spirit guide appears, absolutely furious. I told you to stop. This poison is overpowering. Are you trying to get yourself killed? But despite the danger, it's working. Her mother's condition is improving. The spirit scoffs at her relief, snapping that only half the poison is gone before dropping a massive bombshell. However, for you are poisoned now. Our girl's face is a perfect picture of "you've got to be kidding me." He launches into a savage lecture, scolding her for being so reckless. Since the vine couldn't handle it all, the excess poison was absorbed directly into her body. If she doesn't cure this fire poison soon, it'll get stronger, and both she and her mother will fall into a year-long coma. A light bulb goes off in our heroine's head. She remembers a secret. The Forbidden Mountain has a legendary spirit pool filled with powerful herbal essence. A perfect cure. And just like that, a new chaotic plan is born. Tonight she's breaking into the Forbidden Mountain. Under the cover of darkness, she finds the restricted area. A quick leap and she's over the fence, landing gracefully inside the Forbidden Zone. This is it. The fire poison is already starting to burn within her. She has to move fast. She races through a glowing crystal cave, making her way deeper into the mountain. Finally, she emerges into a clearing and lays her eyes on the gorgeous spirit pool. It's absolutely breathtaking. She can already smell the faint, sweet scent of medicine in the air. It's even more beautiful than she remembered from her past life. But as she dips her foot into the water, she's shocked. It's supposed to be warm, but it's ice cold. Still, she figures it should help with the fire poison in her system. As she gets ready to undress, the spirit guide pops up out of nowhere, startling her. "Old man," she yelps. "You can't just appear like that." He just rolls his eyes, but she's flustered, yelling, "What if I was bathing?" She stammers that he's still a man, even if he's an ancient spirit. Mortified, she mentally shoves him out and breaks their connection. Finally, some peace and quiet, she settles into the chilly water, still puzzled by the temperature change. Her eyes scan the moonlit pool, and suddenly lock onto a figure in the distance. Is that an ice sculpture? And not just any sculpture, but a sculpture of a ridiculously handsome man. Well, hello there. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she decides to investigate. She wades closer to the mysterious, frosty figure. Up close, his features are so realistic. He could be human. She reaches out and touches his skin, confirming it's ice cold. A total pity. She can't help but wonder what he would look like if he opened his eyes. Suddenly, she snaps back to reality, her face burning red. "Oh my god, what am I thinking?" she chides herself. She's seen countless handsome men in her life, but here she is, swooning over an ice sculpture. Our girl is enjoying a nice spiritual soak when suddenly, a strange energy surges through her body. She flushes bright red as an intense heat spreads through her veins, a sensation her chaotic mother apparently enjoys. She realizes even a cold pool wouldn't stop this, and this place is a hot spring anyway. Her eyes land on the only source of cold in the entire place, a mysterious lifelike ice sculpture. Overcome by the heat, she gives in to her instincts and lunges for the statue, hugging it tightly for some sweet, sweet relief. Ah, so much better. And just like that, an entire night passes. Our girl is still blissfully asleep in the hot spring, but as the ice around him cracks, a pair of piercing violet eyes slowly open. The man awakens to find a strange girl clinging to him and is utterly bewildered. He vaguely recalls being overwhelmed by a cold toxin last night and then feeling something soft and warm. He suddenly recognizes her face. This is the girl who can supposedly predict the future. He scoffs, calling her a little thing for daring to use him as a cooling pillow. But then he notices the cold in his body is completely gone. Could it be? He gently caresses her hair, a flicker of softness in his eyes. Was it you who saved this king? He wonders. Just as our girl starts sleep-talking about a big bun, he pieces it all together. The raging fire in his system was her, blending with his ice poison. This little thing is his savior. And yet, he feels like he's suffered a great loss by being hugged all night. The absolute drama. Without a second thought, he leans in and steals a kiss. Our girl's eyes snap open in shock. He pulls back with a smug grin. "Little thing, you finally woke up?" She completely freaks out, screaming, "Who are you?" She furiously wipes her mouth, accusing him of stealing her first kiss in 2 lifetimes. This guy has the audacity to say he never loses. But since it was his first kiss too, he's also suffered a loss. "Sir, what?" Our girl is stunned. "Wait, you were an ice sculpture last night." She demands to know how an ice statue is suddenly alive. He smoothly introduces himself as Wan Ji Liu. She scoffs at his name. So he's not an ice sculpture, but a live person. And now, it's payback time. She declares that the president never loses and she's about to beat him up for stealing her kiss. He just smirks, completely unbothered by her threats. She goes for a kick, but he catches her foot with 0 effort. He questions what a plant man is, while our girl realizes she's completely stuck. "Damn this guy," she thinks, panicking. Time for plan B. She summons her invincible water, knowing she has to outsmart this terrifyingly strong man. First, a classic move. A big splash of water right to the face. While he's blinded, she'll teleport and bonk him right on the head. With him dazed, she unleashes her full power. "Dare to fight me?" she yells, charging forward. She launches a massive attack, screaming "go to die" while he just watches. Looking bored, she thinks she has him right where she wants him. Using her spirit step, she closes the distance in an instant. "Got it," she cries, thinking she's landed the final blow. She unleashes her power, a beautiful but deadly attack aimed right at the mysterious man in the lake, but he deflects it with a casual flick of his wrist, sending a massive wave right back at her. Our girl barely manages to dodge, panting as she realizes how close that was. But before she can even catch her breath, he's already moved. He appears right behind her, his voice a low whisper in her ear. "Interesting. Your martial arts level is only 3, but your move is way more advanced." He even knows her family name, musing that the Ye family has produced a talented girl, and our heroine is officially spooked. How in the world does this complete stranger know who she is? He continues his monologue, praising her for being brave and knowing how to wait for the right moment to strike. With a smirk that could melt glaciers, he calls her an interesting little thing. Our girl trembles, not just from fear, but from the sheer force of his presence. But then he drops the savage bomb. "It's a pity you are only at level 3, which is nothing in this world." He declares she could never be his opponent, and she snaps back that he's just a bully toying with her because he's stronger. And this dude has the audacity to agree. "I just love to toy with others," he purrs. He loves their expressions when they want to hit him but can't, claiming it feels so good. She demands to know what he wants from her. He plays coy, saying he doesn't want anything except to try the taste of her lips again. And there it is. He pulls her close, his power completely immobilizing her. She can't move a muscle. But then our girl's chaotic brain kicks in. "Hateful. Since I can't fight back, I will just enjoy the kiss from this handsome man." You gotta admire the logic. And so he kisses her, a deep and passionate kiss that seems to last an eternity. Literally, 20 minutes later, she's about to pass out from lack of oxygen. He finally pulls away, smirks, and tells her, "Little thing, your taste is not bad. We will meet again," before vanishing into thin air. Our girl is left fuming, screaming internally about the bastard who took advantage of her and then ran away. But now she has a name, Swan Ji Liu, and she vows to find him. She also makes a promise to herself to get stronger so she's never this helpless again. That's when she notices something strange. The fire poison that's been plaguing her body is gone. Could that mysterious man have cured her? She immediately summons her spirit master to check. "Is the fire poison inside my body cured?" she asks urgently. The little master confirms the poison has lessened a lot, but he's skeptical that the lake water alone could do it. Our girl blushes, deciding to keep the whole cured by a makeout session with a hot stranger detail to herself. Her master is completely bewildered by her sudden shift in mood. She quickly changes the subject, saying they need to go check on her mother. She rushes to her mother's bedside, her heart filled with worry. Her mother's eyes flutter open, and she whispers how she thought she'd never see her again. This hits our girl right in the feels. Having lost her parents in her previous life, she never knew a mother's love. Her mother sits up, surprised at how much better she feels. Our heroine knows it's time to drop the truth bomb. "Mother," she says gravely, "you aren't sick. You've been poisoned." The color drains from her mother's face. "How did you know?" she gasped. And just like that, our girl realizes her mother knew about the poison all along. Her mother grabs her, pleading with her not to tell anyone. She makes her daughter promise to keep it a secret, and our girl reluctantly agrees with a pouty nod. She knows something is very wrong here, but she decides to investigate later. Suddenly, her mother has a violent coughing fit, spitting up blood. Our girl frantically asks her master why the poison isn't gone. The master explains it's not fully cured and she needs a specific pill to finish the job. Thankfully, it's not a rare ingredient, and the family pharmacy should have it. She tells her mother to rest while she goes to fetch the medicines. She rushes towards the pharmacy, her mind racing with anxiety. But as she rounds a corner, a voice calls out her name. She turns and is suddenly swept into a tight embrace by a blue-haired man. He holds her close, telling her how worried he was when he heard she fell from a cliff, while our girl is just completely confused, wondering who this guy is. He holds her close, revealing that he's the genius of the Ye family, Ye Qingyun. He immediately apologizes, saying he got way too anxious and overprotective. With a troubled look, he admits he totally overstepped his boundaries. He even bows his head, whispering a sincere sorry. But our girl just smiles, reassuring him that she's always seen him as a big brother. She declares that he doesn't have to worry anymore, because from now on she'll be protecting herself. He's completely thrown, asking what she could possibly mean by that. He jumps to the wrong conclusion, thinking she's mad at him because he failed to protect her this time. Our girl is baffled, like, mad. Who's mad at you? She explains it's just the law of the jungle, and she can't depend on him forever. Besides, she's already a level 4, and is about to learn some killer moves from her master to take down that snake, Yi Linglong. But this just sends him spiraling into a guilt trip, blaming himself for her having to become so independent. He's convinced it's because he's too useless to protect her that she feels she can only rely on herself. In a moment of pure drama, he grabs her and vows that anyone who wants to hurt her will have to step over his dead body first. Our heroine just turns and leaves him to his theatrics. She's completely confused, wondering what she said to provoke such a chaotic reaction. Did she say something wrong? Girl, you just bruised his protector ego into a million tiny pieces. Meanwhile, a new plot is brewing elsewhere. The snake herself, Yi Linglong, is scheming with her crony. They know our girl is heading to the remote medicine storage, a perfect place for an ambush. Linglong just smirks, she's one step ahead as always. Just as planned, our heroine walks right into the trap. She spots Yi Linglong and her goons waiting for her. Realizing this is going to be a problem, Linglong greets her with a sickeningly sweet voice, calling her dear little Yan. She says if our girl wants the medicine for her mother, she'll have to take a few lashes from her whip first. One of the lackeys chimes in, threatening to beat her until she's handicapped if she doesn't kneel immediately. But our girl isn't scared. She just smiles that savage smile and calls Linglong out for finally dropping her fake, kind sister act. Linglong is absolutely stunned, screeching that it's all our girl's fault for suddenly getting a brain. She's absolutely furious, ranting about how our heroine surviving the fire cloud cliff got her whipped by their grandfather. She screams that if she doesn't beat our girl into a pulp today, her name isn't Yi Linglong Long. Our girl just stands there, completely unbothered. Linglong suddenly grins, saying she actually has to thank our heroine. All that hatred fueled her power, letting her reach level 6 in her martial arts, proving she's the family's genius prodigy. Our girl delivers a legendary burn. You trained that long just to reach level 6? And you have the guts to call yourself a genius? The entire villain squad is shook. Linglong absolutely loses it, screaming about how a rubbish girl with no powers dares to talk to her like that. She unleashes her whip. Our heroine braces herself, noting the immense power behind the attack. She activates her swift step skill just in time. The whip crashes into the ground, utterly destroying the stone pavers where she just stood. Linglong and her servants are shocked that she dodged it. The servant panics, reminding her she was only supposed to handicap her, not kill her. Linglong just sweats, claiming she was too angry to control her strength. Her cronies assume our girl is dead, saying a powerless weakling couldn't possibly survive a hit with thousands of kilograms of impact. Linglong smirks, feeling confident in her power as a level 6 prodigy. She figures even their grandfather can't do anything if she kills our girl by accident. She coolly orders her lackeys to go bury the corpse. But wait, whose hand is that holding medicine? It's our girl, perfectly fine and asking the medicine storage manager which bottle contains the White Lotus pills. She casually pockets the correct one. The manager turns, sees her standing there without a scratch, and absolutely loses his mind. The man shrieks, thinking he's seen a ghost, and collapses in terror. Our girl teleports in a flash of blue energy. Linglong and her maid are stunned, with Linglong quickly shushing her servant. She watches in disbelief as our heroine, who is standing far away, suddenly vanishes into thin air. She stammers. What happened? When a sweet voice from right behind her asks the very same question. Linglong whirls around, completely freaked out, asking when she got there. She glances back at the empty spot, her mind reeling. Why? Our girl plays it cool, saying, why can't I be here? I was standing here the whole time. Then, with maximum sass, she points to the crater Linglong's whip made and asks if she was trying to plant a tree. Linglong is losing it, insisting she was standing across the courtyard just a second ago. But our girl just leans in with fake concern, saying she heard that getting too angry can cause delusions. That should be what had happened to you just now, she declares, gaslighting with zero shame, but Linglong isn't buying it for a second. Rubbish. Don't pretend, she screams, her face contorting with rage. She's done with the games and ready to end this now. The whip cracks through the air, aimed right for our girl's face, but with a swift movement, our girl dodges. Linglong is shocked she missed. She lashes out again in a blind fury, but this time she smacks her own maid square in the face. Linglong stares in horror, completely bewildered by what's happening. Our girl seizes the opportunity, tutting, "Ah, why did you whip your own maid? Looks like your hallucinations problem is really serious." She maintains a perfectly innocent expression, the absolute queen of chaos. Linglong starts to tremble, the seed of doubt planted in her mind. Hysteria? Really? Our girl leans in, adding, "Yes, I also heard that if you got hysteria, you will feel as if you have leveled up." The doubt consumes Linglong as she clutches her head. Could it be, I really have hysteria? She starts questioning everything, why she sees Yan teleporting, and even if her recent power-up is just a figment of her imagination. While Linglong spirals, our girl checks in with her spirit teacher, asking if now is a good time to use her swallowing sky skill, but her teacher shakes his head, explaining it's a skill for cultivation, not for battle. Our girl pouts, demanding a battle skill to bash up Yi Linglong. Her teacher sighs, explaining he only has advanced skills that are too dangerous for her current level, unless, he says, you practice a bodybuilding skill to improve your muscles. But that requires rare treasures she doesn't have access to. Our girl's eyes narrow with determination. She'll just have to find those treasures. Then, suddenly, Linglong's maid pipes up. Missy, you don't have hysteria. I also saw Yan teleporting. Linglong's eyes snap wide open. What? The truth dawns on her, and her face floods with pure, unadulterated rage. Yan, you dare to trick me! She unleashes her full power, a swirling vortex of red energy. I don't care what tricks you have. I want to see if you can live after this move. She unleashes her ultimate attack, Death Whip Web. It's a wide-scale attack designed to trap and shred its victim. Our girl's teacher panics, certain she's about to be sliced to ribbons. Our heroine knows her movement skills are suppressed, but she has one last trick up her sleeve. She takes a desperate step forward, hoping it will work. She manages to dodge the main web, but her teacher yells that meeting the attack head-on is suicide. Linglong sneers, calling her trash and telling her to die as the whips crash down. But our girl isn't finished. A brilliant blue light erupts from her body. She catches the energy whip with her bare hands, and with a massive boom she shatters the attack completely. The dust clears to reveal a splash of blood on the pristine ground. Linglong stares in absolute disbelief. Our girl is still standing, panting heavily, but very much alive. Linglong is absolutely staggered, demanding to know how our girl did it. She screams that our heroine is just trash with no spiritual power, yet she somehow defused a level 6 attack. The little spirit teacher is just as confused, but our girl just smirks, her secret safe for now. She explains her genius plan. She absorbed the essence of magma and the energy of a thunderstrike. By forcing these two chaotic energies together, she created an explosion powerful enough to resist the attack. What an absolute queen. She cheekily asks her teacher if he thinks she's smart, but he's having a full-blown panic attack, yelling that she could have self-destructed. Our girl just smiles, cool as ever. It was a life-or-death situation, and she found the only way to survive. She calls him a smelly old man, and he surprisingly admits that her method was incredibly smart, even if it was reckless. He even praises her intelligence and perseverance. But then it hits him. Wait, did you just call me smelly old man? Linglong, however, is not impressed by this display of chaotic genius. She screams that no matter what our girl does, she's still trash. And today is the day she's determined to kill her. But our girl stands up, completely unfazed. I'd advise you to save your energy, she taunts. By the time your attack even reaches me, I'll be long gone. The sheer audacity. Linglong is absolutely losing her mind. Our heroine's eyes narrow as she delivers a chilling promise. What you've done to me, I, the CEO, shall repay you in multiples of hundreds or thousands. Linglong is completely frozen, shaken to her core. The look in our girl's eyes is absolutely terrifying. She can't believe this imposing figure is the same trash Yeon she's always bullied. Damn it, she curses, her confidence completely shattered. How could she, a prodigy, be terrified by a nobody's glare? Enraged, she summons her whip, screaming that she'll bash this trash to pieces. She unleashes her attack with a furious cry, but our girl knows the distance is too far. She can easily dodge it. Just as she's about to activate her special move, a figure in blue flashes in front of her. It's Brother Qingyun, but he's right in the path of the whip. He takes the full force of the attack, protecting our girl with his own body. He grunts in pain as blood splatters across his white robes. He turns to our girl, ignoring his own wound, and asks if she's all right, apologizing for being late. Then he coughs up a mouthful of blood as Linglong watches in horror. Brother Qingyun, she screams. You actually took my whip to protect such a trash? Our girl warns him that this will seriously damage his path of cultivation, but his eyes are locked on Linglong. You still hurt her, he says, his voice dangerously low. He demands to know what Yan did to make her so hateful. Linglong just spits that she can't tolerate this trash. She's consumed by jealousy, whining about how Grandpa favors our girl. She's just a trash who can't cultivate. How could she be worthy? Qingyun stares at her, his face a mask of cold disappointment. Linglong, I'm so disappointed with you, he says, his words cutting deeper than any whip. I didn't expect that I would have such a sister. He turns his back on her, a final brutal rejection. He gently takes our heroine's hand. Yan, let's go. Our girl looks up at him, her eyes full of concern, but he just gives her a weak smile, reassuring her that he's okay. They walk away together, leaving Linglong to stew in her defeat. But as she watches them go, a twisted smile spreads across her face. Sister, she whispers. Oh no, this is not good. I never thought of being your sister, she sees this, her obsession laid bare. You are mine, only mine. She vows that he can protect that trash for a while, but not for a lifetime. Her maniacal laughter echoes through the air, promising a dark and twisted future. With her resolve steeled, our girl is ready for a fight. She finds Kingyun nursing a nasty-looking wound on his back, and she immediately rushes over, telling him to come with her so she can tend to it. But he just brushes it off, saying an injury like this is nothing. He looks off with a grim expression, muttering that he has to train harder. And then comes the line that makes every girl swoon. He has to become stronger so he can protect her. Our poor heroine is touched, but her mind is already racing. She tells him she appreciates the thought, but if he's always the one protecting her, she'll never become stronger herself. With a fire in her eyes, she declares, "I can protect myself." She looks him dead in the eye and tells him to trust her. Kingyun just gives a small, wry smile, clearly not entirely convinced, but letting her have this moment. Later, our girl's tiny spirit teacher appears, questioning her plan to take on missions from the Mercenary Guild. But she's got it all figured out. To defeat her rival Yi Linglong, she needs to master combat techniques. And the first step is to cultivate body resistance skills. To do that, she'll need rare treasures of nature. And the Mercenary Guild is practically a treasure hunting superstore. Her master plan is simple: she'll collect the treasures, sell half of them for a ton of cash, and use the other half for her cultivation. It's a genius 2-for-1 deal to get rich and get strong. She even gets a little cheeky, calling her teacher old man and bragging about her business skills. Big mistake. The little spirit absolutely loses it, threatening to stop teaching her entirely. Our girl immediately panics and bursts into crocodile tears. Begging for forgiveness, having successfully calmed down her grumpy teacher, she marches right into the Mercenary Guild. She walks up to the cute receptionist in a maid outfit and coolly announces that she's here to take on a mission. The poor receptionist is completely starstruck, blushing at the sight of such a beautiful female mercenary. She stammers through her greetings and points our girl towards the mission board, handing her an application form. She quickly takes it, ready to get started. The receptionist explains that the guild uses a ranking system from D all the way up to SS, with the difficulty and rewards increasing with each rank. She sweetly advises our girl to pick a mission that suits her current level. Our heroine turns to her teacher, asking which of these missions will get her the body resistance skills she needs. The teacher points out a grade B mission for brass fruits, which can cultivate an elementary skill called yellow armor. Then there's a grade D mission for metal thistles, used for an intermediate skill called tree bark technique. And finally, a grade C mission for a red sand snake's internal alchemy, which cultivates the advanced red scales technique. Our girl starts to get a bad feeling, based on those absolutely terrible names. She asks if her skin color is going to change. The teacher cheerfully confirms it. The yellow armor will turn her skin yellow. But hey, it'll be super tough. She's horrified. He then explains the tree bark technique will make her skin thick, hard, and wrinkly, just like tree bark. Our girl is about to have a complete meltdown. But wait, there's more. The red scales technique is the most formidable one. Not only will her skin turn blood red, but it'll be covered in scales that secrete a sticky substance. The mental image alone is enough to make her want to crawl into a hole and die. Her teacher, completely oblivious, asks if she's excited about these amazing options. He then adds that since she's so weak, she can only pick one for now, and he enthusiastically recommends the sticky snake scales. "You'll love it," he says. The old spirit gives her a smug thumbs up, but our girl is not impressed. She squints at him suspiciously, asking if he has a wife. He's completely flabbergasted that she knew. He goes on a tangent about how he used to be overrun with women back in the day, and how it's been a problem for a really long time. Oh, the burden of being so popular. Our girl sarcastically calls him pitiful before getting down to business. She wants a body-resistant skill that won't ruin her perfect skin. He tells her the icy skin technique has the least effect, and she's immediately intrigued. He explains it's an intermediate stage skill that will boost her resistance like crazy. Plus, it'll make her skin softer, fairer, and smoother. Our girl is sold, but this old man thinks it doesn't sound domineering enough for her. "Sir, have you ever met a woman?" With a decisive slam of her imaginary gavel, she declares she'll cultivate that skill. But of course there's a catch. To learn it, she needs the 1,000-year snow fog bamboo. And guarding that bamboo is a massive, terrifying ice crystal spider demon. He warns her she'll need to be at least level 10 to even stand a chance against it. Right now, she'd just be a light snack for the spider. He tries to scare her off, telling her a grade A mission like this is way too dangerous for a rookie. But our girl isn't even listening. Her eyes have turned into gold coins as she calculates her future riches. Just one leaf is 2,000 gold coins. She's already mentally renovating the entire Yao Gardens with her new fortune. The spirit is practically yelling at her, but she just smiles, completely unbothered. She turns to him with an aura of pure, chaotic confidence and declares there's no money in this world she can't earn. The old man is absolutely stunned. He doesn't understand how this disciple of his has such a domineering presence, but he has a feeling she might actually pull it off. He's still sputtering about the spider being a demon beast. He warns her that one hit would completely destroy her, but she just coolly replies, "So what?" She reveals her swift steps have already reached the intermediate stage, a skill that most cultivators can't master even after reaching the predestined realm. The spirit confirms that even many experts in the spiritual combat realm are still unable to master short-distance teleportation. She lays out her genius plan. She doesn't need to fight the monster head-on. She'll just distract it, grab the bamboo and get out. She's got this in the bag. She then drops some serious wisdom on the old man, telling him that a person's realm is just one part of their abilities, not everything. The spirit has a moment of clarity. He who once ruled the world lacks the foresight of this young girl. He was too obsessed with levels and power, and that was his ultimate downfall. Meanwhile, our girl has already arrived at the Mercenary Guild and points to the grade A mission. The cute receptionist is shocked, wondering how this adorable girl, who looks no older than 14, could possibly have the required abilities. Our heroine just smirks, asking if there's a problem. The flustered maid immediately hands over the registration card. Our girl signs her name, Yan, and tells the maid to expect her back in 2 days. The receptionist blushes, completely flustered that this powerful woman just called her my lady. It's the first time anyone has ever addressed her with such respect, and she's feeling. She picks up the card and reads the name again, thinking Yan sounds strangely familiar. As our girl walks away, she muses that she never expected to see maids in this world. She stops for a moment, sensing something. She glances over her shoulder, and up on the stairs, a blonde woman's eyes go wide with shock. Yan, she gasps. Why would someone like you be here? Our girl struts into the mercenary union, sword at the ready, announcing she's here for a mission. But just as she's about to get down to business, a sickeningly sweet voice calls out her name. It's her trash sister, Linglong, and she's here to start drama. She immediately brings up how Yanip called her out in public, trying to shame her in front of the entire guild. Linglong goes on a tirade, screaming that it's a fact our girl can't practice and shouldn't even be allowed to take missions. But Yanip has already gotten permission, and she is not in the mood for this nonsense. She coldly tells Linglong to get out of her way, which only makes the jealous sister even more furious. Linglong sneers, mocking our girl for probably taking a pathetic D-level mission for a few coins. She then puffs out her chest, bragging about her own high-level mission to kill Iron Teeth Rat. She boasts that she'll get 50 gold coins for just one tooth. The crowd immediately starts sucking up to her, amazed that the child prodigy is taking on a level C mission. Everyone knows those missions are incredibly dangerous, but our girl just smirks, cutting through the noise. Are you trying to show off? She asks, before dropping a bombshell. Let's make a bet. Linglong is stunned, asking what kind of bet. Yanip lays it down, plain and simple. In 1 month they'll see who earned more money, and the loser has to kneel and kowtow to the winner. Linglong thinks she's got it all figured out. She accuses Yanip of just hoping she'll die on her mission. Linglong is so confident she'll win, she declares that she'll be smashing hundreds of gold coins in our girl's face. She loudly accepts the bet in front of everyone, calling our heroine reckless trash. The crowd, of course, sides with the so-called prodigy. Our girl simply turns away, not giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. A sly smile crosses her face. Oh, this is going to be good. News of this little wager travels fast, reaching the ears of a certain mysterious silver-haired man. He's in the middle of painting when a magical message arrives. He reads about the girl from the It family, the one everyone dismisses as trash, and finds himself intrigued. This little thing is more interesting than I thought. He muses. A dangerous, handsome smile spreads across his face. His interest is officially piqued. He stands on a balcony, looking out at the vast wilderness. Yanhui Forest, he says, a plan already forming in his mind. He takes a single step, and in a flash he vanishes. Back with our girl, she's deep in the forest, contemplating her mission, but she seems to have run into a bit of a snag. A really big, monstrous snag that has her trapped in a tree. Luckily, she's got a secret weapon, modern education, and a whole lot of math. She's confident she can handle a level A mission, while her sister struggles with a C level 1, and she can't wait to see the look on her face. But no amount of math could prepare her for bumping into him. We find ourselves deep in the creepy Yanhui Forest, where literal skulls litter the ground. Suddenly, a pack of demonic wolves appears, howling for blood. Our girl watches from the safety of a tree branch, whispering to her teacher about the danger. They've been in the forest for 5 days and have been fighting off beasts non-stop. Her teacher scolds her, reminding her that she waltzed into the inner forest, an area meant for cultivators of a much higher level. He says she'd already be dead if not for her quick escape skills. Our girl falls silent, realizing he's right. But then, the wolves suddenly back away in terror. Her teacher senses a powerful enemy approaching, and at the same time, the chaos vine on her arm starts to glow intensely. She asks her teacher what's happening, since he was the vine's previous owner. He sadly recounts how he was ambushed and died before he could cultivate it, managing only to bind his soul to the plant. Yanip can feel the vine on her arm writhing with excitement. It seems to have found its prey. The ground starts to rumble violently as a massive crystalline spike bursts from the earth. It moves with blinding speed, impaling the demon wolves and absorbing their life force. The teacher is panicking. It's a rare ground-type demon beast, and every one of them is at the 8th level. He warns that they're territorial and have definitely been awakened by the wolves' ruckus. Hiding in the tree won't work for long. The second her feet touch the ground, they'll attack. Even her short-distance teleportation won't be enough to get her out of the massive area these spikes control. The situation is dire, and her teacher is at a complete loss. Our girl steals her resolve, knowing this might be dangerous, but her tiny spirit teacher is having a full-blown panic attack, screaming, "But what?" She just calmly tells him they're just gonna try it. He's completely baffled, asking why she's taking so long to escape if she supposedly has so many ideas. With a sly smile, she tells him she's thinking about something else entirely. A situation like this, she muses, is a perfect opportunity. An opportunity for what? Her poor teacher wonders. She then begins listing off her absolutely chaotic escape plans. First, she could just peel off some tree bark and use it as a makeshift parachute. Or she could just skin a few dead wolves and make a hot air balloon. As one does, she could even just burn a tree branch and fly off. Her teacher is just speechless at this point. Her final idea is to make stilts, but even she admits that's a bit too troublesome. The old man has literally fossilized from the sheer absurdity of her plans. He finally snaps back, asking if it's so easy. Why is she still just sitting there? Our girl just looks down at the deadly spikes below. Her teacher absolutely loses it, screaming that she's courting death. He warns her that those spikes will stab her and drain the very life from her body. But she's perfectly calm, touching her chest and explaining that it's the ancient vine that brought her here. And so, she's going to put her faith in it, taking a legendary leap of faith. The teacher can only watch in absolute horror. She plummets headfirst towards the sea of deadly crystals. Then, like a pro, she activates her sky-swallowing technique, stopping her descent mid-air. The spikes shoot up to meet her, but instead of piercing her, their energy is completely absorbed into her body. The teacher cannot believe what he's seeing. Our girl floats like a goddess, radiating immense power. A massive shockwave of energy explodes from her. This is completely crazy. How can one person absorb so much energy? This chaos vine is literally defying the laws of nature. She lands gracefully, the energy settling around her. The teacher is stunned, realizing she's just leveled up. All that raw, deadly energy was just enough to push her to level 4 of the body-quenching realm. She's practically giddy, but she corrects him with a wink. It wasn't her who absorbed the spikes, it was the ancient vine. He asks what's changed then. She explains that she can feel the vine's power and can now shape its energy however she pleases. He demands to see it, and she's more than happy to oblige. She focuses her new power, and a glowing vine of pure energy gathers in her hand. With a surge of power, our girl summons a blade of pure, shimmering energy. She grips the hilt, feeling the raw power thrumming in her hand. With an elegant flourish, she gives the new sword a test swing. It's light as a feather, an extension of her own soul. The little spirit master watches from the side, his jaw practically unhinged. She floats in the air, looking like an absolute goddess of war. Even she seems surprised by her own incredible power. The master is still buffering, completely stunned by what he's seeing, while our girl flashes a confident, satisfied smile. She explains she simply focused her energy and imagined it taking the shape of a sword. And it actually worked. She's feeling pretty pleased with herself, thinking, "I'm awesome." Her teacher, however, is having a full-on existential crisis. This shouldn't be possible. She admires her handiwork, thinking the glowing weapon looks super cool. Suddenly, the old man lets out a massive gasp of realization. He knows what it is. This is the Azure Demon Crystal, he shouts. A legendary material formed over billions of years deep underground. It takes an eternity to form even a tiny sliver of this stuff. He explains that this whole area is sitting on a motherlode of the crystals, which were all absorbed by the chaos vine she conquered. The master is practically radiating jealousy. "You were lucky," he says, explaining that the crystal is so hard it would take centuries to forge into a weapon. But our girl just thought it into existence. Not only that, but the sword will boost her combat strength exponentially. With this weapon, he says, she could become invincible in her current realm. Invincible. Our girl's eyes gleam with excitement. A cheeky grin spreads across her face as she says, "Wow, I never knew this tiny sword would be this formidable." Meanwhile, in another place entirely, a mysterious white-haired man watches over a sleeping woman. He reveals he peeked into her memories to find out whose name she was calling. He seems deeply troubled by what he discovered. Back with our heroine, the master is still hung up on her calling the legendary weapon a tiny sword. But she can't shake the feeling that something is missing from her new blade. She examines it closely, trying to figure out what it needs to be perfect. The master explains that while the crystal contains pure energy, it has no combat abilities on its own. But if another powerful material were added to the sword, it would become the ultimate weapon. A light bulb goes off in our girl's head. She gives her little sword a pat. "Looks like you've got to work harder." Her teacher warns her that finding a compatible material is almost impossible. But that doesn't faze our girl one bit. "I have a feeling that I'll definitely find it," she declares with a fiery glint in her eyes. And just like that, she's on to the next quest. "Let's go, teacher. We have to go look for that snow fog bamboo." Her smile is pure, unshakable determination. He warns her that this special bamboo only grows in extremely harsh environments, like Snowstorm Valley, and is always guarded by an ice crystal demon spider. They arrive in the frozen wasteland, and our poor heroine immediately starts shivering behind a snowbank. But her eyes suddenly light up when she spots her prize, the 1,000-year snow fog bamboo. She's found it, but her victory dance is cut short when she spots the giant sleeping shadow right next to it. And it is a horrifyingly huge demon spider. Our girl immediately bursts into tears. Why is this spider so big? How am I supposed to get that bamboo now? The master pops in just to be savage. Ah, so you were only confident because you thought the spider would be small, huh? Her face freezes in betrayal. Just then, a group of mercenaries arrives on the scene. They look like they mean business, marching straight towards the spider's lair. Our girl's tears instantly dry up. Replaced by a cunning smirk, she realizes they must be after the bamboo too. Her new plan is brilliant. She'll just follow them, let them deal with the giant monster, and while they're busy she'll just swoop in and steal some of the bamboo. I'm so smart, she thinks with a giggle. But just as she's patting herself on the back, her teacher appears behind her. Our girl is just trying to mind her own business when she stumbles upon a mercenary group about to take on a massive challenge. Her little spirit guide points out that while these guys are strong, they're about to fight a demon beast. And this particular demon beast, a giant sleeping spider, is way stronger than anything else in its realm. The leader of the mercenary group rallies his troops, asking if they're ready. Spoiler alert, they are absolutely not ready. Let's go, he yells, ordering his archer to take the first shot. The pretty boy archer smirks, completely overconfident. Our girl watches, already sensing the impending disaster. The arrow flies true, but just clanks harmlessly off the spider's tough hide. Well, that was a terrible idea, because now the beast is waking up, and it looks pissed. The leader freaks out, noticing its glowing red eyes. The spirit guide is also in shock, realizing this isn't just a demon spider, it's on the verge of becoming a powerful spiritual beast. How did this happen? The now furious spider begins to crawl, and the spirit guide knows this team is about to get wiped. As it moves, its giant leg cracks the massive bamboo stalk it was guarding. Suddenly, a purple light shines from within the crack. The spirit guide loses his mind. This isn't just any old bamboo. It's a 10,000-year snow fog bamboo. At that age, it turns purple and is packed with insane spiritual energy, which explains why this spider is leveling up so fast. He literally lights a candle for these poor fools, because they are so done for. The spider lets out a terrifying hiss, but the leader, bless his arrogant heart, is unfazed. He charges in, swinging his sword with all his might, only for it to bounce off with a loud clank. He can't even scratch it. The spider swats him away like a fly, sending him crashing to the ground. The leader pushes himself up, insisting he's fine. Another member of his team rushes in, calling the spider an ugly monster. His attack also does 0 damage. Panicking, he tells everyone to attack at once. Their combined assault is completely useless, and he screams that the beast is just too powerful. Our girl can only watch as the unharmed spider gets even angrier. They decide to aim for the eyes, its only possible weak spot. But before they can even try, the spider lets out a furious shriek that blows them all away. This thing is on another level. Our girl is stunned by its power, and her spirit guide is just like, told you so. The spider then stomps the ground, sending deadly purple crystal shards flying everywhere. Our girl watches in horror as the mercenaries are impaled. One of them uses his last breath to tell his chief to run. Fueled by grief and rage, the leader decides it's time to get serious. Gripping his glowing sword, he vows to put an end to this. He lets out a final war cry and charges. But just as he's about to strike, the spider shoots out a web of silk that wraps around his blade. The silk tightens, and his sword cracks and shatters into pieces. The beast has him completely trapped. The spirit guide notes that this ancient silk is strong enough to break any weapon. The spider raises its leg for the final, devastating blow. The impact is massive, and all our girl's guide can say is, crazy. With her friend passed out cold, our girl faces the massive crystal spider. But just as she's about to fight, the creature just closes its eyes and falls asleep. The little spirit master is in awe, saying its defense skills must be incredibly powerful. He tells her it's impossible to break through that defense, and they should just cut their losses and leave. He tries to convince her, explaining that 5 masters from the predestined realm were already defeated, so they stand no chance. He ponders their next move, clearly ready to give up, but our girl is already cooking up a plan. And oh, it's a gloriously chaotic one, involving advanced physics equations. The old man is completely lost, wondering what on earth she's doing. Our girl is in the zone, scribbling formulas in the snow and muttering that it's been a while. But this is still easy for her. The old man is just baffled by the scribbles on the ground. She just smiles, reminiscing about her old homeroom teacher from her past life, who always told her to do well in math, physics, and chemistry, because she'd use it one day. The old man is losing his mind. You're telling me you can beat that monster by writing all this stuff? He can't believe his ears. But our girl just gives a confident, close-lipped smile. She declares, it should work. She eyes a nearby ice cliff, calculating the perfect starting point for her insane plan. She figures she'll be fine as long as she sticks to her calculation. The old man spots her and immediately starts to panic. What? You're jumping again? He shrieks, then immediately gets confused, wondering why he said again. She steals her resolve, preparing for the leap. The old man begs her to wait, insisting they can think of another way, trying to pull her back from the edge. But it's too late. She just went for it. With a mighty swoosh, our girl leaps into the abyss, activating her skills mid-air. She plummets towards the ground with terrifying speed, her pink hair trailing behind her like a comet. The sleeping spider has no idea what's coming. As she falls, her expression is one of pure, focused intensity. This is it. She unleashes her ultimate move, the sky-swallowing technique. A massive vortex of energy begins to form around her. The old man absolutely loses it. What? She's using it in mid-air again. The force is so strong it sucks his tiny snowman form right off the ground. The vortex grows larger and larger, and our girl channels all that chaotic energy. The power swirls into a beautiful, deadly spiral. The old man screams for her to wait, but she's already releasing the attack. The ground rumbles with the sheer force of her power, but she's not aiming at the spider. No, she's aiming at the massive chunk of ice hanging right above it. With her technique, she rips a literal meteor from the ceiling, her eyes gleaming with cold precision. She smiles, her masterpiece almost complete. She positions the massive ice meteor directly above the sleeping beast. With a savage grin, she launches her weapon. Off you go then. The ice meteor plummets towards the ground. The old man is having a heart attack. How is it possible for it to hit that spider from such a height? The spider remains blissfully unaware of its impending doom. Our girl just smirks. I did my calculations right, after all. At the last second, the spider's eyes snap open in pure terror. Bam! A direct hit. It's a perfect bullseye, and our girl's eyes blaze with the light of sweet, calculated victory. She thinks a giant snowball will make for a soft landing. Oh, honey, that's not how physics works. She lands with a dramatic crash, kicking up a storm of ice. Before her lies the giant ice spider, its eyes swirling with dizziness. Our girl lets out a relieved sigh. Thank goodness I got it done. She knows if she hadn't knocked this guy out, she would have been a goner. Her teacher is absolutely flabbergasted by the massive crater left by the snowball. He can't believe she subdued a nearly leveled up ice crystal spider demon. But he's also a little disappointed, muttering about what a pity it is for her to be his disciple with such a low cultivation level. She spotted something far more interesting. The 10,000-year snow fog bamboo. She quickly counts the leaves and realizes there are exactly 100 of them. Her eyes immediately turn into gold coins as she screams internally, I'm going to be rich. She does some quick mental math. If a 1,000-year bamboo is worth 500 gold coins, then this bad boy must be worth a fortune. Her teacher pops up out of nowhere, looking like a little money-crazed gnome himself. He corrects her, shouting that a single leaf from this bamboo can fetch at least 2,000 gold coins. Her eyes widen in shock. 2,000 gold coins, multiplied by 100, that's 200,000 gold coins. Our girl is literally imagining herself swimming in a sea of gold. Meanwhile, in the Black Snake Swamp, our rival Yi Linglong is having a much harder time killing steelfang rats. She's getting overwhelmed, blood splattering everywhere. Crap, she grits her teeth, ready to fight to the death. The scene cuts back to her, panting heavily, surrounded by the bodies of her fallen foes. Haha, I've already killed 120 of them, she gasps. Exhausted, but proud, she calculates her prize money, a whopping 6,000 gold coins, a full bag. But her victory is tainted by jealousy. She sneers, thinking of our poor Yian. She can't wait to dump all her coins in front of our girl, imagining the pathetic look on her face when she's only holding a handful of coins. Oh, the delusion is strong with this one. Back in the snowy mountains, our girl is completely oblivious to the hater. She marvels at the gorgeous bamboo ready to claim her prize. With a determined look, she dashes forward. Up I go. Her teacher tries to tell her to be patient, but she's already on the move. She activates her water steps technique, leaping onto the bamboo with a powerful bam. She's always wanted to try this. With a smirk, she decides to use her swift steps to snatch the leaves. She looks absolutely epic. A whirlwind of pink hair and sharp crystalline leaves. In a flash, it's over. She lands gracefully, holding her prize. Look, teacher. I've gotten all the leaves. Pretty fast, huh? She giggles, holding the precious bundle. But then, a greedy glint appears in her eyes. Teacher, since these leaves are so precious, wouldn't the bamboo itself be extremely valuable as well? The old man just sighs. Sighs, you really love your money, don't you? He explains that a 1,000-year bamboo has gathered tons of snow essence and is impossible to move. This 10,000-year one, it probably weighs several million tons. He tells her that even with 1,000 people, it would take centuries just to extract its essence. It's a rare gem, but there's no way she can do anything with it. Her heart shatters into a million pieces. All that money, just sitting there. She stares at the giant bamboo, whispering, what a pity. As she approaches it, a strange rustling sound fills the air. Suddenly, her sword begins to vibrate violently in her hand. She looks down, completely confused. What's going on, my sword? The little spirit master can only stare in confusion as our girl's new sword makes a strange noise. With a confident smirk, she realizes her sword isn't just a weapon, it's intelligent. And just like that, the blade flies right out of her hand and soars into the air. Her master is having a full-blown panic attack, but she just calmly tells him, you'll see. A powerful aura explodes around her as she reaches out her hand. She's activating the legendary sky-swallowing technique. The very air around her begins to warp and bend to her will. With a determined gaze, she unleashes the full might of the ancient power. A vortex of energy swirls around our girl as she puts her master plan into motion. The power is absolutely immense. She reveals her genius idea. Just like the vine absorbed the demon spikes, she's going to use the same logic to absorb the 10,000-year-old snow fog bamboo. Her master is absolutely losing his mind. She's about to release millions of tons of snow essence. All at once, a chaotic storm of energy erupts from her body. All of that raw power begins to converge into a single tiny point. She holds her breath, wondering if her insane gamble paid off, and her eyes snap open in shock. It worked. A tiny, impossibly dense symbol of pure essence hangs in the air. Her poor master is just staring, completely baffled by what he's seeing. From his view, it's just a little speck in the distance. He has no idea the sheer power it contains. Our girl smugly explains that her technique compressed all of that snow essence into this one tiny form. She stands there, looking so proud of her absolutely savage move. But before she can celebrate, her sword begins to vibrate, and the essence suddenly shoots right for it. Her master panics, watching the two immense powers about to collide. The essence slams directly into the blade with incredible force. A streak of light blazes across the sky, and her master screams, "What's happening?" She calmly explains that the two are starting to merge. The sword and the essence twist together, forging a completely new weapon. Merged? The old man is about to have a celestial heart attack. Our girl prays with all her might that it works. This will be her first meaningful and truly formidable weapon. Her eyes widen in absolute awe. The result is a breathtaking crystalline blade shimmering with cold light. The new sword floats in the night sky, its beauty almost otherworldly. She turns to her master, absolutely beaming. "Master, the merging really worked." They both stare, completely mesmerized by the beautiful weapon. It hangs majestically in the air, a testament to her power and genius. Even from a distance, she can feel its harsh and extreme cold energy. As she reaches for it, she feels an unbreakable connection, a bond she's only ever felt with a trusted teammate. With a soft smile, she knows without a doubt, this sword was always meant to be hers. She grips her new weapon, her eyes filled with fierce determination. Her very own ice sword, merged with millions of tons of ice essence, is finally complete. Her master, finally recovering from his shock, eagerly tells her to try out its powers. She spots a large boulder nearby, the perfect target to test her new toy. Gathering her spiritual energy, she swings the blade with all her might. The air instantly fills with deadly, beautiful snowflakes, and the boulder is encased in a massive block of ice. Even she is shocked by the formidable cold energy it produced. But then, something impossible happens. A massive fire explosion erupts from the ice. Her master is completely flabbergasted. How could an ice sword create fire? He gasps, realizing that the destructive power of a single snowflake is as strong as a full attack from a high-level master. Our girl, however, is just admiring how pretty the snowflakes are, completely oblivious to their terrifying potential. A devilish grin spreads across her face as an evil idea forms. She imagines her enemies in a fight, seeing these beautiful slow-floating snowflakes, and then getting absolutely obliterated by them. The chaotic energy is off the charts. Her master proudly boasts that he knows quite a few swordsmanship techniques. He tells her once she masters her body resistance skill, he'll let her choose from a whole list of powerful moves. Our girl is practically drooling with excitement, ready to become the most overpowered swordmaster ever. But just as she's about to celebrate, a strange sound echoes through the clearing, making them both freeze in alarm. With her blade glowing, our girl remembers her mission. Oh right, she almost forgot she was here to help that poor mercenary. The ice spider's silk has been cultivated for years, so it must be incredibly tough. But thank goodness her sword has merged with the bamboo, so cutting through should be a piece of cake. With a mighty swing, her sword clashes against the crystal prism. Meanwhile, the mercenary wakes up with a groan. He was trapped in the spider's silk. But wait, how did the battle end so quickly? He was knocked out cold. Then he spots a figure in the distance. Did this master save him? He's in shock. The ice crystal demon spider is a powerful spiritual beast. To knock it out in such a short time, this person must be a true master. Judging by her stance and aura, she must be a senior who has already entered the spiritual combat realm. Just then, our girl turns to him and asks if he's awake. The mercenary gets a clear look at his savior, and his jaw hits the floor. It's a young girl, and there's no one else around. He realizes the person who defeated the spider wasn't some old master, but this tiny teenager standing before him. A girl who looks no older than 14 just took down a spiritual beast? Are you kidding me? Our girl just stares back, completely confused by his dramatic reaction. She genuinely wonders if he got some brain damage while fighting the spider. But no, the man is just floored by her power. He immediately drops to his knee. Madam Spiritual, I am Yanfeng, the leader of the Yanfeng mercenaries. Thank you for saving our lives. And then he drops the ultimate bombshell. From now on, the Yanfeng mercenaries will abide by your commands. Our girl is like, what? This is a new one. She whispers to her little spirit guide, asking why on earth he called her Madam Spiritual. The guide explains that the spider's abilities were way beyond the predestined realm. In most cases, only experts from the spiritual combat realm could defeat it. So naturally, Yanfeng assumed she was some legendary master. The guide warns her to just play along, because if he found out her true level, she'd be busted immediately. So our girl decides to go full girl boss mode. She turns to Yanfeng with an icy glare and says, "Ahem, with my abilities, why should I need a bunch of people from the predestined realm to work for me?" The sheer audacity. Even her spirit guide is shocked. Yanfeng is trembling, wondering how this girl is exuding an aura more domineering than an evil deity. She's channeling her past life, of course. Back when she was the CEO of a global company, being domineering was just another Tuesday. In her mind, not even her own grandfather in the king combat realm is her match. She lets her powerful aura flow freely, and Yanfeng feels the immense pressure. He's completely convinced now. Her speech, her body language. She has to be a leader of thousands. Not even his own father has an aura this powerful. He concludes she must be a master way above the spiritual combat realm. He can't believe he's met such a legendary expert. He pleads his case one more time, bowing respectfully. He admits his team isn't as powerful as her, but they have tons of connections in Yanhui City, and can be of use to her. He begs her to accept their sincerity so they can repay her kindness. He even bows to the ground. Our girl considers it. She was just here for a mission, but connections in the city could be useful. Fine, she'll play along. All right then, she says coolly. If I need your help, I'll look for you and your team. She tells him to go save his other team members first. Yan Feng is absolutely ecstatic. Her little spirit guide is just speechless, then completely impressed. He's lived for thousands of years and has never seen someone from the predestined realm pull off such a convincing act. Yan Feng gathers his injured men. He tells our heroine that they'll be taking their leave, but for convenience, he asks for her name. She smiles, looking absolutely regal. I'm from the Yi family, she declares. My name is Yi Yan. As the mercenaries trudge through the snow, one of them starts gossiping. Chief, she says, I was just thinking, the Yi family's famous genius, Yi Linglong, is only at the 6th level, and she's heard of another Yi Yan in that family. Yan Feng asks if she knew the lady they just met. The subordinate shakes her head. Oh no, she says, I've just heard about her. I heard that Yi Yan is a useless person who's unable to cultivate a shame to the Yi family. Yan Feng stops in his tracks, processing the information. A useless person? The girl who single-handedly defeated a spiritual beast? The one with an aura so domineering it made him tremble? He scoffs. Are the people in the Ye family all blind? With the treasure finally in hand, our girl is feeling pretty pleased with herself. Her master pops in, proudly calling her his dear disciple. He gushes that with her wits and aura, no one would ever be able to take advantage of her. This immediately triggers our heroine, who mutters that it's true, she's never been taken advantage of. The little spirit is completely lost. Except, the master suddenly snaps out of it, remembering the real prize. He reminds her about the ice crystal demon spider's treasures, specifically, its armor, which will massively boost her defense. Our girl just stares blankly. The so-called armor materializes, and, well, it's a giant creepy spider you wear on your back. She politely declines. I mean, come on, that thing is hideous. I don't want that, she declares. But her shouting seems to stir something in the spider's corpse. Her master tries to tell her to just make do with it, but it's too late. The demon spider is waking up. Our girl is a woman of taste, okay? I don't care for something that ugly, she yells, even offering it to her master. A loud hiss echoes through the cavern. She turns around, completely clueless. And bam, the spider she just called ugly is now fully conscious and absolutely furious. Our girl is frozen in shock. Her master starts screaming his little spirit head off. Run! She doesn't have to be told twice, booking it as a giant crystal leg slams down behind her. The master helpfully points out, it must have heard you calling it ugly. They sprint through the snowy landscape. This is bad. The spider is way more powerful than they are. She knows they can't outrun it forever. A look of grim determination crosses her face. She announces they're heading for the deep end of Yanhui Forest. Her master panics, screaming that the beasts there are even stronger. He thinks they're running straight to their deaths. But our girl has a chaotic plan. All animals have their own territory. To survive, they have to lure the spider into another monster's turf and let them fight it out. But the spider is closing in fast. It lunges, and the master screams for her to watch out. She uses her swift steps to dodge just in the nick of time. The spider's leg narrowly misses her. It slams into the ground with incredible force. The impact sends a shockwave through the snow. Boom! The blast sends our girl flying. She hits the ground hard, groaning that it's catching up. Her eyes widen in pure terror. It's over. The spider is right on top of her. She braces for the final blow, but it never comes. Wait. She's completely baffled. Speaking of which, what did I knock into? She slowly looks up and sees what she thought was a tree is actually a massive pillar. Like a ridiculously huge pillar. Both of them stare up in absolute disbelief. Wait a minute. That's not a pillar. It's a leg. A giant scaly leg. The master is about to have a heart attack. This thing is enormous. It takes a single step, and the entire ground trembles. A deafening roar shakes the forest as they finally see what they ran into. A sacred beast, the Wujin black tortoise. Her master starts hyperventilating, explaining this is the kind of legendary beast that can wipe out an entire army with a sneeze. Yeah, it's probably too late to right their wills. This is a whole new level of we're screwed. Our girl can only stare, noting that the tortoise is as big as several mountains combined. But as she trembles in fear, she realizes something odd. It doesn't seem to notice them. The master thinks it might be being controlled by someone. And just like that, a figure descends from the sky. A devastatingly handsome man with long silver hair appears, radiating power. He stops the tortoise with a single hand gesture. Our girl recognizes him immediately. It's Swan Jiliu. She can't believe he's here. He floats before the colossal beast and issues a simple command. Leave the Yanhui forest. The tortoise is not having it, roaring in defiance. It demands to know why a sacred beast should listen to a mere human. After all, it's lived in this forest for thousands of years. Why on earth should it leave now? Zhuanzhiliu calmly explains. You're about to level up. If you stay, your power will destroy the nearby city. His eyes glow, brimming with immense energy. The threat is clear. The master is completely starstruck by this handsome and powerful stranger. He can't believe someone can subdue a sacred beast so easily. But our girl, she's just pissed. She never expected Zhuanzhiliu to be this strong. And that cool, cocky expression on his face is driving her absolutely insane. The monster erupts from the earth, absolutely livid. What has Yanhui City got to do with me? It roars. All of you humans should just die. But then, a gorgeous silver-haired man appears, his eyes like ice as he calls the beast unruly and tells it to die. He unleashes a heaven-level advanced combat technique, the relentless wind blades. This guy is not playing around. A storm of pure energy hurtles towards the beast. The attack is so fast it literally slices through the air. The monster is stunned, unable to believe a human could possess this kind of power. Our girl watches from the sidelines, completely terrified by the sheer scale of this chaotic battle. With a single attack, the entire landscape is being flattened. The monster screams that the people in this world are crazy. You think? The wind blades slam into it with a massive bam. Our heroine is in total awe, vowing that one day she'll be that strong too. Everyone watching is completely speechless, but their shock turns to pure panic as they realize they're caught in the blast radius. The vortex of chaotic energy expands, threatening to swallow everything in its path. Our girl realizes this is bad. Very bad. She gets sucked into the sky as the old man starts freaking out, screaming that it's a heaven-level technique. He explains that once activated, it destroys everything, and not even the user can control its savage power. The beast finally gets it. You actually used that technique. It immediately tries to surrender, its tough guy act melting away. I got it, it's my fault, it pleads. It even promises to leave the forest and never come back. But our silver-haired menace just gives a cold, terrifying smirk. Ah, sorry about that. He calmly explains that once the relentless wind blades are unleashed, they can't be stopped. He lands gracefully, completely unbothered by the apocalypse he just created. Meanwhile, our poor heroine is trapped right in the middle of this formidable attack. She's sweating buckets, knowing she's in deep, deep trouble. Her spiritual powers are almost gone, and she can't even use her swift steps to escape. She has a horrifying vision of her own funeral, convinced she's going to die today. The storm of blades rages around her, and that's when he finally notices her. His eyes widen just a fraction. That lass, he thinks to himself. He wonders why she's there. A horrifying realization dawning on him. She's only at the body-quenching level. Suddenly, he's the one panicking. How is a weakling like her supposed to survive his ultimate attack? The old man screams for her to watch out, but it's too late as she braces for impact. A blade of pure energy flies right at her. She knows there's no way she can shield herself from this. It slices into her leg, and she cries out in pain. It's just too much for her to handle. Watching her get injured, the man suddenly clutches his chest. Why does he feel like his heart is being torn apart? He's never felt this way before. Without a second thought, he moves. Our poor heroine is falling, bleeding and unconscious. He rushes towards her, yelling, "I'm coming for you." He reaches out his hand, promising, "I'll catch you." In a flash, he grabs her, pulling her from the jaws of death. He pulls her into a tight embrace, whispering, "Everything's okay now." A protective barrier forms around them, shielding them from the storm he created. He holds her close, vowing, "I'll protect you. Be still, my heart." His eyes burn with a fierce, protective light. Our girl is safe in his arms, while the beast in the background is probably being turned into confetti. Together, they begin to fall from the sky. Luckily, a giant tortoise was conveniently placed below to break their fall. They land with a soft thud on its back. Exhausted but alive, they lie on the tortoise's shell, the danger finally over. Our girl wakes up with a splash, feeling like she just went 10 rounds with a blender. Clutching her pounding head, she groans in pain. She looks around, completely bewildered by the strange, crystalline cavern she's in. A tiny familiar voice pipes up, and it's her floating grandpa teacher. Looking relieved she's awake, he explains that after they were blasted off the cliff, they landed on the shell of a giant Wujin black tortoise, which thankfully broke their fall. In fact, this massive valley they're in is actually just a crack in the tortoise's shell. Our girl is absolutely floored by this revelation. They're literally standing on the back of a mythical beast. Suddenly, a memory flashes through her mind. Zhuanzhiliu holding her tight. She remembers seeing him rush to save her from that terrifying attack. Her teacher confirms it. Zhuanzhiliu jumped right into the path of the relentless wind blades to shield her. He took the full brutal force of the attack and is now badly injured. She rushes to his side, frantic with worry, asking why he won't wake up. Her teacher looks grim, admitting he has no idea. He's never heard of anyone surviving a heaven-level attack, let alone being in one piece after. But before he can say more, his own form starts to flicker and fade. Our heroine panics, but he explains that the attack also damaged his spiritual form, and he needs to rest for 24 hours to recover. With a final word of warning for her to take care, he dissipates completely, leaving her utterly alone. Now it's just her and the unconscious man who sacrificed himself for her. She steals her resolve, knowing her teacher is tough, but this guy, he needs her help right now. First things first, she needs to take care of her savior. She gently helps him sit up against a crystal formation. She calls his name, trying to get any kind of response, but there's nothing. He's completely limp, and she knows this can't go on. With trembling fingers, she reaches for his neck to check his pulse. Her eyes fly open in pure, unadulterated horror. No, this can't be happening. How could someone as powerful as Wan Jiliu have no pulse? She tries again, pressing her fingers to his skin and listening with all her might. The silence is deafening, and all she can hear is her own heart pounding in her ears. But then, a faint lub-dub. She heard it, a tiny, weak, but definitely present heartbeat. A wave of relief washes over her. As long as his heart is beating, there's a chance. She assesses his condition. He's lost a lot of blood, which explains his pale complexion and dry lips. He desperately needs water, but they're stranded in a barren wasteland on a tortoise's back. There's nothing here. Just as despair sets in, she gets a brilliant idea. Her sword, of course, it's an ice-type weapon. With a flourish, she summons the blade. Her plan is simple but genius. She'll use its power to freeze the moisture in the air into a snowflake. With a burst of energy, she does it. A perfect, single snowflake materializes before her. Success! Now for phase 2, she carefully cups the snowflake in her hands and uses the fire energy she absorbed previously to gently melt it. Soon she has a small pool of precious water. Since he's unconscious, she has no choice but to feed it to him mouth to mouth, being as careful as she can. But even after 15 minutes and all the water, he's still completely out. The injury is far too severe. A little water isn't going to cut it. Tears welling in her eyes, she realizes there's only one option left. A risky last-ditch effort. Channeling her power, she gathers crackling electricity in her fingertips. It's a crazy idea based on her past life's knowledge of defibrillators, but she has to try and stimulate his heart directly. This is the final treatment, she cries, unleashing the electric jolt. Swan Jiliu, you have to wake up. She rips open his robe, revealing the angry red marks across his chest. Our girl takes a sharp gulp, her cheeks flushing bright pink. Panicking internally, she screams at herself to keep it together. But her brain is short-circuiting, scolding her for lusting after his body at a time like this. Shaking off the chaotic thoughts, she places her hand on his chest, determined to save him. A jolt of energy shoots into his body, and he lets out a weak cough. His eyes begin to flutter open, and our girl breathes a sigh of relief. And just like that, those intense crimson eyes are wide open and staring right at her. An awkward silence falls between them as she wonders why he's looking at her so intensely. A devilish smirk plays on his lips as he asks, "So, why did you take off my clothes while I was sleeping?" Before she can answer, he grabs her wrist, pulling her closer and purring, and even touched my chest. He looks way too pleased with himself, and our poor heroine is completely flustered. She stammers, trying to deny everything. "Oh?" he says, his gaze dropping pointedly. "Well, your hand is still here." He leans in, trapping her with his intense stare. "And you dare to say you didn't?" He adds with a savage smirk, "This is the third time now. You seem very satisfied with my physique, don't you?" That's it, she's had enough. Our girl shoves him back, yelling, "Hey, I just saved your life." She calls him a petty guy, snapping that it's no big deal if she touched his chest. Meanwhile, he's just thinking about the bizarre way she saved him, using electricity to restart his heart. He has to admit, this girl is pretty interesting. This is the second time she's saved him, and he can't help but wonder if this is fate. He raises an eyebrow, deciding to tease her. "You saved my life? Then why did I almost die in the first place?" She flinches, her eyes falling on the wound she inadvertently caused. A wave of guilt washes over her. He got hurt because he was protecting her from those wind blades. The cuts are everywhere, a painful reminder of his sacrifice. He sees the troubled look on her face and thinks it's absolutely adorable. Deciding to lay it on thick, he puts on his best damsel in distress face, sighing dramatically. "So much for being an expert. Now that I'm badly injured, more than 20 years of my cultivation are gone." Our girl's eyes go wide with horror. His cultivation is gone? She looks at the deep gashes on his body. The guilt is crushing. He was a legendary combat expert, and now, because of her, he's powerless. She remembers how the original owner of her body was ridiculed for being unable to cultivate. And Swan Jiliu, the most gifted talent on the continent, is now doomed to that same cruel fate. But he's not done. He tells her losing his cultivation isn't even the worst part. With a pained expression, he delivers the final blow. "What's worse is that my lifespan has been shortened by a few decades as well." She completely loses it. He holds up a few strands of his hair. "Look, I'm silver-haired, but these 2 strands have turned completely white." He looks so tragic as he explains his hair turned white instantly because his life force was drained. Our girl is trembling. She's never owed anyone a favor this massive in her entire life. He's lost everything because of her. How could she possibly repay him? Suddenly, a new resolve hardens her expressions. She looks him dead in the eye and asks with deadly seriousness, "You said your lifespan was shortened by a few decades. Is that all true?" He nods solemnly, confirming it is. He explains that the wind blades damage the spirit, so losing a few decades of life is actually a light punishment, all while thinking he's laying it on a little thick. But he admits to himself that it's true, he really did lose some of his lifespan. Her mind flashes back to her teacher's warnings about those blades. She breaks out in a cold sweat, realizing he's telling the truth. Taking a deep breath, she makes a declaration. "You got injured saving me, so I owe you, and I always repay my debts. I can't restore your cultivation or your lifespan, but I'll be responsible for you." He freezes, clearly not expecting that answer. A slow, dangerous smile spreads across his face. "Oh, you'll be responsible for me?" He leans closer, his voice a low, seductive whisper. "How are you planning to do that?" Our girl thinks fast, thankful she brought writing materials with her to draw maps. The handsome, silver-haired man is immediately suspicious, demanding to know what she's doing. "Why do you need paper and brush?" he asks. But she just gives him a mischievous little grin. "To draft a contract, of course," she declares, proud of her skills. "Something I'm good at." He watches, completely baffled, as she gets to work. In a flash, it's all done. She proudly presents the document she's written up. He takes the scroll, and she stands there looking oh so innocent. He reads the terms. It's a lifelong service agreement where she will take care of him and provide a comfortable environment. He scoffs. "You wish, take care of me for life?" "That's right," she says with a confident nod. "I may look like this, but I've studied nursing in school." She explains that she's perfectly capable of taking care of patients, and she'll take him wandering through this world to make a living. She even guarantees he'll lead a good life and gain weight with her. He just stares at her, completely unimpressed. "I'm so good looking," he says with a straight face. "And you want me to gain weight?" He can't help but chuckle at her ridiculous plan, which only makes our girl furious. "Hey, what's so funny?" But his laughter jostles his wounds, and he suddenly starts coughing violently. Blood splatters across his chest as he collapses in pain. Our girl immediately panics, rushing to his side. She starts to worry, thinking that in this world, being handsome is useless without power. A guy with both looks and strength could find a good wife, but now that he's a fallen genius, his potential marriage partner will probably call off their engagement. The thought of him being abandoned makes her feel pity for him. She sighs, looking at his weakened state, and makes a firm decision. With her eyes full of resolve, she calls his name. "Swanjaleo, how old are you?" He looks up, a bit surprised by the question, and answers, "I'm 24 this year." 24, huh? She muses to herself. That's a pretty suitable age. After a brief pause, she gets right up in his personal space. "Do you have a marriage partner?" she asks point blank. The air crackles with tension and maybe a few romantic butterflies. He quietly admits that he doesn't. "Seems like you're a good fit," she declares boldly. "All right, it's decided then." She snatches the contract back, announcing that it needs some additional details. He just watches as she adds a new clause with a flourish. She hands the updated contract back to him, and he looks at it, curious. His eyes go wide as he reads the new term. If he can't pay her, she'll become his wife. A slow smile spreads across his face. He's actually impressed, thinking this girl is a rare gem who knows how to repay kindness. But our girl is hung up on the title. "Consort? I don't really like that term," she says, tapping her chin thoughtfully. "You may call me your better half." He's clearly charmed, thinking to himself that having a wife with such character is pretty good. "All right then," he agrees, but then adds a savage comment. "Though you're a little too thin for my liking, but I guess I don't have a better choice." Our girl is absolutely floored. "Thin? Are you blind?" she sputters, completely offended. This guy is clearly taking advantage here. But just as she's about to rage, his expression turns deadly serious. "It's almost time," he says cryptically. She's completely lost. "What do you mean?" He looks her dead in the eye and gives a shocking command. "Help me take off my clothes." Our poor girl freezes, her mind going completely blank. Did this handsome, injured man just tell her to take off his clothes? With his chest still bleeding, he gives her a sly smile and tells her to help him take off his clothes. Our girl is completely short-circuiting. "Take them off?" She stammers, trying to explain that she wants to marry him, but the words just won't come out right as she trembles in a flustered panic. Seeing her struggle, he just smirks. "Oh well, looks like I have to do this on my own." And with that, this chaotic man starts to undress himself. He casually pulls down his robes, and our girl immediately freaks out, asking what he's doing. Her heart is absolutely pounding in her chest. She's internally screaming, "Stop taking off your clothes. You can't do this with him right now." But of course, she can't help but peek through her fingers, and wow, he stands before her, a wounded but absolutely glorious specimen. A sudden surge of magical energy swirls around them. She can't help but think, this is way too tempting. Suddenly, a freaking meteorite comes crashing down from the sky. Ye Yan begins to float, his body glowing with immense power. A massive sphere of energy smashes into the ground with a loud bam. He unleashes his own power to meet the cosmic force head-on. Our girl can only watch in shock. The two incredible energies are about to collide, and bam, they crash into each other in a blinding explosions. When the light fades, he stands there, completely refreshed and looking like a deity. And well, it's a little too much. In fact, it's way too much for our poor heroine to handle. She looks closer and realizes, wait, his injuries, they've completely disappeared. He calmly puts his robes back on, explaining that it's his secret technique, asteroid revival. Whenever an asteroid appears, he can use its energy to be reborn. This allows him to return to his peak state. Our girl's response is pure gold. So you're invincible and as tough as a cockroach? He just smirks and basically says, yeah, pretty much. The gears in her head start turning. Wait, if he's all better, he confirms it. That's right, my injuries have all healed. He adds that his powers, which were taken for decades, are also back. Then he pulls out a piece of paper, and this contract is still in effect. He points out that there's no escape clause for his recovery. Our girl is absolutely fuming. She, a former business mogul, got played by a pretty face. She tries to argue that they don't have a solid foundation for a relationship. Now that he's recovered, he doesn't need her anymore, right? She accuses him of just bullying her for fun. He looks down for a moment, as if seriously considering her words. Then he steps closer, his gaze intense. How do I prove to this lass that I'm sincere about marrying her? Our girl gulps, her heart hammering against her ribs. He leans in, whispering, I'm not bullying you. I'm serious about it. She's still not convinced. I don't believe you, so he decides to show her instead of telling her, and our girl is completely stunned. He managed to force a kiss on her again, but as the shock wears off, she starts to wonder, is he actually serious about this? If he doesn't like her, why would he rush to protect her from those wind blades? This is the second time he's done this, but she feels even more nervous, forgetting how to breathe. She feels like she's going to suffocate from the intensity. The world just melts away around them. He finally pulls back and makes a bold declaration. Once she graduates from Chaoyun Academy, he'll officially ask for her hand in marriage. She's completely lost. Wait, what's Chaoyun Academy? And who agreed to marry you? He just gives her a smug, infuriatingly handsome smile, waving the contract in her face. Let's discuss that contract in more detail. He pulls her close, his voice a low whisper. Now that it's on paper, you can't go back on your words, he says, tapping her nose with a smug grin. And just like that, he scoops our girl up into a princess carry, declaring he'll take her out of here. As they fly through the air, he promises to find a way to rescind the contract. His plan? To just take her back to Yanhui City. But our girl is panicking. If you take me back, all my effort to cultivate would have gone down the drain. He doesn't care, his expression hardening as he tells her they're in the deepest part of the forest, and it's too dangerous for her. That's the last straw for our heroine. She shoves against him, demanding he put her down so she can face the dangers on her own. The sudden defiance leaves him completely speechless. In the blink of an eye, he's gone, and only the massive shell of the beast is left. She grumbles to herself about that annoying Swan Jaleo, wishing he'd just leave for good. But then she notices a little parting gift he left on her wrist. A gorgeous golden space dimension bangle. She has to admit it's pretty, but now she feels like she owes him. And then the horrible realization hits her. He once told her that she can't take this bangle off until she's attained the king combat realm. She's totally stuck. She sinks into thought, contemplating the men in her life. Besides her grandpa, only two have been nice, but brother Ye Qingyun doesn't really know her. This annoying Swan Jilio, on the other hand, actually supports her decisions, even if he's always acting all high and mighty, constantly teasing her. She pouts, annoyed that she even paid a heavy price this time. The man is just too much. But then, a new thought sparks. If she can't remove the bangle, she might as well put it to good use. She'll make so much money with it that she can pay him back with interest. And speaking of money, our girl's inner capitalist awakens. She's good at making money, so this should be easy. First things first, she decides to see what this little trinket can do. Her eyes focus, channeling her energy. Suddenly, her consciousness is pulled into a vast, grassy field. Beyond it lies a stunning, star-filled dimension. Our girl is absolutely floored. Holy crap, it has this much space? She stands in awe, surrounded by glowing butterflies and endless cosmic beauty. Just then, a tiny figure appears with a massive yawn. It's her master. He rubs his eyes, wondering where on earth they are. Our girl looks back, a little smug as she sees him floating near the shell of the great beast. We are, in my space dimension bangle, she explains with a proud smile. Her master is baffled. How could he enter a space that's bound to her spirit? He looks around, absolutely amazed. He decides right then and there that a large space filled with spiritual energy is the perfect new home for him. His eyes sparkle as he scopes out a nice piece of land. But then it hits him. He's never heard of a space dimension treasure that could hold such a massive area. You're amazing, my dear disciple, he exclaims, while our girl just thinks he's exaggerating. He explains that even when he was known as the evil deity, his own treasure could only hold a small house. This bangle, he realizes, must be a legendary treasure. His expression turns serious as he demands to know where she got it. She looks away, thinking of the silver-haired pretty boy. "It's from the guy who saved me," she says, trying to be secretive, but her master's mind immediately goes to the darkest place possible. "Oh, so you took advantage of his injury, killed him, and took the treasure from him?" he asks with a villainous glee. She facepalms so hard. "Old man, why would I do such a thing?" She explains that the man recovered and insisted on giving it to her. The master just nods, processing this new information. "Wait a minute, a young man risked his life to save her, and then gave her a legendary treasure?" His eyes go wide with a terrible misunderstanding. He starts trembling with rage. "Don't tell me that young man is trying to get you to be his disciple. That's downright evil. Don't be fooled by him." On set, our girl is just left speechless by her teacher's chaotic and simple-minded logic. Shaking her head, she touches the bangle to refocus. She points to the giant shell, noting that it must be valuable, but when she tried to absorb it with her ancient vine, nothing happened. She asks her master what they should do. He explains that the Wujin black tortoise was about to become a mystical beast, so its shell contains an enormous amount of energy. Her ancient vine just isn't powerful enough to absorb it. He sadly concludes that this great treasure of nature might have to go to waste. But when he calls it a treasure of nature, a light bulb goes off for our girl. A wicked little smirk spreads across her face. She has an idea. Her master is completely stunned by her sudden stroke of genius. Our girl explains that to cultivate her body resistance skills, she needs to absorb some powerful treasures of nature. She was supposed to use the icy skin technique to absorb 1,000-year snow fog bamboo, but our girl has a bigger, better, and way more chaotic idea. Combine the sky swallowing technique with the icy skin technique to power up her absorption capabilities. Her goal is to use this new combo move to massively strengthen her body. Her master immediately freaks out, saying the two techniques are totally unrelated and can't be combined. He warns her that if she gets too obsessed with this crazy plan, she could literally die. But our girl is radiating pure confidence, telling him they shouldn't be afraid of a little trial and error. She recites the incantation, preparing to merge the opposing forces of yin and yang, sun and moon. As the spiritual energy flows into her, her body becomes a furnace, ready to be forged anew. She opens her eyes and the technique begins to work its magic. She effortlessly starts absorbing the treasure's essence. Her master can only watch in disbelief, muttering that her move is absolutely sick. A torrent of energy flows into her, a whirlwind of pure power. As the energy finally dissipates, she opens her eyes, feeling completely normal. She wonders if anything even changed after absorbing all that power. Her master asks if the technique failed, but she just gives him a sly smile. She tells him he might want to turn around for this next part because she needs to cut all ties. Thank goodness she brought a change of clothes, because this is about to get messy. She floats into the air, and as the icy skin technique activates, her old clothes disintegrate into nothing. The raw energy swirls around her, remaking her from the ground up. She can't help but let out a victorious smirk. In a flash of light, her transformation is complete. She lands gracefully in a stunning new outfit, looking like a celestial goddess. Our girl is serving looks, and she knows it. Her master, on the other hand, is completely petrified, frozen in a state of pure shock. He can barely get the words out, stammering as he asks how she became. She looks down, surprised to see her skin is now flawless. Her master starts crying, whining that it's all his fault, because now she doesn't look intimidating at all. Our heroine is absolutely speechless at his ridiculous reaction. Shaking her head, she gets down to business. It's been 3 months, and it's time to head back to Yanhui City and settle the score with her nasty cousin, Ye Linglong. After a long journey, they finally emerge from the forest, with our girl complaining about how exhausting the training was. But she suddenly stops dead in her tracks. Something is definitely not right. An explosive bolt zips past her head at lightning speed, blowing a crater in the ground. An assassin steps out from the shadows, surprised that a mere level 5 practitioner could dodge his trap. Our girl isn't even fazed. She scoffs, pointing out the dead silence in a forest that should be teeming with life. It was obvious someone was lying in wait. She demands to know who he is and why he's trying to kill her. The assassin just laughs, impressed by her intelligence. He introduces himself as Huo Bao, head of the Fire Crossbow Guild, and casually threatens to burn her alive. He admits someone paid him a hefty sum to turn her into charcoal, and he's been waiting for her to show up. Her master starts to panic, realizing this guy is a pro from the predestined realm, with a seriously dangerous crossbow. That weapon is clearly no ordinary toy. But our girl connects the dots instantly. That snake Yi Linglong sent him to kill her so she wouldn't have to follow through on their bet. She smirks, realizing her cousin is far more cunning than she ever expected. Fine then. If he wants a fight, she'll bring it right to his doorstep, attacking him at close range where his crossbow is useless. With her swift steps activated, she becomes a blur rushing towards him. The assassin is shocked, wondering how she can move so quickly. We flash back to see exactly how this went down. The villainess herself, Yi Linglong, hands over a bag of 300 coins to Chief Huo Bao. Her target? The young lady of the Ye family, our girl, Ye Yan. Huo Bao scoffs at the low price, but Linglong clarifies she wants his entire guild on the job. He thinks she's completely lost her mind. But Linglong is a master manipulator. She explains that crossbow users like him need distance to be effective. She then dangles the bait. Yan, a girl with no spiritual powers, possesses a treasure that allows her to move with incredible speed. She tempts him with the prize, asking if he isn't just a little bit curious about it. And with that evil, greedy smile, she knew she had him hooked. The guildmaster is absolutely losing his mind. Swift movement? A treasure like this exists? A mysterious woman with a wicked smile steps into the light. She explains that even with our girl's speed, a simple ambush from all directions would be enough to end her. She offers this plan to the old man, promising that his guild will become the most powerful in the entire city. The greedy guildmaster immediately agrees to the sinister proposal. The woman smirks, thinking to herself that no matter what tricks Yan pulls, she's a dead woman walking. She cackles, completely convinced that our poor heroine isn't even worthy of being her opponent. With the deal struck, the old man gives the signal, "Come on out," and just like that, dozens of archers emerge from the shadows. He gives the savage order, "Shoot." A storm of arrows flies directly at our unsuspecting girl. She freezes, her eyes wide with terror as her little spirit guide screams in panic. The guildmaster watches with a disgusting grin, snarling, "Go to hell." He expects to see nothing but a cloud of dust where she stood. But bam! A massive magical barrier erupts, protecting her from the blast. Our girl breathes a sigh of relief, thanking her lucky stars. Her guide explains that her new icy skin technique automatically creates a barrier when it senses danger. Talk about a clutch ability. The enemy goons are completely stunned. How could she be totally unharmed? The guildmaster's shock quickly turns to pure greed. A girl with both speed and defense skills? He can't believe it's possible for someone at her level. Which means one thing, she has priceless treasures, and he must have them. He orders his men to concentrate all their fire on her barrier. The villainess smirks, knowing that no matter how strong the defense is, it can't withstand a continuous assault. A second, even larger volley of arrows rains down on her shield. Our girl trembles, feeling the barrier start to weaken under the constant barrage. She knows she has to fight back, and fast. The little spirit screams that they should just escape, but our girl is not a quitter. "We can't," she yells over the clanging of arrows. She knows they're trapped, and the only way to survive is to retaliate. In a moment of absolute chaotic energy, she turns to her guide and asks him to teach her the swordsmanship techniques he promised. He completely loses it. "You want to learn a combat technique now? Do we have time?" But her determined glare says it all. He sighs, realizing there's no other choice, and starts searching for a simple technique. He pulls out a dusty old fragment of a book, the Glacial Heavenly Sword Collection. It's only a partial text, containing just 2 techniques. He dumbs it down for her, but warns that learning a combat skill this quickly is basically impossible. Our girl takes the book and her jaw drops. 2 techniques, with over 100 pages of explanation? That's insane, she thinks, as the barrier continues to crack under pressure. She realizes the shield will only hold for another 10 minutes. The clock is ticking, but she steels her resolve. This is a heavenly stage technique, so it has to be powerful. She believes that with this power and her own sword, she just might be able to win this impossible fight. The arrows keep coming, relentless and unforgiving. The archers are getting exhausted, reporting to their chief that the barrier still hasn't broken after 10 solid minutes of firing. The chief just laughs, confident her shield is on its last legs. He decides to end it himself with his ultimate weapon, the mystical feather arrow. His lackeys start fangirling over the legendary weapon, an unstoppable arrow made from a phoenix feather, fired from the guild's treasured monochrome rainbow crossbow. He aims and taunts her, saying it's an honor for her to be killed by such a legendary weapon. The creep laughs his head off as he prepares to fire the glowing arrow. He lets it fly, a terrifying wave of killing intent barrels towards them. The spirit guide is in full-blown panic mode. He screams at her, asking if she's learned the technique yet, begging her to just run away. But our girl, she just calmly closes the book. With an absolutely savage smirk, she announces, 10 minutes, and finally, I mastered it. It's time to show these losers what a real technique looks like. She unleashes her power, summoning her sword. Glacial Heavenly Sword. First move, Qianhan Ice Coagulating Cut. The air itself freezes as countless blades of pure ice materialize around her, ready to unleash absolute devastation. Our girl unleashes her ultimate technique, the Glacial Heavenly Sword. With the first move, Qianhan Ice Coagulating Cut, she gathers all the cold air in the area to form a massive ice sword. This thing is crackling with cold energy, ready to unleash absolute destruction. A 40-meter-long sword? Are you kidding me? The mystical arrow flies towards her, but it's like a toothpick against a battering ram, and when the dust settles, our girl is standing there, completely and utterly unharmed, with a smirk that could kill. The attacker is absolutely losing his mind. How could his ultimate attack, meant for a level 5, be blocked by a nobody? But her master is just chilling, smug as ever. My dear disciple's little sword has absorbed countless demon crystals, he thinks. Of course it's strong. Our girl agrees. A 40-meter sword is perfectly suited for her domineering aura. You tell him, Queen. The leader starts panicking and orders his men to keep shooting. He thinks that gathering energy for a sword that big has to be slow, so they can just overwhelm her with numbers. Our girl just smirks. Is that so? She says, dripping with sass. Sorry to disappoint you, she purrs, but there's another technique detailed in this book, and I happen to master it as well. Her master is having a full-on heart attack. It's only been 10 minutes and she mastered both techniques. This girl is a monster. Suddenly, the air grows cold and it begins to snow. The enemies are shivering, their movements slowing down as frostbite begins to set in. Our girl has activated her second move, Snowing Paradise. This chaotic ability drops the temperature in a 100-meter radius, nerfing her opponent's speed and attack power while they literally freeze. The goons are already stiffening up, unable to move properly. The leader is sweating icicles now. He's a long-range fighter, and this ability completely cripples him. Our girl stands there like an ice queen, an absolute vision of power. The leader refuses to believe he's about to be taken down by someone so far beneath his level. He screams in defiance, refusing to admit defeat, but our girl is just enjoying the show, watching these goons freeze in her personal winter wonderland. In that case, she says with a chilling smile, as a bossy CEO, I'm never merciful to my enemies. Today, I'll annihilate your entire guild. She raises her ethereal sword one more time and unleashes the Kionhan ice coagulating cut again. The guild members can only watch in absolute terror as the icy slashes of death come right for them. Their guild symbol shatters as our girl wipes every last one of them off the face of the earth. And just like that, it's over. Her master is practically weeping with joy. His disciple is so powerful, a teenager who wiped out an entire guild. But our girl is completely unfazed. Nah, she says with a shrug, that guild was just too weak. She explains they were one-trick ponies who only focused on long-distance attacks, but then her eyes light up. Speaking of which, the crossbow they dropped is actually super pretty. I mean, who doesn't like a well-designed weapon? It's small, intricate, and she absolutely loves it. She immediately decides it's her new trump card and starts plotting how she'll sneak attack her enemies with it. Hehe. All done. With her mission complete and a new toy in hand, they finally head back to Yanhui City, and our girl has a special visit in mind. She needs to properly thank her good sister of mine, you know, the one who so nicely set her up with such a powerful weapon. A familiar figure steps forward to submit her own mission, a single scratch on her arm for dramatic effect. It's Yilinglong, and she's here to cash in 10 rat fangs for a whopping 500 gold coins. The crowd is completely shocked. They're all fawning over her, calling her a genius for completing the mission and getting so many fangs. Others are green with envy, complaining they can't make that much in a year. Linglong just soaks it all in, thinking it's a shame our useless bum of a sister isn't here to see her glory. She cackles internally, imagining our girl getting turned into a human pincushion by the Fire Crossbow Guild. She takes her bag of gold and puts on a fake, concerned face for the receptionist, asking if our girl has returned yet. When the maid confirms she hasn't, Linglong can barely contain her smug satisfaction. She immediately starts the waterworks, crying about how it's all her fault for agreeing to the wager. The crowd completely eats it up, praising her for being so powerful yet so kind. But a voice cuts through the performance. Sister Linglong, why do you look so pale? And there she is. Our girl, alive and well, casually snacking on some steamed buns. I could hear your unique crying voice from afar, so I came running, she says with a savage smile. Linglong is shook. She's alive? Her mind is racing. How did she escape? Are the members of the guild completely useless? But then, a wicked grin spreads across her face. If she's alive, that means she can be publicly humiliated and slapped 100 times for losing their bet. Our girl, meanwhile, is just trying to share her snacks with her maid. Linglong can't stand it. How does she look so radiant, like she just came back from a spa day instead of a life-or-death mission? She's fuming. The guild didn't kill her, which means our girl didn't even go to the forest. This is perfect. She'll expose her as a liar, and not even their grandfather will be able to protect her from the fallout. She saunters over, feigning relief. So, did you complete your mission in Yanhui Forest? Our girl plays it coy. I'm not too sure if that's considered completed, but I guess so. She's secretly talking to her master, clarifying that the mission was for 1,000-year bamboo. But they found 10,000-year bamboo instead. Her master tells her not to worry about the upgrade, but Linglong sees her hesitation and assumes it's guilt. She presses on, asking what kind of mission she even signed up for. The maid proudly announces it was a grade A beginner-level mission. The entire hall falls into a dead, shocked silence. A grade A mission? The crowd erupts in disbelief. They start mocking her, saying that's a mission even experts would struggle with. It's impossible for a non-cultivator. Linglong is laughing her head off internally. She thinks our girl is so pathetic and desperate that she signed up for a suicide mission without even understanding the rankings. Just tell us the truth, she says, her voice dripping with fake pity. You didn't complete the mission, right? Our girl just stands there, letting the accusation hang in the air. Her master is fuming. This Yilinglong is so cocky. I demand you show her your prowess. With her master's blessing, our girl turns to her sister, a condescending smile playing on her lips. You sure have a sense of humor, Sister Linglong. It's merely a grade A mission. What's so difficult about that? I can easily complete it. The bitter cousin is absolutely seething, demanding our girl prove she earned anything at all. She makes a huge show of dumping her measly earnings on the floor, bragging about her 500 gold coins. She smugly asks what our poor heroine managed to bring back. Our girl casually pulls out a single shimmering leaf and asks for a price check. The receptionist's eyes go wide. This is a leaf from 1,000-year snow fog bamboo. That's a grade A mission. And it's worth 500 coins, the exact same amount as the cousin's entire haul. The entire room explodes. How could she possibly have completed a grade A mission? The cousin slams the counter, absolutely refusing to believe it and screaming that the receptionist made a mistake. The poor girl flinches and apologizes, admitting she did get it wrong. The cousin instantly launches into a victory screech, laughing that she knew our girl was a failure who can't even cultivate. But the receptionist isn't finished. She clarifies that it's not a 1,000-year leaf, it's a 10,000-year leaf, and it's worth 2,000 coins. The sound of jaws hitting the floor echoes through the guild. The receptionist reverently hands over a massive pile of gold to Madame Yan, and our girl, in the most savage move of the century, just sighs that 2,000 coins is so inconvenient to carry. Her cousin is literally vibrating with rage, screaming that she suffered for her 500 coins while our girl just waltzes in with 4 times that amount. She is absolutely losing it. But our queen isn't done. She calmly states that this was just 1 leaf, and she happens to have 50 more. That's 10. The entire guild is frozen in disbelief. No one can comprehend what they're hearing. The receptionist is completely overwhelmed, stuttering that she needs to get her superiors for a transaction this massive. Our girl then turns to her cousin with a Cheshire cat grin. 500 coins versus 10,000. I believe I've won our bet, dear sister. Oh, that is the face of someone who is about to collect her prize with interest. The cousin panics, trying to play the family card to get out of the 100 slaps she owes. But our girl isn't having it. With a burst of speed, she's right in front of her. A deal's a deal. You lost, so you will accept the punishment. A crisp slap rings through the hall. The cousin is stunned, utterly humiliated to be struck by someone she considers trash. She's so enraged she whips out a weapon. I'll kill you, she shrieks, losing the last of her dignity as the crowd begins to whisper about the Yi family's genius being a sore loser. The public opinion has completely flipped, and now everyone sees our girl as the true powerhouse. Our heroine calls her out for the shameless, pathetic coward she is. But the cousin lunges forward, activating her cultivation. She's 2 levels above our girl, and ready to do some serious damage. Our girl knows her own sword is too powerful to use here without destroying the whole building. But just as things are about to escalate, a new player enters the game. The Yanfeng Mercenary group is here. Their leader strides in, a powerful aura radiating from him as he demands to know who's causing trouble. The cousin immediately recognizes him. It's Master Yan Feng, a legendary expert. She goes into full-on fangirl mode, completely mesmerized. But his gaze passes right over her and lands on our girl. In a move that shocks everyone, the legendary Master Yan Feng and his entire crew bow to our heroine, respectfully calling her Senior Yan. The cousin's brain short-circuits. This is impossible. The whole crowd is baffled. A famous 20-year-old expert is calling a teenager senior. Our girl, never one to miss an opportunity, says they're just in time. She explains the bet, complaining that her hand hurts after just 1 slap, so she's outsourcing the remaining 99 slaps to them. Her orders: don't show any mercy. She is enjoying this way too much. Sidekicks are awesome. The mercenaries eagerly grab the terrified cousin. Master Yan Feng just winks at our girl and says he'll get right on it. How is she a senior? The cousin screams. Slap! Yan Feng cuts her off, coldly stating that an expert's ways are not for her to question. The punishment has begun. A symphony of slaps echoes through the guild. It's brutal and it's beautiful. Our girl decides the poor, sweet receptionist shouldn't witness such violence. She gently covers the girl's eyes. The flustered receptionist then presents her with a space dimension box to hold all her winnings. Our girl finds her loyalty and innocence absolutely adorable. She teases the girl, asking if she isn't afraid she'll just steal the priceless box. The girl just shakes her head, full of trust. Fine, our girl says. Let's just settle this now. She has a much more dramatic idea in mind. She takes the box and casually tosses it into the air. It bursts open, unleashing a literal tsunami of gold coins. She stands in the center of a golden storm, an absolute goddess of wealth and power. The little receptionist is now her #1 fan, completely in awe of this incredible senior. Even Master Yan Feng is stunned, realizing just how mysterious and powerful she truly is. The cousin can only watch, her face swollen and purple, muttering in pure, undiluted jealousy. The slaps continue amidst a waterfall of gold. What a scene. The crowd is now convinced she's some ancient immortal disguised as a young girl. It's the only thing that makes sense. The mountain of gold grows higher and higher, a monument to her absolute victory, while the cousin's punishment continues. And honestly, we love to see it. With her pockets finally full, our girl is ready for some retail therapy. She announces to her tiny spirit guide that it's time to start shopping. And by shopping, she means pointing at everything and saying, I'll take these, and also all of these. Her spirit guide can only watch in horror, asking if she's trying to buy up the entire street. The vendors are practically swarming her, ecstatic about their new whale of a customer. She just smiles and tells them where to send the delivery, easy peasy. But of course, a hater is always watching. From a nearby building, a girl grits her teeth, absolutely radiating with jealousy. Unbothered, our heroine spots something interesting at another stall. It's a strange, golden egg, and she picks it up to take a closer look. Her spirit guide immediately senses it's a mystical beast egg, practically humming with a massive amount of energy. She asks the stall owner how much it costs, but the girl has a strange condition. The egg is free, but in exchange, our hero must help neutralize the poison in her brother's body. Our girl smirks. If her master is interested in this egg, it must be something special. She confidently declares that she has an ancient vine perfect for the job. The owner, Muxin, is completely shocked. This little kid knows how to neutralize poisons? That's insane. She quickly agrees and leads the way. They hurry through the city. A worried crowd is gathered outside the room, fretting over their chief's worsening condition. Our girl asks who they are, and Muxin explains they're all her brother's most trusted men. Muxin explains their sad past. They were poor orphans who formed a guild to survive, led by her brother, Ma Yi. 3 days ago, he found that golden egg in a cave during an expedition. But ever since he took it, he's been weakening from some mysterious poison. Our girl is actually impressed. This Mo Yi guy sounds like a capable leader, building a loyal guild from nothing. In her modern world, he'd be considered a genius manager, even without cultivation skills. They finally enter the room, where the young man lies unconscious. His whole body is flushed red, and our girl immediately realizes what's wrong. Her spirit guide panics, thinking it's a deadly poison, but she's quick to correct him. That's no poison. He explains that a mystical beast's egg holds an enormous amount of energy that overflows into its surroundings. It's pure, raw power, but since Mu Yi doesn't know how to cultivate, his body can't handle it. The energy is literally tearing him apart from the inside. A light bulb goes off in our girl's head. She can absorb this poison to save him and increase her own power. It's the perfect win-win situation. She tells Muxin to get everyone to stand back because she's about to start the healing process. Her chaos technique activates, and the ancient vine within her trembles with excitement for the feast of pure energy. A vortex of power erupts around her. The onlookers are completely stunned, wondering what realm of power this little girl has attained. The patient suddenly sits up, completely healed and bewildered. I've recovered, he stammers. But our girl isn't finished yet. Her body is still absorbing the massive amount of energy. Her eyes snap open, glowing with newfound power. Bam! A shockwave of energy explodes from her, knocking everyone back. She's done it. The energy was so pure she advanced 3 whole levels in one go, putting her just shy of reaching the next realm. Mu Ye immediately drops to his knees, thanking her for saving his life. But our girl is feeling savage. Don't thank me, she says with a grin. I helped myself more than I helped you. To prove she's not taking advantage, she tosses him a bag of 100 gold coins. He's so moved by her generosity and power that he immediately kowtows. He declares that his entire guild will now serve her for the rest of their lives. Our girl hadn't planned on picking up a whole mercenary group today, but she sees their loyalty. These guys have good character. They could become her trusted allies. She accepts their pledge and introduces herself as Ye Yan, the infamous useless bum of the Ye family. But they don't even flinch, they bow respectfully, addressing her as mistress. She's touched. They know her terrible reputation, but are still willing to follow her. She promises they won't regret it and pulls out an even bigger bag of gold from her dimensional storage.
Miu Ye tries to refuse, saying it's too much money. Nope, she says, it's an order. My subordinates need the best equipment.
She's pleased that he's not greedy. She even gives them a cultivation manual, a priceless treasure. Then she gives them their first mission: reach level 3 by the next time they meet. They are absolutely floored by her kindness. Giving away a cultivation technique like this is unheard of. She then asks for a brush and paper to share some of her modern world knowledge. She starts lecturing Mu Yi on proper management. She writes down concepts like an administration department, a human resources department. Mu Yi's mind is blown. He's never heard of these things, but he can already see how much easier it will make managing his team. Even her spirit master is confused. Where did she learn all this? It's like she's managed an army of 1 million people before. With her new guild set up, she finally heads back to the Yu residence. But the moment she walks through the door, a servant sneers. Look who's back, the useless bum. A butler arrogantly tells her the master is looking for her, his voice dripping with disdain. Our girl stops. Are you calling me a useless bum? She asks, her voice dangerously calm. The servant just smirks back, confirming it. Big mistake. A foot flashes out, and bam, she stomps the servant's face straight into the dirt. The servant sputters in shock. Our girl grabs her by the collar, a terrifyingly sweet smile on her face. My ears aren't working so well. Could you repeat that? The servant completely breaks, sobbing that she is the useless bum. Our girl then demands to know what's going on. The servant confesses that Ye Linglong accused her of stealing trophies, and now the whole family is gathered to publicly shame her. A wicked glint appears in our heroine's eyes. So Yu Linglong is dying to be slapped and exposed again? Very well. I shall grant her wish. Miss Yan is getting out of hand, stealing Linglong's battle trophies. The crowd cries. They're all worked up about how poor Linglong suffered for 2 months in the Black Snake Swamp just to have her cousin steal from her. The entire clan is baying for blood, demanding a harsh punishment for our girl. And Linglong, the actress of the century, starts with the waterworks. It's all my fault, she cries. I trusted her too easily. Her mother, Madame Chen, rushes to her side, fanning the flames and goading the family patriarch to seek justice. But Grandpa Yi isn't having it. He calmly states that he believes Yan would never do such a thing and demands a proper investigation. Our girl's poor mother tries to defend her, but she's so frail she's coughing up blood as she insists it's all a misunderstanding. Madame Chen gets right in her face, calling her a liar and shaming her for staying in the Ye residence after marrying. The verbal beatdown continues, reminding our girl's mom that without their charity she'd be dead on the streets. She even yells at the patriarch, accusing him of being too soft and letting them take advantage of his kindness. But just as the drama reaches its peak, a figure swooshes into the room. It's our girl Yan, and she has arrived to crash this pity party. She takes in the scene, realizing her cousin and aunt have already poisoned everyone against her. She's not worried though. With her grandpa and mother on her side, she's ready for this fight. One of the relatives immediately points a finger, screeching, "You dare to show up here? How could you steal from your sister?" It's Madame Chen, and she's not just screaming, she's a cultivator and she's coming in hot with a slap meant to kill. But our girl isn't the weakling she used to be. She dodges the attack with a grace that leaves her aunt stunned. Madame Chen is completely shook. Yan just smirks, her little spirit guide cheering her on. She's mastered her new swift steps, and this is just a warm-up. The aunt is sputtering, unable to form a coherent sentence, and then tries to save face by pretending to trip and fall. Our girl's expression flips in a second. "Oh dear, Aunt Chen, are you okay? Let me help you up," she says with a sickeningly sweet smile. The aunt grumbles but takes her hand, clearly planning something nasty. Yan thinks to herself, "I hate elders like this who pretend to be wise and then try to slap me. Just because I don't fight back doesn't mean I can't." And with a mighty heave, she absolutely launches the old bat across the room. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she says, feigning shock. "I used too much strength. It's really your fault for being so slim and light." The shade is absolutely savage, especially since her spirit guide notes the aunt is at least 50 kilos. Madame Chen's face cracks with pure, unadulterated rage. She decides she's done playing games and is going to end our girl right here and now. She powers up, unleashing a terrifying wave of energy. The onlookers gasp. It's the fire dragon palm. They're sure our girl is toast. Linglong watches with a twisted, triumphant smile. This is exactly what she wanted. Grandpa and Mom scream for her to stop, but the attack is already flying towards our girl. But look at our girl's face. Does she look scared to you? Not a single drop of sweat. The family thinks it's over for Yan, but she just smiles coolly. "Say, Aunt Chen, why does your arm look so flimsy?" And with that, she casually grabs the attacking wrist, stopping the deadly blow in its tracks. The aunt's mind is blown. Her level 4 Dragon Claws attack, blocked by this useless bum, and Yan looks so relaxed. Before she can even process it, our girl unleashes a slap of her own that echoes through the hall, sending her flying once again. Yan stands over her, schooling her on proper beatdown etiquette. "You have to be this harsh when you're beating someone. Got it?" The absolute audacity. The entire room is dead silent, jaws on the floor. And then, the realization dawns on them. She can cultivate now, and she's powerful. Grandpa rushes to her side, tears in his eyes. "My dear Yan, you're finally cultivating." Our girl tears up too, thinking of the decade of heartache she caused her family because she was unable to cultivate. But now, all their worries are gone. She can finally protect them. She promises her grandpa that she's no longer useless and will never bring shame to the family again. He pats her head, his heart swelling with pride. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, our girl feels the warmth of a family that truly cares, and realizes it's worth more than any corporate empire. Even her little spirit guide is sobbing. Linglong and her mother, however, look like they just swallowed a lemon. Linglong, desperate to regain control, screeches, "So what if you can cultivate? You stole from me and hurt my mother. You must be punished." She accuses Grandpa of favoritism, trying to turn the family against him. But our girl is 5 steps ahead. With a confident smirk, she declares she has the easiest way to prove her innocence. She gets right in Linglong's face. "You said I stole from you. Why would I need to?" Linglong sneers that our girl is a weakling who could only obtain treasures by stealing. "So what exactly did I steal?" Yan asks, laying the perfect trap. "The leaves of the 10,000-year snow fog bamboo," Linglong declares, thinking she's got her cornered. "Is that so?" Yan muses. "Everyone knows you just came back from the Black Snake Swamp. Are you saying you found the leaves there?" Linglong falls for it hook, line and sinker. "Of course, I spent 2 whole months there." And boom, the trap is sprung. Why would a snow fog bamboo be found in a swamp? The color drains from Linglong's face as she realizes her massive lie has been exposed. The crowd starts murmuring. "She's right, that makes no sense." Linglong's story is falling apart. She starts to panic, sputtering nonsense about how maybe there is one in the swamp. "Yeah, right?" Grandpa lays down the facts. Snow fog bamboo grows in places that snow year-round. A swamp is literally the opposite of that. He's had enough of her excuses. Linglong frantically tries to change her story, saying she took a detour, but it's too late, honey. No one's buying it. One of the relatives is still skeptical, arguing that Linglong is a genius and our girl is still a newbie, so how could she get the treasure? Linglong clings to her genius title for dear life, but our girl just smirks. Is that so? And then she unleashes her true power, a brilliant aura exploding around her. You say at level 9 it's impossible for me to get the leaves, but you, at a measly level 7, were able to. Check. Mate, the crowd erupts. Level 9? She's 2 whole levels higher than the so-called genius. Grandpa can feel the sheer power. There's no mistaking it. Our girl's power fills the entire hall, silencing all the doubters. The title of the Ye family's genius has officially been transferred. It's not Linglong anymore, it's Ye Yan. The queen has claimed her throne. Under the starry sky, our girl has a heart-to-heart with her mother, who praises her newfound genius in cultivation. Mom gets wistful, saying her father would have been so proud. Our girl immediately gets serious, asking what he was like, and cutting straight to the point. Did he abandon them? She declares that if he's just some deadbeat, she wants nothing to do with him. But her mother insists he was a hero who never did anything wrong, though she's being maddeningly vague about it. Instead of answers, she gives our girl a beautiful jade pendant that belonged to him, promising she'll learn more once she gets into the prestigious Zayon Academy. Our girl examines the pendant. It's made of extremely rare warm jade. The intricate carvings tell her one thing: her mysterious father was definitely someone important. Later that night, our heroine can't sleep, her mind buzzing with questions. She remembers the mystical egg she acquired and decides now is the time to check it out. Her little spirit companion says they'll need an ancient contract formation to hatch this bad boy. Our girl is all in, ready to learn some powerful ancient magic. She begins the chant, weaving a spell under the night sky. With the stars as her witness, she prepares to bind herself to the creature within. It's a contract for an everlasting companionship. She seals the pact with a drop of her own blood, and the egg begins to glow fiercely. The ancient contract formation is complete. A blinding light erupts from the egg, and out pops a tiny fluffy yellow bird. All that power and drama for a little sparrow that immediately imprints on her. Chirping, "Mama!" Our girl is absolutely mortified. She's a young pretty maiden, not a mother to a quail. The little fluff ball just snuggles up to her cheek, completely oblivious to her existential crisis. But she can't stay mad for long, it's just too cute and fluffy. The next morning, her mother is already teasing her about her new mystical beast. Our girl is dying of embarrassments. Just then, a steward arrives with a set of clothes, supposedly a special gift for the upcoming banquet. Our girl's eyes narrow. She asks if he works for her scheming Aunt Chen. The man stammers, admitting he just started working for her. She glances at the clothes, gaudy, tacky, and completely inappropriate. It's a classic setup to make her look foolish. She calls out the scheme, and the poor steward starts trembling. He stutters that he doesn't know anything. Our girl lays it all out for him, explaining how Aunt Chen is using him as a scapegoat. The steward, Zhao Ming, immediately sees the light, realizing he was about to be thrown under the bus. Our heroine offers him a way out, a chance to align with her. She's heading to the academy and needs allies to protect her mother from the vipers in this family. Overcome with gratitude, the steward pledges his undying loyalty right then and there. Her mother watches from the doorway, stunned and proud of her daughter's cunning. Our girl has secured her first piece on the chessboard. With a sly smile, she asks the steward, "Are you sure those clothes weren't meant for my cousin Linglong?" The steward's eyes widen as it all clicks into place. Of course, the flashy dress was for Aunt Chen's own daughter. He apologizes profusely and rushes off to deliver the gift to its rightful owner. Later, our girl arrives at the main hall looking like a celestial goddess. Her grandfather tells her that if she's accepted into the academy, her power will surpass even his own. She promises not to let him down. It's clear that the guest of honor is a very big deal. And speaking of disasters, her cousin Linglong is absolutely fuming, forced to wear the hideous red and green outfit. Our girl can't help but snigger at her perfectly executed plan. Linglong, completely oblivious, thinks her grand outfit will surely impress the masters. She fantasizes about getting accepted, and finally crushing our heroine. Oh, you sweet deluded summer child. Her own mother is horrified, and her grandfather is livid. He scolds Linglong, telling her the special guest, His Highness Prince Chen, despises anything so tacky and flamboyant. But it's too late. The prince has arrived. The whole family scrambles to greet the important guest, while Linglong and her mom try to become invisible. Our girl wonders who this prince could be to command such respect. But then the name hits her, Prince Chen, that Prince Chen. A terrible feeling washes over her. A figure steps into the hall. The man is ethereal, with long flowing white hair. As he walks into the light, our girl's blood runs cold. It's him, the man from the cave, the one she spent that chaotic night with, the father of her child. While her cousin is busy swooning over how handsome he is, our girl is having a full-blown panic attack. Her grandfather bows deeply to the visiting prince, apologizing for not welcoming him sooner, but the prince waves it off, saying he's here on behalf of the academy. Our girl, Yi Yan, watches from the side, completely unimpressed. She can already tell this guy is a total snob, acting all high and mighty with her grandpa. Suddenly, the prince's piercing gaze sweeps across the room. Yan's sister immediately gets flustered, thinking his attention is all for her. She coyly looks away, trying to act shy and desirable, but the prince's expression is pure ice. He is clearly not interested in her little act. The sister, meanwhile, is already plotting, thinking how disrespectful Yan looks compared to her proper greeting. She decides it's the perfect time to add some fuel to the fire. With a perfectly crafted worried expression, she starts making excuses for Yan, claiming her manners are lacking because her mother is ill. It's a masterclass in backhanded compliments. She then loudly demands that Yan kneel and admit her mistakes, all while secretly celebrating her own brilliant scheme. The prince, however, just stands there looking completely bored by the whole drama. He glances down, and a wicked little smirk appears on his face. He leans right into our girl's personal space and purrs. "Hey, we meet again." Our girl is totally flustered, stammering about what a coincidence it is. Her sister's jaw hits the floor. What? They know each other? Even Grandpa is startled by this sudden development. Yan is internally screaming, "Know each other? I'm in a marriage contract with him." The prince leans in even closer, teasing her. "Really? Do we just know each other?" He gets so close she can feel his breath, and the tension is electric. He then turns to her grandfather and starts laying on the praise thick, talking about how gifted and talented Yan is, and how quickly she's leveling up. He declares she's not just the Ye family's genius, but the genius of the entire city. Our girl has to admit, the guy might be annoying, but he's got a way with words. The jealous sister tries to console herself, thinking they can't be that close, but the evidence is literally right in front of her face. Later, a grand meal is served, brought in by a line of servants. Grandpa invites the prince to sit and discuss business, but the prince has other ideas. He casually mentions that he usually has someone waiting on him during meals. The sister immediately sees her chance, standing up and offering to serve him herself. It's her duty, she claims, as the daughter of the first wife, but the prince shuts her down with a look of pure disgust. "Could you not appear in front of me with that tacky outfit of yours? It's affecting my mood." The sister is absolutely crushed by the brutal rejection. She immediately switches to crocodile tears, claiming it's her only formal outfit and it's all her fault for annoying him. She twists and sobs, fully believing her pitiful act is irresistible. In her mind, no man can withstand her tears. Our girl, however, is so grossed out she can feel her hair standing on end. The prince takes a step forward, and the sister thinks she's won, but then he delivers the most savage line of the century. "You're already ugly, so what's with you crying about looking ugly?" Before she can even react, he grabs her by the head like a bowling ball. She's in absolute shock. Mortified, her father orders the guards to drag her away. The chaos is finally over. With the trash taken out, the prince turns his attention back to our girl. "That's much better. Why not let Miss Yan serve me?" Grandpa quickly ushers her forward. Yan is fuming. She's a modern-day CEO, not a servant. This bastard is courting death. Reluctantly, she sits down next to him. He immediately starts making demands, asking her to get him some chicken like he owns the place. She picks up a piece with her chopsticks, and he has the audacity to tell her to feed me. Oh, this man is testing her patience. She snaps her chopsticks in half, claiming she's never learned how to feed someone, but he's one step ahead, leaning in with a smirk. "Then I'll teach you," he whispers. "Remember to be gentle." Our girl imagines just punching him square in his handsome, annoying face. But for now, she'll play along. She puts on a sweet smile and feeds him the food. He chews slowly, his eyes locked on her, before murmuring, "You're delicious." He quickly adds that he meant the food, but the damage is done and our girl is not amused. Just as she's processing his shameless flirting, she feels something on her leg. It's his hand. He's rubbing her leg under the table. Her face flushes bright red. She looks up at him in shock, and he just gives her a smug, wicked little smile. Our girl is a blushing mess, stammering that Ji Swan Liu is just rubbing her legs. Wait, why is she the one getting all hot and bothered? This feeling is getting weirder and weirder, and she knows this has to stop. But hold up. The prince leans in and whispers for her to get her feet off of him right now. And our queen, in a moment of pure chaotic energy, whispers back a simple, dignified no. He threatens to shout and ruin her reputation if she doesn't stop. But then he gets that smug look on his face, reminding her they have a wedding document. So what's wrong with a husband teasing his wife? He even threatens to kiss her right there, claiming her grandfather wouldn't dare interfere. The absolute audacity of this man. Our girl is completely flustered, realizing she's totally powerless against his shameless tactics. But then, bingo, an idea strikes. She quickly changes the subject, offering a toast to the Prince of Sunrise. He looks intrigued by her sudden change of heart and agrees. Without a second's hesitation, she downs the entire cup in one go. Whoa, that hits hard. She immediately complains that the wine is super intense. Playing the part perfectly, she pretends to be dizzy and asks to be excused so she can rest. Her grandpa looks genuinely concerned, but the prince, he's got a smirk that says, "I know you're faking." He lets her go anyway, and she practically teleports out of there. He's left speechless, but that little smile tells us he's enjoying this little game of theirs. Finally reaching the safety of the rear courtyard, she breathes a sigh of relief. She's busy plotting her revenge when she suddenly senses that somebody is nearby. She turns around and it's King Yoon. But before she can even process it, he launches a surprise attack. Our girl, ever the composed queen, doesn't even flinch. She throws up a defensive barrier just in the nick of time. The attack slams into her shield with a massive bam. The two energy blasts collide in a flash of red and blue light. King Yoon backs off, stabilizing his footing. He looks up, not with malice, but with surprise and a hint of a smile. She demands to know why he attacked her, and he explains he just came out of seclusion and heard rumors that she could cultivate now. He'd heard she was already at level 9 spy Karen, while the soldiers downstairs wondered how the tower prison's iron bars had disappeared, and while he hoped it was true, he just couldn't resist testing her himself. She just smoothly plays it off, knowing he was just worried about her. But then he grabs her, looking dejected, saying that now she's so strong she won't need his protection anymore. She gently pulls away, telling him she can protect herself now, but that he'll always be like an older brother to her. Ouch, the brother zone. He's not giving up though, muttering to himself that she'll need him more than ever at the dangerous academy. He knows he needs to get stronger to protect her. He tells her he's going back into seclusion and will see her after her assessment. Our girl watches him go, thinking he's stubborn, but also a total genius for being so strong at only 16. A prodigy for sure. Suddenly, a silky voice cuts through her thoughts. Caught your eyes? She whips around, shocked to find the prince standing right behind her. How did he get out here so fast? He stalks towards her, a dangerous glint in his eye, asking if she's unhappy he came out early. He gets right in her personal space, his face dark with jealousy. Who is he? He demands. She backs away nervously, trying to explain, but she's literally backed into a corner. She's fuming internally. Why should she have to explain anything to this jerk? The prince is clearly upset and not taking no for an answer. He looms over her, the air crackling with tension. He leans in even closer, trapping her completely. And then, he just goes for it, shutting her up with a savage kiss. And just as she's trying to process everything, the Prince of Sunrise closes the distance between them. He presses his lips against hers, and our girl is absolutely fuming. This jerk is kissing her in public, where anyone from the Yi family could see them at any moment. He finally pulls back, his eyes burning with jealousy, as he asks what's so great about Yi King Yoon. He goes on a whole rant about how he's 1,000 times better looking and stronger. A classic chaotic male lead move, and when she doesn't answer, he just forces another kiss on her. Our girl is left breathless when he finally lets go. She shoves him, completely flushed and panting, calling him a jerk. She demands to know if he's crazy, but he just gets that possessive glint in his eye, reminding her that she belongs to him now. He pulls her closer, threatening her with his arsenal of punishments, but she snaps back, asking when she ever thought of other men. You're the only one who's in my— But he grabs her chin, and she freezes, realizing she was about to confess. Oh no, our poor girl almost let her real feelings slip. But it's too late. He heard her thoughts and smirks, teasingly asking if she wants to think about him. He pinches her cheeks and she is just mortified. He's completely satisfied with her near confession and says he'll forgive her this time. Our girl has had enough of this emotional roller coaster and shoves him away, telling him to get lost. He just gives her one last infuriatingly handsome smile. He holds her for a brief moment before vanishing into a shower of magical butterflies. Left alone, she finally lets out her frustration, wondering why she ever got involved with a jerk like him. Later, back in her courtyard, she's trying to focus on other things. Her attendant informs her that the details for the Chaeyon Academy selection have been announced, but there's a twist this year. The Reluo Academy from the Dayu dynasty will also be recruiting students. Our girl is confused, wondering why an academy from another dynasty would be here. Her attendant explains the grim reality of the beast tide, a massive swarm of demonic beasts that threatens humanity every 500 years. It's a calamity of epic proportions. To prepare, the two dynasties have decided to recruit and train their new students together. This new information shocks our girl, who asks if the beast tide is coming soon. The woman reveals it was supposed to happen 14 years ago but was mysteriously delayed, and no one knows when it will strike. This is the first our heroine has ever heard of this impending doom. The constant threat is why the two dynasties are strengthening their forces together. Our girl then asks what makes the two academies different. Chaoyun Academy is the traditional route, focusing on martial arts and cultivation, but Relua Academy specializes in the fun stuff. Poisons, talismans, puppetry, and summons. Her little chibi master pops into her head, insisting that Reluo is the perfect place for her unique talents. Our girl agrees. A more flexible and strategic method of fighting is exactly what she wants. Later that night, she contemplates her decision. She remembers that her personal tormentor, Zhuanjiliu, is from the Chaoyun Academy, which makes sense since he's the prince of the Dayu dynasty. A brilliant idea sparks in her mind. If she goes to the Reluo Academy, she won't have to see that insufferable jerk ever again. It's a win-win. 10 days later, the day of the preliminary match arrives. A massive arena is filled with hundreds of hopeful young cultivators. An announcer kicks things off, explaining that both academies are here to find the best new recruits. The rules are laid out by an elder. You must be under 20 and below the predestined realm to participate. And the first round? A chaotic free-for-all battle royale. He warns everyone not to go overboard. The last 10 standing move on to the finals, where the top 5 will be qualified to enter either academy. Our girl is ready for this. She glances up at the VIP seats and spots one Jalil looking all stoic and prince. She grumbles to herself, wondering why he's such a jerk to her, but acts so prim and proper in public. He's too good at pretending. A snotty girl next to her asks why she brought a tiny useless bird to a fight. Yiyan calmly explains that her contracted beast needs to get used to the atmosphere of combat. With all the pleasantries out of the way, the elder officially begins the match. Up in the stands, a new pretty boy with a fan teases Swan Jaleo, saying he's never seen him so interested in a simple recruitment before. The prince smirks, replying that he's not here for the event, but for a belle. The fan-wielding man clutches his chest in mock despair. If you like girls, I'll be sad, he jokes. This man, Quang realizes that any girl who can catch the prince's eye must be a true prodigy. He then reveals his own intentions. As an instructor from Merluo Academy, he's here to snatch that prodigy for himself. The prince just smirks, his eyes fixed on the arena below. Prodigy, huh? He muses, watching our girl. She truly is. Down below, the battle has begun, but not for our heroine. Word has spread about Yeon, the level 9 body refining ace, and everyone is terrified of her. The other contestants literally back away, creating a circle of safety around her. She sighs, finding this whole thing rather boring. Just as she's thinking no one will ever attack her, a familiar, annoying voice pipes up. It's Yu Linglong, and she's here to ruin the party. Our girl smirks, glad for some entertainment. Yu Linglong sneers, her face twisted with jealousy and rage. She mocks our girl, saying it's a shame such a genius is about to be defeated by her, and die in this very ring. She taunts her, asking her to guess how she'll manage it. But our girl is unfazed. She calmly lays out Linglong's pathetic plan. Since she's too weak to fight one-on-one, she's obviously going to use a mob to overwhelm her. Linglong is shocked but impressed by her intelligence. She waves her hand, and a group of warriors appears, all level 7 fighters from her mother's family. They surround our girl as Linglong cackles, explaining her master plan to have one of them accidentally kill her during the chaos. With a savage grin, she declares that she will be the one to inherit the title of the Ye family's young prodigy. Our girl turns the tables, a smug grin on her face as she asks Linglong a question of her own. Go on, take a wild guess how I found out about your little plan. Lin Linglong is absolutely shook, while her lackey stammers that it must have been a random guess. Oh honey, it's not luck, it's preparations. Our girl reveals her masterstroke. It's because I hired lackeys of my own. She explains she's been secretly leveling up a whole crew for the past 10 days, all to get them into the academy. She used the arena's biggest loophole to her advantage. As long as her party has the last 10 people standing, they win it. With a clap of her hands, an entire army appears behind her. Linglong's jaw hits the floor. Where did you find so many people? Our girl just scoffs. Do I need to report my recruiting activities to you? The sass is immaculate. Linglong scans the crowd, trying to find a weakness, and she thinks she's found it, bursting into laughter. You almost scared me. These lackeys are just level 3 weaklings. She boasts that she can take them all on by herself. But our girl just gives a sly, is that so? She then tosses a bunch of thick coats to her team. Put these on, keep yourselves warm. Linglong's sidekick is cackling. Are you insane? It's summer. Are you trying to cook your own people? But her team doesn't question it for a second. Milady, we're ready. Even sweating buckets, they put on the jackets without hesitation. Our girl's heart melts a little. Loyal subordinates are truly hard to come by. Linglong's crew just mocks them, calling them fools. Look at them, they look like bears. My mouth is cramping from laughing so hard. That's their cue. Our girl unleashes a divine rank technique, Sword of Frost. Second style, Linglong is instantly silenced by the chilling murderous aura radiating from the sword. Her team panics. It's summer, but it's snowing? They realize with horror that it's an area of effect attack. The entire arena is blasted with a blizzard, instantly freezing the low-level enemies and slowing everyone else down. Everyone starts shivering uncontrollably. Cursed, it's so cold. And now the jackets make perfect sense. Our girl points forward. Go behind you, Linglong, and toss those smugs out of the ring. Her loyal and very warm subordinates charge. Up in the stands, a certain horned gentleman is very intrigued. He's impressed that a mere level 9 can master such a complex area attack. He makes up his mind right then and there. This girl has to join the Merluo Academy. She's mine, but not so fast. Another handsome spectator with silver hair chimes in. Looks like this is the prodigy you care about, Swan Jiliu. The horned man smirks. Now that she has my attention, I will absolutely contest you for her. But Swan Jiliu drops the ultimate bomb. She's my girl. The horned man is absolutely speechless. Back in the frozen arena, bodies are flying everywhere as Linglong's team gets tossed out like yesterday's trash. Linglong is absolutely fuming, screaming that her people are useless fools. Her last remaining teammate points out they're the only 2 left. But our girl's team is gone too. Linglong swears she'll get her revenge in the finals. Our girl calmly informs her that with only 11 people left in the arena, she just has to throw Linglong out to secure the final 10 spots. I'm afraid you won't have a chance to compete in the finals, she says with a devastatingly sweet smile. Linglong just grins evilly. Well then, you are wrong. In a shocking twist, her own teammate turns on her. Linglong, but why? The blonde girl with the bow shoves her own partner off the platform. He falls into the abyss, betrayed by the one he trusted, and her reasoning is pure chaotic evil. You can't beat Eon anyway, so why not let me have that spot in the finals? She then has the audacity to promise her fallen comrade that she'll make him proud at the academy. Our girl is disgusted, calling her a manipulative witch, and with that, the round ends. The 10 remaining people are decided. The elder announces that the final 10 will proceed to the next round. He sighs, deeply disappointed that someone as underhanded as Ye Linglong managed to advance. Suddenly, the horned man, young Master Qianhuo, teleports into the arena, praising Linglong's ruthlessness. Linglong immediately recognizes him as one of the top 3 alchemists on the entire continent. She quickly puts on a sweet face and introduces herself, paying her respect. He lands gracefully before the 2 remaining girls. I felt like taking on a disciple today, he announces, offering a legendary book. Which one of you would like me to become your mentor? I'll give you this Beginnings of Alchemy as a welcome gift. He holds up the priceless artifact, and the crowd goes wild. But it's all a ploy. He telepathically tells Zhuan Jiliu that he just wants to watch the 2 girls fight over the spot. He plans to give the book to the gullible Linglong, and then just take it back later. What a schemer. Zhuan Jiliu just smirks, thinking to himself that our girl isn't nearly as gullible as Qianhuo thinks. Linglong and our girl's spirit master are both losing their minds over the legendary book. Our girl is confused. Master, why is everyone so crazy about this book? Her master is practically vibrating with excitement, explaining it's a legendary text he's been trying to get for ages. Countless experts have died for that book, he yells. Quick, greet him as your master. Let's just get our hands on it first. Ye Linglong throws herself at Qianhuo's feet, begging to become his disciple. She's absolutely desperate, thinking this is her one chance to get the legendary Beginnings of Alchemy book. She dramatically slams her head on the ground, proclaiming that this is her ticket to fame and glory. In her mind, our girl Yan will be nothing more than an ant beneath her feet, and the master smugly accepts her plea. But wait, there's a mix-up. He calls the groveling blonde Yan, and then turns to our actual heroine, asking who she is. He then offers her a spot as his disciple too, dangling the precious alchemy book like a carrot on a stick. Our girl is immediately suspicious. This guy is holding onto that book for dear life, which is a weird way to offer a gift. She scoffs internally. This is just low-level hunger marketing, and she's seen it all before in her past life. Besides, she has her own plans, and they don't involve whatever academy this guy is from. She panics for a second, realizing it's not him she dislikes. It's the thought of being anywhere near that jerk. Zhuan Jiliu, the master struts up to her, assuming her silence is awe for his amazing book. Our girl plays along, admitting she's definitely interested in that book and wouldn't want to miss out. Getting impatient, he asks her one more time if she wants to be his disciple. And then our girl drops a bomb. Why should I do that? She asks coolly, adding that she's seen copies of this supposedly rare book sold all over the streets. She dismisses it as nothing precious. The master is absolutely scandalized. Nonsense, he sputters, claiming this book is a one-of-a-kind treasure from Luori Academy. He accuses her of being scammed by a fake, but our girl stands her ground. Dead serious. She tells him a story about a book vendor who sold hundreds of copies just a few months ago. He tries to argue it's just a coincidence, but she shoots him down, saying even the cover was identical. She even claims to have borrowed a copy and can prove it if he lets her see his book. He's starting to sweat. The possibility of his sacred text being mass-produced is just too much to handle. Deciding he has nothing to lose, he agrees to let her check. This is a serious problem, and he needs to get to the bottom of it. He hands over the book, and our girl puts on her most innocent face, assuring him she's too weak to pull any tricks. She even calls herself an upright and obedient girl who never tells lies. The little guy in the background is not buying it for a second. It's time for our girl to unleash her ultimate skill from her past life as a CEO. Super memory. All those years of managing accounts and bills gave her a photographic memory, and she's about to use it. She blitzes through the book, information flooding her mind in a golden aura. In a flash, her eyes snap open. She's memorized everything, confirming it's the same book she read before. With a confident wink, she hands it back, offering to recite a passage about quenching alchemy. The master scoffs, daring her to try. So she does. She begins flawlessly reciting the complex alchemical process. He's completely stunned. The recipe is thousands of characters long, and she's getting every word right. He panics, wondering if the book was actually stolen and copied. He tries to dismiss it as a fluke, but she's not done. Nope, she says. I remember the second page too, and starts reciting the recipe for ice cloud alchemy. The master physically recoils in shock. As she continues listing off more recipes, the blonde girl starts to have a full-blown meltdown. He finally screams for her to stop. He's shaking, pointing a finger at her, completely rattled. The only explanation is that Luori Academy has a traitor. But even that doesn't feel right. He remembers the book she described was slightly different. Our girl confirms it, saying she also noticed some differences and asks to see the book again. She suggests she can pinpoint exactly what's different between the two versions. Desperate for answers, he shoves the book back into her hands, telling her to get to work. Elsewhere, a certain prince who was enjoying some tea suddenly spits it out in a dramatic spray. He quickly tries to play it cool, but his attendant knows something is very, very wrong. Our girl stands in the center of the massive arena, ready for a showdown. She begins flipping through the ancient book at lightning speed, her expression one of intense focus. Her master frets telepathically, but she's determined, explaining that even with her super memory, absorbing an entire book of alchemy is no small feat. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and she's not about to let this precious knowledge slip through her fingers. The sleazy Master Qianhuo anxiously watches our heroine, who's now sweating bullets from the mental strain. Looking completely drained, she finally closes the book and hands it back to him. He's utterly bewildered, questioning how she could be so weak after just flipping through some pages. But then, a horrifying realization dawns on him and the jealous blonde girl watching from the sidelines. That's right, genius. She wasn't just flipping pages, she was memorizing the entire thing. The blonde girl absolutely loses it, realizing they've been completely played. Our girl, with her perfect memory, just downloaded the entire alchemy Bible into her brain. She sees this, calling Yian cunning and trembling at how powerful she's becoming. Just yesterday, our girl was a weak nobody, and now she's pulling off moves like this? The glow-up is real, and the haters are terrified. Enraged at being outsmarted, Qianhuo explodes, accusing her of trying to steal the academy's treasure and launching a full-blown attack. He summons a vortex of pure fire, screaming that he's going to turn her into ashes. The inferno rushes towards our girl. The heat so intense she's completely paralyzed. She can't move a single muscle as the flames are about to consume her. But just in the nick of time, a shield of brilliant blue energy materializes out of nowhere. It's our favorite silver-haired hottie, Liu, who effortlessly dissipates the attack. Standing protectively in front of our girl, he gives Qianhuo a look of pure disdain, casually asking if it's common practice for mentors to attack their students. Qianhuo is absolutely fuming, screaming at him to get out of the way so he can kill the lass who dared to covet their treasure. Liu hits him with a savage comeback, pointing out that basically everyone wants the book, so is he planning on killing the entire continent too? The guy is so stunned he can't even form a sentence. Our girl then delivers the final blow, sweetly pointing out that she already gave the book back to him. He just stammers, completely speechless. She lays on the fake innocence thick, asking what exactly she did wrong since he gave her the book. She read it, and she returned it. Check and mate. Qianhuo is about to have an aneurysm from pure rage. He stomps his foot so hard the entire ground cracks beneath him. Defeated, he vows revenge and then, in a chaotic move, turns to the useless blonde and asks her to be his disciple. Of course, the girl is thrilled to team up with another villain. She cackles with glee, accepting his offer immediately. The blonde is practically drooling at the thought of getting her hands on the alchemy book. But her new master has a condition. She has to defeat our girl in the finals in 10 days. If she fails, she can kiss that book goodbye. She panics, pointing out that she's a whole level weaker than Yia. He just scoffs, boasting that as a top alchemist, he can pump her full of elixirs. With his help, he claims, even a pig could defeat Yayan. What a charmer. She, however, is absolutely thrilled by this vote of confidence. Our girl and her spirit can only watch this dumpster fire, with her spirit commenting on how wild it is to see someone so excited to be compared to a pig. With the trash having taken itself out, she turns and pokes her savior. She genuinely thanks Liu for saving her life. He gets impossibly close, dropping the smoothest line ever. "You're my woman. How could I allow anyone to hurt you?" And just when our hearts are about to explode, he says he has a reward for her. He presents her with a stunning, glowing blue cauldron. He then goes on a bizarre tangent, saying he noticed she hasn't looked at any other man since meeting him. His chaotic conclusion? She must like him, so obviously she deserves a reward. Our girl is absolutely baffled by his logic, thinking he never says anything normal. She then tries to remember what the other guy even looked like, and comes up completely blank. She's a blushing, confused mess, demanding to know what this cauldron is. She declares she won't accept it unless he tells her. He just smirks, revealing it's a 9 days divine cauldron, an ancient treasure. Apparently, it's a legendary item that dramatically increases the chances of successfully creating an elixir. She's stunned, asking why he would give such a precious item to her. She tries to refuse, saying she's not related to him and can't accept it. He just gives her this soft, helpless look. He then cleverly reframes the offer, telling her to think of it as a loan. Once she learns alchemy, she can just pay him back with some elixir pills as a rental fee. She heads back to her quarters, having finally figured out a crucial step from the book she memorized. Deciding to give it a shot, she throws the divine cauldron into the air. "Today I shall give it a try," she declares with a confident smirk. The cauldron erupts in a massive burst of spiritual flame. She summons all the necessary ingredients with a wave of her hand. With a determined look, she begins her very first alchemy session. After 20 long hours of intense focus, our girl is finally ready to see the fruits of her labor. With a final command, she merges the potent ingredients inside the furnace. The entire contraption begins to shake violently as a powerful seal forms around it, and with a triumphant smile, she knows her work is finally done. Her tiny master appears, absolutely losing his mind with pride. Not only did she succeed on her first try, but she made over 50 vital energy-gathering elixir pills. He explains that these pills are incredibly precious, each one capable of massively increasing a cultivator's power. Seeing so many, our girl gets a chaotic idea. She decides to pop 10 of them right now just to see what happens. Her master absolutely freaks out, screaming that they're priceless elixirs, not a handful of candy. But it's too late. She immediately feels a potent wave of spiritual energy gathering towards her. The power surge is so intense it starts blasting out of the room. Her followers outside are completely baffled. Did the chief just level up again? They can't believe it's possible. She's already at level 9, and leveling up again would mean she's reached the legendary predestined realm. They argue that it's impossible for a 14-year-old to achieve such a feat. And right on cue, our girl steps out to prove them all wrong. Her followers immediately greet their chief, bowing down in absolute reverence. One of them, Mui, notices she seems different and dares to ask if she's actually reached the predestined realm. Without a word, she unleashes her new, overwhelming aura, and the answer is clear. Her people are floored. A 14-year-old in the predestined realm? They are beyond lucky to have her as their leader. Our girl just smirks, telling them it was all thanks to her new elixir pills. Then, in a total boss move, she tosses a bottle to Mai, telling him to take one since they're useless to her now. Mai is in shock. These are the legendary pills that can instantly boost a person's power. He tries to refuse, saying it's far too precious for him to accept, but our girl is not taking no for an answer. He quickly obeys her command and takes the pill without another word. The effect is instantaneous. He levels up on the spot, reaching level 6 of the body-quenching realm. Overcome with gratitude, he swears an unbreakable oath of loyalty to her for all of eternity. The other girls look on, green with envy. Seeing their expressions, our girl coolly asks if they'd like some as well. Of course, they all scream yes at the top of their lungs. With her followers' loyalty secured, she officially establishes the Night Quarter's mercenary group. She names Miai and his sister Muxin as her deputy leaders and lays down the law. Don't cause trouble, but show no mercy to enemies. And her final most important rule, betrayal, will be dealt with severely. She's decided to turn her followers into a legitimate and powerful force to be reckoned with. As she stands before them, a true queen, they all swear their undying allegiance. Her master pops up, impressed with her perfect mix of kindness and intimidation. She then hands the remaining 40 pills to Muxin, telling her to use them to reward and recruit new talented members. Muxin can't even comprehend the value of what she's holding, but our girl just smiles, casually telling her to just ask if she needs more. This simple act of trust is too much for Muxin, who bursts into tears. She sobs that after years of struggling, she never imagined someone would show them such kindness and trust. Our heroine just sighs, completely unfazed by the girl's emotional breakdown. 10 days fly by, and it's finally time for the big showdown in the arena. Up in the stands, a handsome silver-haired man sips his tea, while his subordinate sneers, excited to see his woman get destroyed. But the silver-haired man warns him not to underestimate our girl, because she's full of surprises. The subordinate scoffs, revealing he personally helped her opponent, Ye Linglong, power up to level 3 of the predestined realm. The man just smirks, content to wait and see what happens. Down in the arena, the two rivals finally face off. Linglong mocks our girl, admitting she's surprised she reached the predestined realm, but gloating that she's already at level 3. But our girl claps back with a savage burn, saying young Master Kinwo is clearly good at raising pigs. Enraged, Linglong screams at her, smugly asking if she really thinks she has a chance to win against her superior level. Our heroine remains completely cool, retorting that she has plenty of ways to deal with a pig like her. Her master warns her that Linglong was probably given powerful elixirs, but our girl grins, revealing she's got her own secret moves ready to go. Linglong lunges forward, screaming for our girl to go to hell. She unleashes a vicious whip attack, striking with incredible force. Our girl gracefully dodges every single strike. Linglong is definitely faster and stronger now, but it's not enough. Our girl whips out her own weapon, unleashing her glacial heavenly sword's first move. A devastating ice-coagulating cut shoots across the arena, instantly fogging up the entire stage. With a freezing blast, that cut definitely landed. As the mist clears, her master points in shock. Linglong's whip is glowing with a sinister red energy, and she's enveloped in a protective barrier of fire, completely unharmed. The Fox Master gloats, revealing he's been feeding his disciple flame elixirs for 10 days straight. He admits it's a waste, but if it gets him revenge, it's all worth it. He can see the flames are protecting our girl, but he knows she hasn't fully mastered them. The burns covering her body are clear evidence of that, and his disciple Linglong goes in for the kill. Cackling like a maniac, she unleashes a torrent of her own flames, looking absolutely unhinged. But her chaotic attack slams uselessly against our girl's magic shield. The shield begins to crack under the strain. The little spirit starts panicking, telling her she needs to stop this now, or she'll be in serious danger. But our girl just smirks, completely unfazed. It's my turn to attack now, she says, pulling out a brand new toy. It's the monochrome rainbow crossbow and mystical feather, a weapon so legendary it once wiped out an entire guild. Linglong scoffs, asking where she found that little toy, but her master is having a full-blown panic attack, screaming that it's the real deal. Our heroine just gives her a smug little grin, ready to end this. The fox master screams at his disciple to get out of there immediately, but Linglong is just confused, asking what he means. It's too late. A massive explosion rocks the entire arena. Our girl casually blows the smoke from the tip of her crossbow. She even jokes that her shooting lessons in Hawaii paid off, while her little spirit swoons over how cool she looks. Linglong is on the ground, foaming at the mouth and completely broken, unable to believe what just happened. She tries to speak but can't get the words out, and then she just passes out cold, defeated. Her master is absolutely furious, wondering why he ever accepted this useless moron as his disciple. Our girl just sighs, disappointed that her opponent was so weak she didn't even need to use her contracted beast. A tiny yellow bird chirps on her finger, and one of the old men in the stands just scoffs, thinking it's a normal bird. But Prince Chen's eyes narrow. He knows that this so-called princess consort of his is no ordinary woman. He takes a slow, calculating sip of his tea, a smirk playing on his lips. The final match has officially ended, and the announcer declares Yan the winner. With the competition over, our girl prepares to leave the city. A magnificent golden ship awaits her. She's off to Zayun Academy to continue her training. With her mother safe and sound under the protection of the night quarters, she can finally leave with peace of mind. She reflects on her brothers, who also got into the academy and have become quite popular with the girls. As she's thinking, the academy's massive flying ship swoops in from the sky. Even though Linglong lost, she was still accepted into the academy thanks to some young master. So our girl knows she needs to stay on her guard. The cloud flying ship has arrived to gather all the new students. Our girl is completely stunned by its size, thinking it's bigger than an aircraft carrier from her world. She stares in awe at the floating behemoth, marveling at the magic of this fantasy world. But as she looks around, her eyes lock onto a familiar figure. The other girls are all swooning over a man at the bow of the ship. It's His Highness Prince Chen, and apparently he's also a mentor at the academy. He stands there, looking as cold and handsome as ever, while the fangirls lose their minds dreaming of marrying him. Our girl, however, is not impressed, muttering that he's just an attention seeker, and she hopes the wind blows him over, but then she freezes, a strange feeling bubbling up inside her. Why is she so angry? It feels like someone is eyeing her husband. She immediately shakes her head, trying to banish the embarrassing thought, but it's too late. Another girl confronts her, demanding she apologize to the prince for cursing him. Our girl just lets out a little ha. She turns and delivers a savage clapback, asking what business it is of this little girl. Prince Chen is her business, and he didn't seem to have a problem with it, so why should she? The girl is left sputtering, totally speechless. Just then, a figure lands right between them with a soft thud. It's the prince himself, and he wants to know what's going on here. The poor girl looks totally flustered, trying to explain herself to the prince. She puts on her best damsel in distress face, saying, "Your Highness, it's nothing serious." She launches into her sob story, claiming our girl insulted her, and she's just not as well spoken to defend herself. The crocodile tears are flowing. Inside, she's cackling, thinking the prince will definitely feel sorry for her, and she'll get to see our heroine get put in her place. But our girl sees right through this Oscar-worthy performance. What a high-level schemer. The prince, however, looks completely over it. "Oh, is that so?" he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. The fake victim doubles down, pleading, "But your highness, please don't punish her. I'm sure she didn't do it on purpose," she cries, while secretly thinking, "You are so doomed." That's the last straw for the prince. His eyes narrow with pure rage as he roars, "Scram to the side." The man is absolutely livid. The scheming girl is in total shock, realizing he's actually angry at her. Before she can even finish her sentence, a massive wave of power blasts her off her feet. She and her little minions go flying across the deck. The crowd gasps as they watch her get publicly humiliated. So much for that pity party. Fuming, the girl glares from the ground, blaming our heroine for everything. She swears she'll get her revenge once they're at the academy. Our girl's spirit master pops up, calling the girl out as another White Lotus, but our heroine just scoffs. She's not afraid of some spoiled brat. The prince then turns his attention to our girl, asking why she didn't come find him when she got on the ship. She gives him a sassy comeback. "Why would I? I'm a busy woman." He actually smiles at her response and tells her he has things to do but gives her a scroll so she won't get lost. He gently shoves it into her hands, and she's surprised, thinking he's actually being kind of considerate. 2 hours later, the massive ship finally lands. The sight that greets them is absolutely breathtaking. It's the famous Zayun Academy, a series of magnificent buildings floating in the sky. Our girl's eyes sparkle with wonder. It looks just like an immortal paradise. As soon as she steps off, a young man approaches her with a friendly greeting. He introduces himself as Huo Qingfeng, a senior at the academy. He then makes a wild offer, a premium room for 100,000 gold coins. Our girl balks at the price. That's a little steep, but the promise of peace and quiet is too appealing to pass up, so she agrees. He smiles and tells her to follow him. They walk along a beautiful path, surrounded by lush scenery. He leads her to a stunning building called the Fake Shui Pavilion. "Keys for the money," he says with a grin. Our girl cheekily asks for a brush and paper, and he immediately panics, thinking she's about to write him an IOU. He flatly refuses, but she just smirks and says it's for a receipt. But she's not writing a receipt. She hands him a perfectly replicated map of the entire academy, telling him he can sell copies to new students and make a fortune. She reveals that she memorized the entire map from the scroll the prince gave her. What a photographic memory. She figures it's a fair trade to use his gift to pay for her rent. A small part of her feels bad selling a gift, but a girl's gotta pay the bills. Her little spirit master is bursting with pride. His disciple is a genius. Huo Qingfeng is absolutely floored. The map is flawless, and the idea to sell it is brilliant. This girl is a business prodigy, completely impressed. He hands over the key and his personal name card, offering his services for any future business ventures. Our girl takes the card, already thinking this guy has potential. She might just hire him. With business handled, she heads into her new pavilion. But she walks right into some drama. A girl is bullying another girl who's crying over a broken teddy bear. The poor girl sobs that her mother made the bear for her so she wouldn't feel homesick. Her friend tries to comfort her, promising to stitch it up. But the bully, a princess no less, just scoffs, calling her shameful for crying over a doll. Our girl can't believe it. She just got here and there's already a mean girl to deal with. Time to teach someone a lesson. Her spirit master is all for it, cheering her on. She steps forward, her eyes blazing, and demands, "Apologize to her now." The princess is outraged. "Who do you think you are? I'm a princess." The other girl's friend whispers a warning, saying the princess is a powerful expert they can't afford to offend. The princess's ego inflates even more. "That's right. Are you scared now? Kneel down." She smugly waits for them to grovel at her feet. But our girl just gives her a wicked, chilling smile. With a loud crack of her knuckles, she grins. "Funny. I'm an expert at getting people like you in line." And in a flash, she grabs the princess's wrist, ready to deliver some much-needed karma. Princess Mingyu is absolutely livid that our girl dares to lay a hand on her. She tries to flex her spiritual power, but it's no use. The princess can't believe it. She hasn't even fully released her powers yet. She thinks that since they're both at the same level, our girl should be suppressed. But Yeon is built different, and she simply demands an apology. With a sickening crack, our girl tightens her grip, proving who's really in charge here. The princess is shook. How is this nobody suppressing her powers? She quickly caves and whimpers out an apology. Yeon releases her, looking down with stone-cold eyes. The princess asks for her name, trembling. Our girl introduces herself as Yeon and delivers a savage warning. "If I see you bullying someone again, I'll break all 10 of your fingers." Princess Mingyu sees this internally, vowing that this humiliation won't be forgotten. But that's not good enough for our girl. The first apology wasn't sincere, so the princess is forced to give a proper, humiliating apology. The little blonde girl is flustered, saying it's no big deal. But inside, she's totally fangirling over her new badass dorm mate. Even the quiet blue-haired roommate is impressed by this powerful newcomer. She compares herself to Yayan, feeling a little insecure. With the trash taken care of, our girl formally introduces herself to her new dorm mates. The blonde girl introduces herself as Zhu Hongling, and the blue-haired girl is Jang Sexin. They immediately hit it off, becoming fast friends. Of course, the salty princess is left stewing in the corner, feeling totally excluded. She calls them disgusting and storms off. Good riddance. Just then, a tiny little fluff ball swoops in, chirping for its mama. The girls absolutely melt at the sight of her adorable pet. It's so fluffy and cute they can't handle it, but our girl is worried. The little birds are climbing all over her because they're hungry. Apparently, this little guy is an extremely picky eater and has refused all normal food. Yan panics, wondering if she has to go catch bugs for it. But Hongling has an idea, mentioning that her brother's pet started eating something special as it grew up. She remembers he fed them some special elixirs. Our girl realizes she has elixirs, but they're made for humans, not tiny birds. She decides a trip to the Academy's alchemy hall is in order. Suxin points out that Hongling knows the area well and can lead the way. Hongling is practically bouncing with excitement, ready to go immediately. Yan can tell she just wants to play with the bird, but she agrees to let her lead. And with a cheer, they're off to the alchemy hall. They arrive at the grand building, ready to find some pet-friendly snacks. But as soon as the doors creak open, they're met by a grumpy-looking dude who immediately shuts them down. "We don't have any elixirs. Go away." Hongling tries to explain they want to trade their own elixirs for something suitable for animals. But the guy doubles down, rudely yelling that they don't have anything for them. He goes on a whole tirade about how much effort it takes to make high-quality elixirs. But really, this power-tripping butler just enjoys being a jerk to new students. He shoos them away, leaving poor Hongling looking defeated. The commotion outside attracts some attention. A senior disciple named Fang Shuiyan emerges to see what's going on. Her eyes immediately lock onto the adorable little bird. With a smirk, she offers them a deal. She'll give them the elixir they want in exchange for the pet. Her cronies start hyping her up, explaining she's a super talented trainee disciple who can already make her own elixirs. The rude butler adds that it's their honor that a genius like her even wants the pet. Shuyan sweetens the deal, offering a vital energy-gathering elixir for the little bird. The crowd gasps. That's an elixir that can increase your powers. They can't believe it, thinking it's a legendary trade for a regular pet. They start whispering about how our girl should be kneeling in gratitude for such an offer. But our girl is having a telepathic chat with her master, who is absolutely disgusted by this arrogant disciple. He gives her the green light. Please teach her a lesson, my dear disciple. And with a wicked glint in her eye, our girl replies, sure, master. Our girl coolly asks if they really want to trade her precious pet for some vital energy gathering elixirs. Because, fun fact, she has them too, and a whole lot of them at that. The crowd is stunned into silence, but one of the lackeys quickly breaks it with mocking laughter. His friends join in, sneering that those elixirs aren't candy you can just find anywhere. This absolute clown can't even contain his glee at her supposed bluff. The head mean girl, Suyen, whips out her own pitiful little elixir, calling it the real deal, while her spirit asks why it's a sickly yellow color. The spirit helpfully explains that elixirs have grades, and pale yellow is the absolute lowest, while the ultimate grade is pure white. Our girl smirks, calling out Suyen's trash tier elixir for what it is. Suyen sputters, claiming it's a huge achievement for someone her age to make even this low-quality pill. Her cronies immediately start hyping her up, calling her a genius for producing literal garbage. She puffs out her chest, yelling that our girl knows nothing, but our heroine just talks, a savage glint in her eye. Funny you should say that, because I happen to have a higher quality one right here. She opens her palm, revealing a brilliantly glowing white pill. The entire crowd loses their minds. It's white, an ultimate grade elixir. Shuyan immediately starts screaming that it's impossible, accusing our girl of stealing it from Elder Mo's private collection. Her followers jump on the bandwagon, screeching that a nobody like her could never possess such a treasure. They point fingers, demanding she give the elixir back. The whole gang starts chanting, "Give it back," like a bunch of spoiled toddlers. Suddenly, a friend speaks up to defend our girl's honor, but she's cut off by a booming voice, asking what all the commotion is about. It's the head honcho himself, Elder Mo, the executive alchemist. Shuyan immediately runs to him, playing the victim and accusing our girl of being a thief. But the moment the elder lays eyes on the pill, his entire demeanor changes. He gasps, "That's an ultimate grade elixir." He completely ignores the accusations and rushes forward, demanding to know where she got it. Our girl knows she has to play this smart, revealing she's the one who made it would bring way too much unwanted attention. Her little spirit guide agrees, advising her to keep a low profile, so, with a perfectly innocent smile, she lies right to his face. "My master made this." The elder is practically vibrating with excitement, begging to know the name of this legendary master. He's already thinking about how he can learn from this person and level up his own skills. Our girl puts on a thoughtful expression. "My master didn't allow me to speak his name, but he's known as the Elder Medicine." And she internally cackles, having just stolen a name from a character in a novel. Elder Mo strokes his beard, pondering this powerful unknown master. He decides the best way to meet this medicine elder is to get on our girl's good side. She explains she was just trying to get some elixirs for her pet, but was rudely turned away. This is all the opening she needs to put these bullies in their place. After hearing the whole story, Elder Mo turns on his disciples with fury in his eyes. "You think you can run this hall with such nonsense?" He furiously banishes them from the alchemy hall on the spot. The main lackey who laughed at her starts groveling, begging for another chance. He knows if he's kicked out, his life at the academy is over. But the elder shows zero mercy and has the guards drag the screaming fool away. Suyen trembles on the ground, horrified that the elder has so completely taken our heroine's side. He then turns his wrath on her, scolding her for being so smug about her elementary-level skills. Her punishment? 3 days of reflection and transcribing a massive text 100 times. She has no choice but to accept, but not before shooting a look that could kill. Our girl just sighs dramatically, loving every second of their seething, powerless rage. The other students are shook. The message is loud and clear: do not mess with the new girl. They all decide to just keep their heads down and stay out of her way. Now that the trash has been taken out, Elder Mo is all smiles again, offering to personally help her find an elixir for her pet from his private collection. Our girl sweetly thanks him for his kindness. She holds out her tiny, adorable bird, and the elder's jaw hits the floor. He stares in utter disbelief, stammering, "This bird is..." He realizes that not only does she have a legendary master, but even her pet is some kind of mythical beast. Our girl asks Elder Mo what's wrong with her cute little pet bird. The elder stammers, explaining he's just shocked after realizing the true, legendary identity of this little yellow fluffball. He tells her that to help it evolve, she'll need a legendary 100 Revolution elixir. The only problem is, the method to create it is a secret known only to the Grand Master of Alchemy, and it's far too precious to share. But our girl just smiles, casually flexing that her own master is strong and almighty enough to create it with no problem. She already suspected her little bird was a mystical beast, and she's already memorized the entire book on its evolution. Elder Mo's eyes light up. He strikes a deal. If she provides the recipe, he'll provide all the expensive materials. She's practically giddy, thinking about all the free materials she just scored. The elder just chuckles, realizing this clever girl is always making sure she gets the best of every deal. Back at the dorms, her new friends are absolutely buzzin'. They can't believe how cool she was, easily convincing Elder Mo and even getting free high-quality pills for her pet. The blue-haired girl, Hong Ling, realizes Yayan is no ordinary person. She decides right then and there that if she wants to succeed, she needs to become close friends with our powerful heroine. But not everyone is a fan. The princess stews in the corner, absolutely furious that this nobody is stealing her spotlight. She is the princess, and all attention should be on her. Seeing her mood, one of the girls suggests getting some food. The princess's eyes gleam with a new petty plan. She'll treat them all to a meal at the most expensive restaurant in the academy. After all, they're roommates now, how could they refuse? Her inner monologue is pure villainous chaos. She should be the focus of everyone's attention. And by the end of this meal, they'll all be buttering her up, especially Yang. Our girl, oblivious to the drama, happily accepts, excited to eat with her new friends. The princess immediately begins to brag about the restaurant, the most high-end establishment on the entire continent. She makes sure to point out that only royalty like herself can afford the exorbitant prices. The other girls are just excited looking at the menu, and even Yayan thinks everything looks delicious. The princess scoffs internally, looking down on them as a bunch of country bumpkins who should be grateful for her generosity. The food arrives and it looks absolutely incredible. Our girl even feels a little envious of the mentors who get to eat like this for free. But then comes the moment of truth. The bill. The total comes out to a whopping 10,000 gold coins. Her friends are absolutely floored. The princess starts to sweat bullets. 10,000 is her entire allowance for 6 months. And the most awkward part, she only has a few hundred coins on her right now. She weakly admits she doesn't have the money, and asks if she can put it on credit. The staff immediately shuts her down, saying they don't allow tabs. The princess is humiliated and starts throwing a tantrum, accusing them of doing this on purpose. She pulls the royalty card, shouting that she's a princess and they should just let her pay later. But the waitress delivers a savage blow, reminding her that her little kingdom is just a vassal state, and even the main empire's royals aren't allowed credit here. The princess is completely speechless, and her friends are dying of secondhand embarrassment. Just when the situation couldn't get more cringe, our girl steps forward with an aura of pure, unbothered wealth. She calmly announces she'll pay for it as it's merely 10,000 coins. Everyone is stunned. Yang internally smirks, remembering the 500,000 gold coins she has stashed away. The princess, trying to salvage her pride, insists it's her problem to deal with, and that a commoner like Yian shouldn't be spending so much money. Our girl is actually a little surprised. The spoiled princess would rather be embarrassed than accept help. So Yian just drops a pouch of 12,000 gold coins on the counter, telling them the extra 2,000 is a tip for the chefs. Then, with ice in her veins, she tells the rude waitress that none of that tip is for her because of her terrible attitude. Her friends are completely starstruck. Yian is rich, elegant, and an absolute queen. The waitress, seeing the mountain of gold, immediately starts groveling and apologizing for her behavior. The princess can only stare in disbelief. How could a supposed commoner be this rich? She must have spent her entire life savings just to show off. But she also saved her from total humiliation. The princess is now completely conflicted and doesn't know what to think. The spoiled princess corners our girl Yian. "You helped me pay for our meals, so I'll definitely pay you back," she says, pulling out a book. She offers a set of notes on the Academy's mentors that cost a whopping 20,000 gold coins, just so she won't feel indebted to our heroine. But Yian is completely clueless, questioning what a placement exam or a demon's core even is. One of her new friends jumps in to explain that our girl is a total newbie to how the academy works. Turns out, they're not even real students yet, just interns until a mentor takes them under their wing. And to get a mentor, they have to go to a place called Thunder Island, slay some demons, and collect their cores. It's a two-way street though. The mentors choose them, but they get to choose the mentors too. This makes the notes on the mentors absolutely priceless. Our girl realizes the spoiled princess isn't so bad after all. She graciously accepts and immediately asks if she can share the super expensive info with her other friends. The princess is absolutely floored by this generosity. She can't believe Yeon would share something worth 20,000 gold coins so freely. But our girl just shrugs it off, saying it's not like the information will run out. A total power move. The princess has a full-on existential crisis, realizing how lousy she is in comparison to Yayan's kindness. The feels are real, folks. Soon, the whole squad is huddled around the book, planning their futures. One girl has her eyes set on Reverend Tianjue. Everyone is busy picking their perfect match. Our girl briefly wonders if she should go with a nun. Hong Ling, the cute blonde, finds her perfect mentor, Shu Luosha, a blood-type cultivator. Yayan is shook. She never expected such an adorable girl to be into something so hardcore. Jung Suksin points out a water-type cultivator, Granny Snow, before asking our girl who she's picked. Yan plays coy, saying she has no idea, but her inner monologue is savage. She already has the evil deity as her master, so who needs another one? The princess whispers that she can take her time deciding. Then she announces there's something special on the last page for everyone to see. The other girls are absolutely losing their minds. They're all swooning over some dude named Swan Jaleo. Apparently, he's super handsome. Our girl, however, looks like she just bit into a lemon. She is fuming. Even her own roommates are fangirling over this guy. The betrayal. The princess explains that this mysterious, handsome mentor is taking disciples for the first time ever. The girls gossip that only the best female student could possibly become his disciple, and our girl gets a wicked little glint in her eye. The placement test is about to begin at Chayun Square. They're all warned to be careful, especially of the most dangerous spot on the island, Luoyuan Lake. A mentor explains it's filled with S-grade human-eating demon fish. Yikes. The students are terrified, but they all agree to stay away. With a final yes, the test begins. They arrive on the beautiful but dangerous Thunder Island. Our girl takes a moment to appreciate the scenery. Suddenly, a hyena demon zips past her. It immediately regrets its life choices when it feels her powerful aura. The poor thing bolts, but our heroine gives chase. She's practically flying through the forest after her first target. The demon tries to hide, but it's no use. With a playful smirk, our girl closes in, declaring the hyena is hers. But just as she's about to grab it, someone snatches it right from under her nose. A new voice claims the hyena, saying she chased it all the way from the other side of the island. Our girl turns around, and guess who it is? It's the same pretentious rich girl from the ship. And she's not alone, she's brought her whole posse with her. The rival taunts our girl for chasing such a weak demon, assuming she's trying to impress the new handsome mentor. Yan is more confused about how they all managed to group up after a random teleportation. The rival smugly shows off special amulets she bought to make sure her whole team landed together. Cheater. She goes on a whole villain monologue about how she'll become Prince Chen's disciple and our girl will never beat her. She's practically foaming at the mouth, waiting for Yan to be consumed by jealousy. But our girl is the queen of unbothered. She just looks around and asks where the hyena went. And while the rival is still ranting, Yan zips past her entire crew. In one swift motion, she snatches the hyena back and lands a solid punch, taking it down for good. The other students can only watch in shock, their minds completely blown by our girl's insane speed. But of course, the resident mean girl Shang Jaki just sneers, convinced that no matter how fast our girl is, she's no match for her. Our heroine, however, could not care less about this girl's inferiority complex, basically telling her to get lost. This, of course, absolutely infuriates Jiaki, who immediately challenges her to a competition. She sees this, wondering how this nobody can be so calm, while our girl is just like, oh, a competition? Do tell. Jiaki declares they'll compete to see who can gather the most demon cores. And she adds a savage little condition. The loser has to get on all fours and grunt like a pig in front of the entire academy. And Prince Chen. Our poor heroine is just so done with all this drama, internally screaming about why all these weird women are fighting over this one dude. If another girl like Jiaki becomes his disciple, she'll never know a moment of peace. So to shut this annoying girl up once and for all, she decides to play along. With a smirk, she accepts the challenge like it's nothing. The crowd absolutely loses it, wondering if she's gone mad to take on a challenge against a whole group of people. The other students immediately start mocking her, joking that maybe she just enjoys mimicking pigs. Jiaki walks away with a villainous laugh, already tasting victory. Our girl knows she's at a disadvantage. Even with all her powerful techniques, she's still just one person against a dozen. Working together, their efficiency will be way higher than hers. Her little spirit master worries, asking how she could possibly gather more cores on her own. He then notices the sky turning dark, predicting a thunderstorm is on its way. And just like that, the word thunderstorm sparks a chaotic idea in our heroine's mind. She remembers the mentor mentioning a lake filled with man-eating demon fishes. A brilliant, terrifying plan begins to form. They arrive at the infamous Lake Luoyuan, and immediately a massive, horrifying demon fish with a unicorn horn leaps out of the water. Her master is completely freaked out by the sight of it. She calmly explains that while one fish isn't a problem, a whole school of them is a death sentence. The master sees the danger. It's a skull and crossbones situation for sure. But our girl just points to the sky, reminding him about the approaching thunderstorm. She plans to channel the lightning into the lake and electrocute the whole school of fish at once. Her master is floored by her genius, but he has one question. How exactly is she planning to lead lightning into the water? She casually pulls out a massive pile of gold coins. Then she drops some 21st century knowledge on him. Metals conduct electricity. The poor master's ancient brain short-circuits. He's never heard of such a thing. She then summons her cute little bird, who's learned how to breathe fire after eating an elixir. She gives the little guy instructions to melt the gold coins into a very specific shape. She proudly presents her design for a 21st century lightning rod. The master is skeptical about the strange drawing, but she assures him it will work perfectly. With a confident wink, she promises him it'll work. The little bird gets to work, unleashing a torrent of flames. A few moments later, the job is done. Now holding her brand new golden lightning rod, she's ready for the next step. The demon fish swim unsuspectingly below the surface. With a determined look, she prepares to unleash some scientific chaos on this fantasy world. She plunges the rod deep into the lake with a loud clank. The sky immediately begins to crackle with energy. Thunder rumbles, shaking the very ground. And then, boom, a massive bolt of lightning strikes the rod. Her master is screaming with excitement, absolutely amazed by her success. But he quickly points out that the lightning force is a bit weak. Our girl just smirks. They're nothing to me. I will increase the force. The sky darkens as more and more lightning gathers. In a truly epic move, she stands on top of the rod, becoming a conduit for the storm itself. She is literally about to swallow the lightning. The raw power of the storm surges through her. She unleashes the electrical fury into the lake, instantly frying every single demon fish in sight. The master is in awe. Not only did she attract the lightning, but she amplified it with her own power. He's so proud, thinking his disciples' intelligence and courage are truly second to none. A golden aura surrounds her as she absorbs the leftover energy. The master completely loses his mind when he realizes she's not just killing fish, she's absorbing the lightning force to level up. He's never seen anyone reach the next stage in such a powerful, chaotic way. Meanwhile, back at the academy, everyone is waiting by the portal. Jackie is gloating, assuming our girl is struggling and on the verge of failure. How could a lone girl possibly compete against her and her dozen-plus supporters? She can't wait to see our girl get humiliated and forced to snort like a pig. The thought of winning in front of the prince makes her blush, but just then, the portal flares to life, and our heroine steps through, looking completely unfazed, not a hair out of place. Her friends immediately rush to her side, worried sick. They all ask if she's alright, she just brushes them off. Jayaki struts over, a smug and nasty look on her face. Well, look at you. You must have expended a lot of effort. Our girl just tells her friends she's fine, only her dress is a bit messy. Jayaki is stunned. How can she be acting like nothing happened? She sneers. Anyways, I want to see if you can keep up the calm appearance when you hold up your end of the bargain. The resident mean girl scoffs at our heroine, sarcastically commenting on her gains. It's just 25 demonic stones. Must you let the whole world know about it? She sneers. But her little minions are quick to correct her. They point out that even getting 4 or 5 is a huge deal for most people. Realizing our girl is actually being praised, the hater's face twists with envy. Everyone is whispering that Yayan is probably the first freshman in history to get so many. So the mean girl turns up the sass, trying to save face. Did you pee your pants because of how many I got? She smirks, reminding our girl of their little bet. The loser has to oink like a pig in front of everyone. Our girl just calmly accepts, and the villainess cackles, ready to watch the show. The crowd feels a wave of secondhand embarrassment for our heroine. They can't believe she made a bet with the girl who supposedly got the most stones. But our girl's friends are absolute legends, rushing to her side and offering up their own hard-earned demonic stones to help her win. Yan gently refuses, telling them not to worry. I have a plan to overcome this, she says with a mysterious smile. She reassures them, telling them to keep their own course. They still look incredibly worried for her. Suddenly, an official announces that time is up. It's time to register the results. An hour later, the academy is buzzing with anticipation. The tutors review the scores, and one announces that not only were the results excellent, but someone broke the all-time academy record for demonic stones. The official holds the scroll with the final rankings. The mean girl's ears perk up. Haha, that has to be me, she thinks, practically glowing with arrogance. She's already imagining her name echoing through the academy for generations. While our girl just lets out a tired sigh, the announcer continues. All of us tutors feel that she is a very promising person. The crowd gasps when he adds that even the legendary and notoriously picky tutor Swan Jiliu has approved her as his student. The entire student body erupts in chaos. Tutor Swan, the school's #1 heartthrob, is finally taking a female student. The other girls are practically melting. But our heroine just rolls her eyes at the drama, calling him the male Helen of Troy. Before anyone can react, the mean girl Jiaki confidently steps forward. Greetings, Mr. Swan, she says with a blush. I'm Jiaki. But the official immediately shuts her down, scolding her for stepping up before her name was even called. Where are your etiquettes? Where is your respect? He barks. Jiaki plays the victim, claiming she was just too anxious and impulsive from the excitement. But in her head, she's thinking, so what? I'm about to be his student. Who cares if I'm a little rude? She puts on a sweet smile, explaining that her excitement is totally understandable. After all, she declares proudly, I'm about to become Tutor Swan Jiliu's student. The official just stares at her, completely baffled. Why am I unaware of that? He asks. Our girl can't help but smirk at the cringe fest unfolding. Jiaki doubles down, insisting it must be her because she got the most demonic stones. Aside from me, she announces to the entire crowd, who is eligible to become his student. A flicker of panic crosses her face as she wonders if the tutors are blind. The head tutor finally speaks up. Do you want to know who the first place is? Jiaki's heart pounds with excitement. Yes, of course, she squeals. Then announce it quickly, she demands. The tutor finally prepares to read from the scroll. Jiaki can barely contain herself, thinking about how long she's waited for this moment of glory. The tutor stands before the silent crowd. The air is thick with tension. This first place, Jiaki's entire world shatters in an instant. What? That's impossible, she screams, completely losing her composure. The handsome tutor, Swan, sips his tea, unbothered by the drama. Oh, how many have you? He asks coolly. Jiaki puffs out her chest. 25, he gives a condescending little smile. 25, that's quite a lot. Jiaki frantically asks how many stones Yan managed to get, and then Tutor Swan delivers the most brutal, soul-crushing blow. Yan acquired 125 demonic stones. 125? Jiaki completely snaps. Impossible. She must have used some despicable methods. She cheated. She glares at our girl, fuming that she only got 25 even with her friends helping her. The crowd starts whispering, wondering if it's true. But Yi Yan's friends immediately leap to her defense. Even the quiet blue-haired boy seems to doubt the accusation. Our girl remains perfectly calm amidst the chaos. Hearing the word cheat, Jaiki sees her chance. She turns to Tutor Swan, begging him to uncover the truth. 125 stones is impossible, she cries. Cheating is against the rules. You must punish her. Tutor Swan looks at her with a terrifyingly calm smile. So how do you think I should punish someone who cheated? Jaiki, drunk on her own delusion, lays out a vicious punishment. Make her clean all the toilets in the academy, and no tutor should ever accept her as a student. She's already fantasizing about taking Yan Yan's place and becoming the most prestigious student in the entire world. The thought of our heroine's lonely, miserable future absolutely exhilarates her. Mr. Swan smirks, finding this whole situation delightful. That is a great suggestion. He agrees to put the footage on the big screen for everyone to see. Alright, then I will let you see if Yian cheated. He orders Tutor Zuzo to project the images left in the memory stones. A massive, chaotic burst of electricity explodes from the crystal. The footage shows our girl using her powers to electrocute an entire swarm of man-eating demon fish. The tutor is absolutely floored. My gosh, she actually figured out to use electricity to kill these things. The crowd immediately changes their tune, now completely in awe of her genius method. Mr. Swan declares victory for our girl. You see, Yan Yan has won so many demonic stones with her own capability. He proudly announces that not only did she not cheat, but no student in the history of the academy has ever pulled off such a feat. The other teachers are practically drooling, wishing they could have such a brilliant student. But it's too late, Mr. Swan has already claimed her. Much to their disappointment, our girl gives a little wink, soaking in her victory while the crowd goes wild. The jealous rival, Jackie, is absolutely seething. This is impossible. She completely loses her composure, screaming at our girl about how she pulled it off, but Yeon just smirks, turning the tables on her accuser. Now that everyone saw how I got my stones, I guess you have nothing else to say about it. She then puts Jiaki on the spot. So, how did you get so many demonic stones? Jiaki starts stammering, completely caught in her own trap. Mr. Swan smoothly interjects, agreeing that it's time for Jiaki to show her hand. He smiles, a dangerous glint in his eye. After all, the number of demonic cores you got is pretty astonishing as well. Jiaki starts sweating bullets, trying to weasel her way out of it. She's panicking internally, knowing if they see her footage, everyone will find out she's the real cheater. But Mr. Swan is a man of fairness. I always treat everyone equally. He commands the tutor to project her images as well. The crystal glows once more, and the footage reveals the truth. Jiaki just stood there while a bunch of simps did all the work for her. The crowd immediately turns on her. What the? She's the one who cheated. They even mock her score, pointing out that even with help, she didn't come close to beating our girl. The tutor points a shaking finger at her. So you were the one who cheated, he bellows. How dare you? You have broken the rules of this academy. Our girl stands tall, delivering the final blow. You won't end up anywhere with cheating. Just then, Mr. Swan speaks up. You have a bet with Yuan. Another student happily spills the tea, reminding everyone that the loser has to get on all fours and oink like a pig. Mr. Swan's face is pure ice. He coldly informs her that a bet is a bet, and she will follow through. Jackie begs and pleads, crying that it's not fair, but it's no use. Mr. Swan has zero patience for cheaters. He simply says, hurry up. Left with no choice, Jackie begins to make humiliating pig noises. She's forced to oink and squeal in front of the entire school, consumed by regret. Watching this unfold, our girl is actually a little impressed that the arrogant mentor stuck up for her. She even admits to herself that he seems a bit more likable now. After letting her suffer for a bit, Mr. Swan announces her official punishment, toilet duty for the entire academy, and she's banned from learning from any teachers. Jayaki's face falls, her future at the academy completely ruined. The tutor quickly moves on, calling our girl, Yeyan, to step forward. The other students can only watch in envy as she takes center stage. Mr. Swan looks at her with a proud expression. Would you like to be my student? But our girl is a little hesitant. Sure, he helped her, but she still can't stand his smug face. The other girls in the crowd are about to pass out from jealousy. One of them is especially thrilled, seeing this as her chance to get close to her idol, Mentor Swan. This girl is already planning their wedding, bless her heart, but our girl isn't so easily swayed. She looks him dead in the eye and asks a bold question. Are there any welcome gifts? She even has the nerve to say if there isn't, she might just look for a different mentor. The sheer audacity. The crowd is absolutely scandalized. How could she be so demanding? They're sure he's going to reject her now. But instead, a slow, amused smile spreads across his face. Sure, what would you like? He's completely enchanted by her chaotic energy, thinking to himself that he'll give her anything she wants. Oh, this man is absolutely whipped. The other students can't believe their ears. Mentor Swan actually agreed? Our girl is also a little stunned. She hadn't actually decided what to ask for yet. She was just trying to make things a little difficult for him, but she never expected him to agree so easily. But just as she's thinking, her stomach lets out a massive, betraying growl. An idea suddenly sparks in her mind. In that case, prepare me a meal then, she declares. She explains she's been starving since her time on Thunder Islands, and cheekily asks her handsome mentor to cook for her. And to everyone's shock, he even takes her by the hand, leading her away. The entire student body watches, absolutely gobsmacked. Is this really their cold and aloof mentor Swan? They must be dreaming. He's actually going to cook for her. The other girls swoon, whispering about how gentle and sweet he was being, completely sick with envy. But a certain rival is practically steaming from the ears. Why? Why would he agree to cook for her? She sees this, her face turning red with fury. The gossip mill is already churning. It's obvious to everyone that Mentor Swan really likes this new student. They walk off, leaving a trail of broken hearts and jealous glares in their wake. Even one of the elders notes that with the mentor's favor, this girl's future is going to be incredibly bright. This, of course, just makes another hater absolutely livid. He leads her to his private residence, a place no student has ever seen before. It's a stunningly beautiful and serene place, surrounded by bamboo and cherry blossoms. Our girl is in awe. She never thought a place like this existed in the academy. Even with her 21st century memories of modern wonders, she's completely captivated by the scenery. He explains that this isn't just a normal courtyard, it's a view from his personal treasure, a Hongmeng space dimension. He gently takes her hand again. Come with me. He leads her through the beautiful landscape. He brings her to a spot with the best view, overlooking a sea of clouds. He tells her he can summon anything he wants from his personal dimension, and he can now use these treasures just for her. Our girl is shook. This guy is basically a walking, talking god-tier Amazon Prime. With a flick of his wrist, a table appears set with a fragrant pot of wine. He tells her it's a special wine brewed from red clouds that can increase her spiritual powers. She's intrigued. Since he's being so generous, she figures she'll just have one small sip. He pours her a cup with a knowing smile. The moment she tastes it, her eyes sparkle. It's sweet, sour, and absolutely delicious. It's so good she downs the entire cup in one gulp. He smirks, telling her since he agreed to make a meal, she has the honor of enjoying his cooking. Our girl is just buzzing with excitement. A god-tier hottie is about to cook for her, but he has to add his usual dose of sass. I'm not cooking for you. It's for you to enjoy the food I make. He tells her to just sit back and watch the master at work. She rolls her eyes. This guy is as narcissistic as ever. What's the big deal? Cooking is just cooking, right? And then he starts by pulling a fresh fish out of thin air with a flash of golden light. Our girl's jaw drops. Wow. I never knew cooking could be so cool. She just sips her wine, totally mesmerized. This guy is so suave he can make chopping vegetables look like a sacred ritual. In a flash of light, a whole feast materializes on the table. He explains that these dishes aren't just delicious, they're packed with spiritual energy to increase her powers. He even serves her a plate himself. Our girl is drooling. Amazing food that also gives her a power-up. This is the dream. You're so good at this, Wan Jiliu, she gushes. He glances over and notices her cheeks are flushed bright red. How much did you drink? He asks, looking concerned. Hiccup. Just half a jug, she slurs, already digging in. He explains that the wine is made from 1,000-year-old spiritual fruits. It's deceptively smooth, but very potent. He warns her she shouldn't have drunk so much, but she's already on another planet. Wow, 1,000-year-old fruit wine. No wonder it's so good. Don't worry, she declares, waving her chopsticks. I can hold my liquor very well. Famous last words. She takes a bite of the food, and her soul just about leaves her body. Oh my god, this is so good. She's so overwhelmed with deliciousness that she literally sprouts little fox ears. He watches her with a soft, rare smile, thinking to himself that she is the first and only person he has ever cooked for. An hour later, our girl is stuffed to the brim. I can't, I'm way too full, she groans, patting her stomach. Looks like you're pretty impressed with the food, he says, looking pleased with himself. Yes, very impressed, she says happily. You'll have to cook for me from now on. He smirks. Well, that depends on your performance, he teases. I will occasionally give my students rewards. Our girl gives him a little side-eye, but then her tipsy gaze lands on something else. What is that? She mumbles, staring intently at his face. Looks delicious. He's confused. Huh? What is what? She leans in closer, her eyes locked on his lips. What are you talking about? He asks, starting to look a little flustered. Before he can even react, she lunges forward and plants a kiss right on his mouth. The world seems to stop as flower petals swirl around them. The great mentor is completely frozen, his mind short-circuiting. She pulls back, licking her lips with a satisfied smile. This is indeed sweet and soft. It's so good. His brain finally reboots. Wait, she just forced a kiss on me. But our girl is completely lost in her own world. It's so good. It gets sweeter as you have more. It's so juicy, she mumbles. And before he can even process the first assault, she dives in for a second, even deeper kiss. He's left completely stunned as our chaotic, drunk heroine takes what she wants. Just as our girl drifts off into dreamland, a blood-curdling scream rips through the night. It's our pretty boy Swan Jiliu, clutching his hand and yelling, "Little bastard, she bit me." And what is our heroine doing? Just sleeping peacefully, not a care in the world, having chomped on him like a snack. He just stares at her, the picture of helplessness. But instead of getting mad, he gently pulls the covers over her. He may be a powerful tutor, but he's a total softie for our girl. Just then, his aide reports in, confirming their investigation has led them to Mukang Mansion. Swan Jiliu's expression darkens. He knows that place is way more dangerous than it seems. The next morning, our girl wakes up with a massive hangover, completely confused about where she is. She rubs her eyes, trying to get her bearings. It all comes flooding back. This is Swan Jiliu's special space, and she remembers asking him to cook for her. But wait, there's more. After she ate the meal, oh my gosh, she kissed him. Our girl got drunk and made a move on her tutor. She starts to panic, looking around to see if anyone witnessed her chaotic moment. Thankfully, he's nowhere in sight, but now she has to live with the crippling embarrassment of it all. As she wonders where he's gone, her eyes land on something left on the table. It's a note from him. He says he's leaving the academy for a month but has left her a special technique called Starry Night to practice. Her little spirit guide absolutely loses his mind, revealing it's actually the legendary lost art of sky swallowing. He's literally weeping with joy, saying seeing this ancient book is worth his entire existence. Our girl is stunned. Is this book really that big of a deal? With newfound determination, she clenches her fists. She decides she'll master this technique and impress Swan Jiliu when he returns, making it a worthy repayment for his generosity. Her spirit guide quickly dashes her hopes, warning her that reaching the peak in just a month is nearly impossible. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but our girl just gives a confident smirk. There is nothing in this world that I can't do. You tell him, Queen. On her way back, she notices a huge crowd gathering and her curiosity gets the better of her. Everyone is staring at some sort of ranking board. Suddenly, her name is called out. It's her friends Hongling and Ming Yue, asking if she's also here to see the Chaoyun power ranking. Her friends try to explain that progress in the academy is unknown. Our girl is confused, but another student smugly begins to explain. It's all about the 9-layer heavenly tower, a place where you can cultivate spiritual power. The higher you climb, the more power you can absorb. But there's a catch. If you take in more than you can handle, your power will actually decrease. So your progress depends entirely on your own talent and limits. Our girl's eyes light up with understanding. It all comes down to your individual talent. A place overflowing with spiritual power? That's exactly what she needs to master the sky-swallowing art. The little spirit pops up, agreeing that this technique will let her absorb power faster than anyone else in the tower. Our girl is absolutely buzzing with excitement, convinced she'll succeed, but her friend brings her back to Earth, asking if she thinks she's ready to challenge the top 10 elites. Before she can answer, a new group of girls appears, and they do not look friendly. It's the infamous Liu triplets, Liu Mumu and her sisters. They are apparently ranked in the top 50, and are known for being exceptionally talented. The crowd murmurs in awe of the gifted girls. The leader, Liu Mumu, walks right up to our girl. You're Yayan, right? She sneers, saying she heard Yan won first place and became Swan Jiliu's disciple, so she must be powerful enough for a fight. One of her sisters whispers that Yan is actually weak and just used a trick to win, claiming she'd die in one punch. Another sister eagerly volunteers to cripple and torture her. The third one scoffs, calling our girl an ant, not even worth their time. Her friends are terrified, warning her that these sisters are famous fight fanatics, who love bullying rookies. They figure she's a target because she won first place. But our girl isn't scared at all. In fact, she's intrigued. This is the perfect chance to practice her skills. Her spirit guide is totally on board, sick of their arrogant attitudes. He hypes her up, telling her to teach them a lesson and show them what real power looks like. Our girl steps forward, but one of the sisters scoffs, saying it's unfair for a senior to be challenged by a rookie who just arrived. The hypocrisy is astounding. Lily Mumu cuts her off, declaring that fairness doesn't matter, only strength does. She gives a grand speech about how the strong rule the academy and weak ants like the rookies will just be trampled. She then issues an open challenge to anyone who dares to prove her wrong. The entire crowd goes silent, intimidated by their power. The other rookies admit that while they hate her words, they know she's right. There's a huge power gap between them and the seniors. They feel completely helpless against opponents like the triplets. One of her friends grits her teeth in frustration, annoyed that the triplets have had more time to cultivate. But another student can't take the insults anymore and yells back, "Who do you think you are? I'll be just as powerful as you after I've had time to train." Our girl gracefully steps forward, radiating pure confidence. With a smirk, she announces that she loves nothing more than beating up insolent bullies. She throws down the gauntlet, asking if anyone dares to fight her. The head mean girl just laughs in her face. Her little posse joins in, cackling about how this newbie must have a death wish for challenging her seniors. One of them suggests they just grant her wish and teach her the gap between newbies and the elite. The crowd starts to murmur, wondering how a 14-year-old freshman could possibly beat the ranked Liu sisters. They all tell her to just give up now before she gets the crap beaten out of her. Even her new friends are panicking, trying to talk her down and warning her how powerful the sisters are. But our girl just smiles, a galaxy of confidence in her eyes. To her, these so-called seniors are absolutely nothing. The fight is taken to an official battlefield. An immortal elder, looking very skeptical, asks if this little freshman is sure she wants to challenge someone on the power ranking. Yes, immortal, she says, without a shred of doubt. The first sister, Liu Sensen, steps up with a disdainful glare. She impatiently asks the immortal to start the fight so she can get this over with. The elder sighs and gives the signal to begin. The match is set, Ye Yan versus Liu Sensen. They take their positions on the massive stage. The immortal watches on, thinking what a naughty girl she is, but decides he'll step in if she's in real danger. Suddenly Liu Sensen summons her weapon. Behold, the power of the meteor hammer. With a wicked grin, she sends the massive weapon flying straight for our girl. The crowd gasps in horror. They start shouting that the hammer automatically tracks its target and a freshman like Yan will be severely injured or even killed. Her friends can only watch, completely terrified for her safety. But Yi Yan just watches the incoming attack, a curious look on her face. Kinda interesting, she scoffs, but too clumsy. Lily Sensen is absolutely livid. How dare this newbie mock her skills? She screams and puts all her power into the hammer, making it accelerate. The hammer speeds up, smashing into the ground with a massive boom. But wait, the crowd realizes it was just an illusion. Lily Sensen turns around in shock as her own hammer comes flying back towards her. Why is my meteor hammer coming back to attack me? She shrieks in panic. A calm voice answers from right behind her. It's our girl Yan who appeared there in an instant. Bam! Lily gets hit square in the back by her own attack. She collapses, completely humiliated and defeated. Yan just smirks, telling her she didn't even have to do anything to deal with such a clumsy technique. The girl demands to know how she got behind her so quickly. The answer is simple. Our girl knows how to teleport. Even the elder is shocked that a new student has mastered such a high-level skill. But the second sister isn't impressed, sneering that tricks won't save her. She summons her own weapon, the brilliant green sword, promising to tear our girl to pieces. She unleashes an advanced technique, shadows of the brilliant green sword. Multiple energy blades fly through the air. A chaotic storm of death. The crowd is in an uproar, screaming that it's a real treasure that can attack from all directions. Her friends are losing all hope, yelling for her to just come down from the stage. Even the elder thinks the situation looks bad. But our heroine remains perfectly calm, a slight smile on her face. With a single elegant motion, she summons her own spiritual energy. Her sword meets the incoming blades, and in a brilliant flash of light, they all shatter. The sister is stunned. How is this possible? She cries out. But our girl isn't done yet. She closes the distance in a heartbeat, and their swords meet with a deafening clank. The senior boasts that her sword is a family heirloom and that no one can stand against it. She cackles, saying it won't be long before Yian's sword is broken into pieces of metal. Oh, is that so? Our girl asks with a savage glint in her eye. To me, with another powerful clank, she declares. It's still nothing. The heirloom sword explodes into 1,000 tiny shards. The sister can only stare in disbelief, coughing up blood as she realizes her precious weapon is broken into pieces. The crowd is in absolute shock. How did a newbie like her get such a powerful sword? They gossip amongst themselves, saying she's just lucky, and that without that weapon, she'd be toast. Even the headmistress is surprised, noting that it's rare for a new student to possess such a fine weapon. But her opponent, Liu Momu, just smirks, completely unbothered. She sneers, "That's not going to work on me. I'll make you bow down to my skill." Suddenly, a massive defensive barrier erupts around her. It's the legendary Divine Origin Golden Shield. The audience gasps, realizing this is a top-tier defensive technique that can block almost anything. To break it, you have to be overwhelmingly more powerful than the user. We're talking Combat King level powerful, which is completely out of our girl's league. The little spirit girl trembles, worried for her master's safety. But Liu Momu just stands there, looking down her nose at everyone. She laughs, gloating that her perfect shield will never ever break. Our girl just gives a sly little smirk. "Oh really?" she says. "In that case, I'll just have to try." With a determined glint in her eye, she prepares her next move. Sword of Frost. "First style," she cries, as the air around her instantly chills. A colossal blade of pure ice forms above the arena, a move called the Qianhan Ice Coagulating Cut. The crowd completely loses their minds. How can a sword get that big? But they're still doubtful, thinking even a move this powerful can't possibly break that golden shield. The massive ice sword comes crashing down. Luli Momu is knocked back, coughing up blood from the sheer force of the impact. She can't believe a level 2 rookie could unleash such an attack, but she's still standing, wiping the blood from her lip with a sneer. "So what? You can't break my shield." Our girl just smiles. You're right, that shield is pretty good," she says playfully. "Let me try something else then." In a flash, a futuristic crossbow materializes in her hand. She takes aim, looking absolutely savage. An arrow of pure energy shoots straight for the shield. Bam! A massive explosion rocks the arena. But when the smoke clears, the shield is still standing. Louis Mumu recognizes the weapon. The Crimson Rainbow crossbow. It's extraordinary, but it still can't break my golden shield. She starts laughing like a maniac, even with blood trickling down her chin. "See? I'm more powerful, right?" The crowd is speechless. They've never seen someone so arrogant while literally spitting up blood. They have to admit, that shield is ridiculously solid. Our girl's little spirit friend is terrified. Lily Mumu goes into a full-blown villain monologue. "As long as you can't break my shield, you will always be the loser." Her face twists into a chaotic, crazed expression. But our girl, she just smirks. This is quite interesting. Then she pulls out both the sword and the crossbow, preparing a devastating combo attack. She unleashes both techniques at the exact same time. The ice sword and the energy arrow fly towards the same single point on the shield. Li Momu scoffs, thinking our girl is just stupidly repeating her failed attacks. But the crowd suddenly understands the brilliant strategy. She's attacking the same position with different techniques simultaneously to create a weak point. Even the elder realizes this might actually work. Boom! The combined attacks hit their mark, and the unbreakable golden shield shatters into 1,000,000 pieces. The shockwave sends Li Wumu flying through the air before she crashes to the ground and passes out cold. The entire stadium is silent for a moment, then erupts. They can't believe it. A rookie just defeated 3 high-ranking students in a row. Her strength is beyond anything they could have imagined. The judge declares it official. The sisters of the Liu family are defeated. Yang Yan is the winner. The elder announces that with this victory, Yan has officially ranked 47th in the KON power rankings. He smiles to himself, realizing he was a fool to ever underestimate a student chosen by the great Lord Swanjiliu. Our girl stands victorious, a serene smile on her face. Her prize is access to the Yuanyu Forest, a special place for cultivation. She arrives to see the top 50 students meditating on floating platforms, soaking in the immense power of the area. The spiritual chi here is incredibly potent. She remembers the asteroid art that Swanjiliu gave her, and knows it's time to get started on her training. Our girl settles into a deep meditation, preparing to level up. But as she begins, the other disciples notice something strange. The spiritual chi in the forest is suddenly getting weaker. One of them confirms the feeling, though he says it should still be enough for them. A girl scoffs at the idea that someone could have absorbed it all, saying it would be a life-threatening risk. Joke's on them, because 2 hours later, our girl has drained the entire forest dry. She opens her eyes, a powerful new aura swirling around her. With all that energy, she's reached the 4th level of the innate realm. But even that isn't enough to fully master the powerful asteroid art she's been given. Her tiny master is completely stunned. She jumped 2 whole levels in one go. He knows she'll need the spiritual chi from the 9-layer heavenly tower to truly master her new skills. Our girl knows what she has to do next: find and challenge the top 10 fighters in the academy. With newfound determination, she rises. Ready for a fight, her target is waiting just outside the legendary 9-layer heavenly tower. The doors creak open, and out struts Li Yuanwei, the smug-faced number 10 on the Chaoyun power ranking. He's gloating about leveling up after just 1 month inside. Our girl smirks. Her long wait has paid off. She senses he's at the 5th level, a powerful opponent, and immediately challenges him to a duel. He looks down on her, sneering at her 47th rank. But he agrees, figuring she'll be a good punching bag to test his new powers on. The guy practically oozes arrogance. The duel is announced in the arena. Yayan versus Li Yuanwei. The crowd is in an uproar, wondering why she's back and challenging someone so far above her rank. Even one of the elders thinks she's being reckless. Despite her power, the peanut gallery starts gossiping, certain she's going to lose this time. They're all betting on Li Yuanwei, who they know is far stronger than her previous opponents. Her opponent doesn't waste any time, promising to show her the power of his heaven-startling halberd. He unleashes a high-level martial skill, a gale blade attack that sends a volley of energy slashes right at her. The blades slice through the air, heading straight for our girl, but she's not intimidated, summoning her own glowing staff to meet the challenge. Her expression is ice cold. She admits to herself his attack is strong, far beyond the others she's faced. She hasn't had time to master her new asteroid art yet, but she has perfected the first move, and that's all she'll need. The only problem is, she needs time to gather the power of the stars. To buy that time, she'll have to put up a defensive barrier. She stands perfectly still, gathering her energy. Her opponent mistakes this for surrender, and decides to go all out. He launches another powerful attack, a thunder-breaking slash straight at her stationary form. The crowd panics, screaming for her to evade the attack. They can't bear to watch the inevitable impact, but just as the slash is about to hit, boom, a massive defensive barrier appears around her. Her little master chuckles, knowing his apprentice has bought the time she needs. Li Yuanwei is floored. An automatic defensive barrier? The crowd is just as shocked. They had no idea she had a trump card like this. But Li Yuanwei just scoffs with disdain, convinced he can break it easily. He unleashes a frenzied ice attack, followed immediately by a holy flame. He pummels her shield with everything he's got, but after a full-on assault, he's left completely out of breath, his attacks doing absolutely nothing. The crowd notes that he's been attacking for 5 solid minutes, and the barrier hasn't even cracked. But she doesn't need 5 more minutes. She's done. With a confident wink, she points a single finger to the sky. A massive beam of celestial energy erupts from above, slamming down on Li Yuanwei with unstoppable force. He's sent flying, completely overwhelmed. Her master is ecstatic. Her first time using the asteroid art is a savage success. The other masters in the crowd are stunned, recognizing the unique skill of Master Swanjiliu. They can't believe she learned such an arcane skill so quickly. Our girl simply smiles, radiating pure power. Having proven her strength, she finally enters the 9-layer heavenly tower. She's in awe. Just on the first layer, she can feel the immense spiritual chi flowing through her. Now she understands why everyone is so desperate to train here. She can only imagine how much denser the energy is on the upper floors. Her master appears, urging her to find a spot and begin her training immediately. Meanwhile, back at the discipline hall, a high-ranking elder named Li Tiangang is calmly sipping his tea. His peaceful afternoon is interrupted when a completely battered and bruised Li Yuanwei is dragged before him. Meanwhile, back at the academy, some sniveling rich kid is crying to his daddy. He wails that a new student named Yian is the one who put him in his place. Not only that, but she also took the token for the 9-layer heavenly power. The kid is absolutely seething with shame. His father, an elder at the academy, is positively livid. He slams his fist down, vowing that he will never forgive our girl for humiliating his precious son. But our heroine is blissfully unaware. Having entered the first layer of the tower, she sits down to absorb the immense spiritual energy around her. A day passes in the blink of an eye, and she opens them, having absorbed every last drop of chi on the first floor. She clenches her fist, feeling the new power coursing through her veins. Still, she knows this isn't enough for what she needs to accomplish. Her little spirit master pops out to remind her that enhancing both cultivation and art at the same time is basically impossible. He tells her not to be so hard on herself, because her progress is already insane. With all the spiritual chi gone, it's time to head to the second layer. She moves up, ready for whatever challenge awaits her. As the doors to the second layer creak open, she finds it's not empty. A pretty boy smirks at her, introducing himself as the 9th-ranked student in charge of this level. Our girl doesn't have time for small talk and one-shots him into oblivion. Next, she arrives on the 3rd layer, where 2 girls are waiting to teach her a lesson. One of them charges forward, ready to unleash her ultimate attack, but our girl makes quick work of them. And the 4th layer, and the 5th, blasting through her opponents with her glowing sword, she continues her chaotic climb, clearing floor after floor, until she's already at the 8th layer, leaving a trail of defeated students in her wake. Finally, she arrives at the 9th and final layer, but just as she's about to see what's in store, her communication stone starts ringing. It's one of her friends from the Fake Shui Pavilion, telling her to get back to school immediately, because something important is happening. Our girl rushes back to the academy, where her friends are waiting anxiously. They tell her the bad news. Elder Li, the father of the guy she beat up, has deducted almost all of her academic credits. Our heroine is confused, having never even heard of academic credits before. Her friends explain that she was so busy climbing the ranks that she missed the memo. Apparently, new students get 100 credits, but lose them for skipping classes, and anyone who drops below 30 gets expelled. And our girl, she's sitting right at the 30 credit mark, on the verge of being kicked out. There's one last chance. If she can answer Elder Li's questions in today's class, she'll get 10 credits. But if she makes a single mistake, she'll be driven away for good. Our poor heroine, who just conquered a 9-story tower of death, now has to face her greatest challenge yet. A pop quiz. She just smirks, completely unbothered, saying a simple exam can't possibly stop her. Her friends can only stare, trembling at her chaotic confidence. Inside the classroom, Elder Li spots our girl walking in, and a wicked grin spreads across his face. He thinks to himself that if she fails even one of his questions, she's gone for good. He starts the exam, asking another student a simple question about a common herb, which she answers easily. 15 minutes later, it's finally our girl's turn. Elder Li leans forward with a cruel smile, asking her about the history of the Holy Lotus Banhwa, thinking he's finally got her cornered. The other students murmur amongst themselves, none of them having ever heard of such a thing. Her friends start to panic, realizing this is a setup. Our girl hesitates for a moment, frowning. The elder gloats, ready to declare her failure and expel her on the spot. But then, a sly smile plays on her lips as she gives the perfect answer, explaining it's the incarnation of a master after his death, and a sacred item of the Dharma tribe. The elder is completely dumbfounded. How could she possibly know that? The secret, of course, is her personal pocket-sized master, who is feeding her all the answers like a divine cheat sheet. With her master's help, she's completely unbeatable. The elder is absolutely fuming. He decides to ramp things up, announcing that the last 3 questions will be even trickier. He asks for the name of the dark steel greatsword in the Wukang Sea, cackling because he thinks it's impossible for her to know. After a moment of dramatic silence, she answers, and once again, she's correct. She even adds extra credit, naming the sword demon associated with it. The elder completely loses his composure, screaming, "How could you know that?" The other students are loving the show, whispering about how satisfying it is to see the notoriously grumpy elder so utterly embarrassed. He pulls out his trump card, a question about the legendary Naisha collection. He gloats that fewer than 10 people on the entire continent know the answer. For a second, our girl is stumped, so she quickly consults her master, who instantly gives her the answer. As the elder smugly assumes he's won, she calmly states that the collection is composed of 3 parts and proceeds to describe each one in perfect detail. The entire class is in awe of her knowledge. The elder feels like he's been shot through the heart, defeated and humiliated, but he refuses to give up. He racks his brain for one final impossible question. He's sure this is the one. For the last question, he asks her to explain how to break through to the 8th level of the Giyuan art. Our girl freezes. She asks her master, but for the first time, he doesn't know the answer either. He explains that almost no one practices this art. The elder smirks, revealing that even he is stuck at that level and has no idea how to progress. He mockingly offers her a 10-point bonus if she can answer. positive that she's finally trapped. But to everyone's shock, our girl just smiles and says, "Good, then I will accept this bonus." The elder tells her to stop putting on airs and answer. She then begins to explain the phenomenon perfectly, describing how a practitioner's meridians feel like they're on fire at the 8th level. This sensation makes them feel like they're being possessed by an inner demon, which causes them to stop practicing the art altogether, thus halting their progress. Elder Lee is absolutely shook. He admits he thought he'd made a mistake in his own cultivation, and stopped, never realizing he was on the verge of a breakthrough. The old man is having a full-blown crisis, realizing he could have leveled up if he'd just listened to our girl's advice. As he stands there in a daze, our girl seizes the moment. "Since I passed, I'll be taking those 10 points you promised, plus another 10 for the correct answer, right?" The elder is too stunned to speak, so she just takes his silence as a yes and announces she's getting 20 points. An absolute queen. With a dramatic yawn, she declares she's exhausted and is heading back for a nap, leaving everyone with their jaws on the floor. The other students can't believe what they just saw. Is she some kind of legendary test machine? Her friends are just relieved that all their worrying was for nothing. Later, our girl finds herself on the 9th layer of the Heavenly Tower. The final opponent is none other than Meng Jumo, the #1 expert in the entire academy. He plans to absorb all the spiritual chi of the 9th layer after defeating her. He gives her a little praise, impressed that a rookie managed to make it this far. But then he gets serious, powering up with a massive boom. "You still have a long way to go before you can defeat me," he declares. But our girl isn't one to back down from a challenge. She summons her weapon, ready for a fight. The two masters face off in a blinding flash of power. But alas, it seems the gap in their strength was too great. On her way back, she admits she's still too weak and needs to get stronger before she can challenge him again. Her little spirit master pops out to explain that her Sword of Frost technique is incomplete. It's simply no match for the advanced martial skill that Meng Jumo used. He tells her she needs to find some secret scripts in the Academy's library to power up her moves. Our girl perks up at the idea, but there's just one problem. She needs a library card to get in. As she arrives at the Fake Sui Pavilion, she spots a large crowd gathered. Wondering what all the commotion is about, her friend rushes over in a panic. "Sister Yan, you have to explain to Elder Lee that you didn't steal the Brahmana scripture from the library." "Wait, what? Our poor girl is being framed for theft." Elder Lee storms forward, accusing her of being a thief. He claims his son saw someone who looked exactly like her running from the library. To make matters worse, they supposedly found the stolen scripture right under her pillow. The elder smirks, thinking he's finally found a way to kick her out after she aced his impossible test. This time, he sneers, "She won't be so lucky." The so-called witness steps forward, a smug look on his face. It's the little punk she defeated before. He's still bitter about his loss and is now working with his daddy to get revenge. The name Li Yuanwei suddenly clicks in her head. Oh, she remembers him now. He was the number 10 expert she wiped the floor with not too long ago. So that's what this is all about. Elder Lee is just a sore loser trying to avenge his son's pathetic defeat. It's a total setup. Her spirit master starts to panic, pointing out that even if they know she's being framed, they have no way to prove her innocence. But our girl remains completely unfazed. She calmly asks Elder Lee, "What's the punishment for stealing this scripture anyway?" The elder scoffs, thinking she's scared. He declares that since it's an S-grade book, the thief will be expelled immediately. Her friends begin to panic, seeing no way out of this. But our girl just smiles. "Oh, the thief gets kicked out. Good thing I didn't steal it." And, she adds with a smirk, "I can prove it." Li Yuanwei just laughs in her face, claiming a ton of people can testify against her. "That's impossible," he shouts. "If you can prove it, I'll change my name." Our girl calls her friends over, asking for their help. They eagerly agree, the princess even offering to use her status to get anything she needs. A moment later, she's at a table with the stolen book and some red ink paste. Li Yuanwei mocks her, thinking she's just stalling for time. Elder Lee agrees, thinking she's just a little girl playing petty tricks. She asks both the elder and his son to press their fingers into the ink and then onto 2 pieces of paper. Intrigued, they comply, eager to see her fail. With their prints collected, our girl smiles mysteriously. "It's time for us to witness a miracle." She takes a brush and begins dusting a fine powder over the cover of the book. 20 minutes later, she announces that she's done. Elder Lee is getting impatient, demanding to know what she's doing. But then her friend gasps. After she applied the powder, strange patterns appeared on the book's cover. 2 perfect fingerprints are now clearly visible. Everyone is stunned. Actually, our girl explains, these patterns are our fingerprints. She gives them a quick science lesson, explaining that everyone's fingerprints are unique. She holds up the paper with their collected prints, identifying each one. "Please check them carefully," she says. "All 3 are different." The crowd looks closer and realizes she's right. The patterns, alignment, and gaps are all completely different. The trap is about to be sprung. The crowd is buzzing, completely amazed by our girl's impromptu forensics lesson. They can't believe Yan knows how to reveal fingerprints using powder on a scripture. With this method, they'll finally know who the real thief is. Ye Yan holds up the evidence, her voice ringing clear as a bell. So, everyone, please have a look. Are my fingerprints on the Brahmana scripture? She stands before the elders, confident and unshakable. And then comes the savage takedown. Exactly, there are no Yan fingerprints on this scripture. In fact, most of the fingerprints belong to Elder Li. The students gasp in shock. Someone tries to defend him, saying it's his book, so of course his prints are on it. But another girl pipes up with the million-dollar question. But, Senior Li, why do your fingerprints appear on this book? The answer is painfully obvious. Li Wanwei is the thief, and his own father tried to frame a new student to cover for him. The sheer shamelessness is astounding. Elder Li starts to panic, sputtering that it's not like that, but someone from the crowd has a very long memory. I remember Elder Li saying the thief should be kicked out of Cheon Academy, she says, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The elder quickly tries to backpedal, calling it a misunderstanding, but our girl isn't having any of it. Misunderstanding? I don't think so. It is much more serious than that. Her eyes flash with cold fury. If I had failed to prove my innocence, I would be the one kicked out by you. She leans in with a terrifyingly sweet smile. Elder Li, do you think the dean will also believe it is a misunderstanding? Don't mess with our girl. She is not an easy opponent. The pressure is too much for his useless son, who collapses on the floor, begging not to be kicked out of the academy. Our girl looks down at the pathetic display. You really don't want to leave, right? He grovels, pleading for forgiveness. Elder Li looks like he's about to have a heart attack, but our girl's face is pure ice. I will never bargain with loss, she declares. Her master pops in, asking if she's really gonna forgive them. She explains her brilliant, chaotic plan. She's in dire need of secret cultivation scripts, and wouldn't you know it, Li Wanwei is a guard of the library. She can use this little incident to her advantage. A wicked little grin spreads across her face. Later, our girl is wandering the grounds, asking her master about finding some ancient spiritual insect. Her master explains that the ones around them are ordinary, but a larva of the legendary burning lamp ancient insect has attached itself to her hand. It's just a tiny fluorescent bug right now, and she pouts, wondering how something so small could possibly help her. They head straight for the academy library. The place is massive, with millions of books. Her master tells her they need the power of the fully grown insect to find the most ancient texts. As it is now, the little guy just isn't strong enough. Our girl gets a glint in her eye and pulls out an alchemy stove, ready to start cooking right in the middle of the library. Her master is shook. She recalls a recipe from a legendary scripture, one that can accelerate the growth of spiritual insects. There are 113 recipes, but only one will work. She closes her eyes and focuses. It's the yelling pill. Her master is flabbergasted. His apprentice is a genius at making pills. She can actually force the insect to evolve. Just 1 hour later, she's holding a handful of perfect, highest-grade pills. Her master is just gushing with pride. An hour. The head of the alchemy hall would literally faint if he saw this. With a smile, she says it's time to test them out. She offers a pill to the tiny insect, who happily swallows it. The effect is instantaneous. The little bug glows with immense power, evolving right before their eyes. She commands her new, supercharged pet to find the 3 most ancient books in the library. The insect zips off into the towering shelves. The first few books it brings back aren't quite right, but then it delivers a book called The Snow Moon Shadowless Sword. It's an ice magic sword book, perfect for her. But there's a catch. It's incomplete. There are only 5 moves in the entire book. Her master reassures her. Even with just 5 moves, she can integrate its essence into her own techniques, making her Sword of Frost even more powerful. That's all the encouragement she needs. What are we waiting for? Let's start the cultivation immediately. She summons her blade, ready to master this new power. Meanwhile, in a village far away, chaos reigns. The ground is stained red with blood. The Dean of Canyon Academy explains the horrifying situation. Chaos, the king of the demonic beasts, has awakened, unleashing hordes of monsters across the continent. The Dean of Luaya Academy is trembling in fear. The beast flock has arrived. What should we do? We will all die. But one man among them is completely unfazed. The handsome and mysterious Master Swan Jilio simply smirks. Die? For me, this experience is quite interesting. The deans look at him in disbelief. Is he joking right now? They desperately plead with him for a plan. But Master Swan just smiles that infuriatingly calm smile, saying nothing at all, letting them stew in their own terror. Our girl has reached the 9th and final layer of the Heavenly Tower, only to be met by its current master, who looks less than thrilled to see her. He scoffs, reminding her that she was soundly defeated last time, and asking if she's back for another beating. But our girl just gives him a smug little smirk. She declares that today, she is no longer the same person she was before. With a flash of light, she unleashes her power. Her Sword of Frost slices through the air with a massive boom. She calls this her new modified first style, but Mr. Smug is completely unfazed. He dismisses her attack as a low-level martial skill. and counters with his own windwheel fan. A massive gust of energy rips across the arena. He easily blocks her attack and tells her she'll need another 10 years to even think about defeating him. But our girl simply smirks and says, "It's not over." Suddenly, the air fills with ethereal swords, 9 of them, all under her control. The guy completely loses his composure, screaming, how could she control 9 swords at the same time? He can't believe his eyes. The swords surround him, leaving him completely trapped. Even her little spirit guide is laughing, saying he deserved the defeat for being so complacent. Turns out our girl integrated multiple sword arts into one unstoppable style, one that's flexible and totally unpredictable. Her opponent is sweating bullets, shocked at how she could improve so much in just 3 days. But he's not done yet, vowing he won't be defeated so easily. He admits he's impressed, but now he's pulling out his trump card. With a flick of his wrist, he summons giant terrifying snakes. Our heroine, however, looks completely unbothered. She unleashes the second style of her sword art, the modified pillar of snow. With a single command to freeze, the entire area is encased in ice. The snakes crack and shatter into frozen pieces. The dude is in absolute shock as his own body begins to freeze over. He can't comprehend how she pulled off such an unbelievable move. Her spirit guide is practically glowing with pride, explaining that this powerful ice style can only be used once a day. She lands gracefully after her devastating attack. With her sword now at his throat, she calmly asks if he wants to continue the fight. He immediately starts stammering. No. The former champ has a complete meltdown, sobbing that his ultimate trump card was beaten in a single move after he held the top spot for 3 years. Outside the tower, her friends are celebrating her victory. Her friend also shares good news that Sister Suxin also reached a new level. But Suxin seems down, saying she still needs more practice. Our girl gets a weird feeling, noticing something off about Suxin's appearance. She can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. Just then, another girl reminds them that Master Zuo Bufan has called for all students to assemble in the square. They all head out together. Our heroine still looks troubled, hoping she's just overthinking things. In the main square, the master has a very important announcement to make. He declares that the beast tide has arrived. The students are in an uproar. An event that only happens once in 1,000 years is upon them. They realize this is a dangerous but rare opportunity to toughen themselves up. Not to mention a chance to find some precious items from the demonic beasts they defeat. They arrive at the entrance of the trial ground, Luan Ridge. The master instructs them to join a team, and our girl immediately asks to join Master Swan Jiliu's team, but she can't seem to find his location on the map. The master warns her that Master Jiliu is in the most dangerous area, which is not suitable for students. He asks if she's absolutely sure. Our girl's eyes burn with determination, but before she can answer, Suxin steps forward and says, "Count me in." Suxin thinks to herself that she absolutely must follow Master Jiliu. Seeing their determination, the other girls decide to join them too. The newly formed girl squad heads out. They arrive at Miwan Valley, the location on the map, but their master is nowhere to be found. Suddenly, the little spirit guide senses danger, warning that a powerful demonic beast is lurking nearby. And just like that, a massive snarling beast with a single horn leaps out of the darkness. Our girl immediately identifies it as a Crimson Kylan demonic lion, and warns everyone to be careful. This is a fully grown demonic beast, meaning its power is off the charts. A beast this strong is usually at the first level of the spiritual combat realm. The lion lets out a ferocious growl and lunges right at them. 1 hour later, the fight is over. The beast lies slain, its blood staining the ground. Our heroine immediately checks on her friend, asking Suxin if she's okay. Suxin clutches her arm, insisting she's fine and was only slightly wounded. Her friend weakly insists she's okay from the ground, and Yan, despite the gnarly black eye, claims she can handle 2 more beasts. Yeah, sure, Yan. But before she can get up and prove it, a massive boom echoes through the valley. A colossal shadow suddenly falls over them, and the girls look up in terror. It's over for them, they think, as the darkness consumes the sky. But our girl stands before the darkness, completely unfazed. Then a massive 3-headed hydra bursts from the ground with a deafening roar. Just as things look dire, a new player enters the game, casually identifying the terrifying monster as a mere hydra infant. The beast towers over him, ready to strike, but this silver-haired pretty boy just smirks, effortlessly casting a rebound spell. He summons an army of golden swords with a flick of his wrist, which immediately impale the creature. He scoffs, completely unimpressed. Not so powerful as I expected. What a waste of effort. The absolute savage. He then turns and calls out our heroine's name, Swan Jiliu, as power crackles around him. The girls can only watch in awe. In a flash, he's right in front of her, his cool demeanor vanishing the second he sees the bloodstains on her dress. He grabs her, his voice laced with panic. "What the hell? Why are you covered in blood? Where is your wound? Does it hurt?" Our girl is completely stunned by his sudden concern. And then, a mischievous little smile spreads across her face as she leans into his chest. She thinks to herself, so he does worry about me. Where's all that aloofness now? Oh, she is savoring this moment. In fact, she decides to push his buttons for once, a little payback for all the times he's teased her. He tries to push her away, clearly flustered, but she just giggles, refusing to let go. He is not amused, a vein throbbing on his forehead. He yanks her back, his voice a low growl. "You're getting bold, little one. How dare you tease me?" He demands to know if she came all this way because she was worried about him, but she immediately shuts that down. Nonsense. She even tries to play the student-teacher card, pointing out how inappropriate it is for him to be hugging her in public. Of course, their audience is having the time of their lives. Her friend whispers excitedly, "Are we witnessing a teacher-student affair?" She decides they're a perfect match, while the other girl gushes about how shocking it is to see the mysterious Lord Zhuangzhiliu act like this. But not everyone is enjoying the show. Hidden in the shadows, another woman watches, her hands clenched in pure fury, her eyes burn with jealousy. A sinister voice begins to whisper in her mind, preying on her heartbreak. "Your beloved man has been taken away by another woman, Jinog Suxin." The voice coaxes her, reminding her of her hidden power as a descendant of the beast god. It eggs her on, telling her to destroy anyone who disobeys her. The darkness swirls around her, tempting her. "Go kill that woman," it hisses, "and get your man back." She hesitates, but the voice is relentless, telling her that her human friends will abandon her eventually anyway. "If you want him," it promises, "you have to take him from her." A dark shadow with a wicked grin envelops her, giving her a new terrifying command: occupy the entire continent. The woman's face hardens with resolve. "Okay," she agrees, a villainous glint in her eye. "Lord Zhuangzhiliu will be mine forever."